1994 S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing is ready to take off. 800 horsepower machines that fly. Piloted by guys with the right stuff. They are after the True Value Pro Series Championship. Defending Class A champ Scott Taylor won 5 races last year, but Walker Evans, Dave Hockers, and newcomer Scott Douglas have their sights set on the Class 8 crown. The Chevy Thunder of Jack Flannery dominated Class 4, but if he looks over his shoulder, he sees Jeff Dorr, Kevin Probst, and Greg Gerlach gunning for him. And in 7S, Scott Taylor, with his Roush racing engine, won 5 times and became a Ford Rough Rider. But licking his wounds from a disappointing 1993 is Johnny Greaves. And Jeff Kincaid is hungry as well. And Buggy Star Art Schmidt brings his Nissan to the fight. Today, it's big trucks in the dirt. This ain't no Sunday drive in the park. It's the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100 at Lake Geneva. So, we better.
Let's get ready to rumble!
ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to the Lake Geneva Raceway in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, for the opening round of the 1994 S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. Today, it's the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside for the 3rd year in a row, Ivan the Ironman Stewart. It's great to see you again. And boy, are we pumped for the 94 season. If you were with us last year, you know how difficult it was for the drivers to win the True Value Pro Series Championship in classes 8, 4, and 7S. But this year, it's going to be even tougher.
Oh, let me tell you about it, Marty. Defending champion Scott Taylor is back, and he's going to have a tremendous truck here. He's been working hard all winter long. Walker Evans got a brand new truck. A new guy has come out. Scott Douglas from California, he's got Walker Evans' old truck. He's going to be tough, believe me.
Now, in Class 4, Jack Flannery is still the man to beat. You can be guaranteed, though, that his Chevrolet is going to be tested by Jeff Dorr and Kevin Probst. And then we come to 7S, and this may be a real Donnybrook because the sheer number of vehicles, but also one man who's made the jump from Class 9-10 and brought with him a manufacturer that wasn't with us last year.
That's right. Art Schmidt, who I've really admired his driving, has jumped up class to Class 7 out of 9-10. He's extremely fast. He's brought Nissan. He's going to have a brand new truck. He's going to be a guy to watch.
Now, there's a 3rd member of our broadcast team this year, Rick Johnson. You may recognize him from driving the Chevy Thunder in the Mickey Thompson Stadium Series. Well, we're just glad to have him down pit side. Rick?
This is not the Indy 500 or the Baja 1000. Pit stops are not a part of short course off-road racing. If a driver comes in here during his race, it means he's had a problem on the track. We'll be here to give you that information. I'll be in the pits all day talking to drivers, mechanics, and crew chiefs to give you the inside lines from behind the scenes.
Well, thanks, Rick. You're definitely the one guy no driver wants to see today. Race conditions absolutely perfect. If you've been with us the last 2 years at Lake Geneva, you know the weather gods have plagued us, but today they are cooperating. Now let's take a look at this wonderful layout at Lake Geneva, Ivan.
Well, Marty, this is one of the trickiest tracks we have, in that we have a long, high-speed straightaway into a real sharp right-hand corner here. You can see it's slick, and you can see exactly what happens if these guys come in too hot. Back around the backside gets loose and gnarly, hard to pass, big right-hand corners, and then we have the front section that's a transition from dirt to asphalt and then back in the dirt again. You can see what happens right here when the guys get a little too hot coming into this corner. This is Walker Evans too hot.
That's all action from last year's race, and we're getting ready for action in 1994, kicking off the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing with Class 8 action. As you see, the trucks coming out on the line. Now, here is the way things ended last year in 1993 in the True Value Pro Series in Class 8. Scott Taylor won by 9 points over Walker Evans. On down through the top 10, and you see some names. Jimmy Crowder looking to improve on his 8th place finish from last year as well. And that championship, as we ride on board with Scott Taylor and our onboard camera system, earned him a position with the Ford Rough Rider team for 1994. Now, this is how you score points in the True Value Pro Series. First place is worth 20, second 16, third 14, fourth 12, and fifth place 11. Now, you can only score points through the top 10 places. So if you do not finish or you do not score in the top 10, it can be very costly, as Walker Evans found out last year at Lake Odessa, as did Jack Flannery. All right, let's take a look now at what makes up a Class 8 truck, Ivan.
Two-wheel drive production pickup, engine of 600 to 800 cubic inches, 500 to 850 horsepower. Minimum weight, 3,700 pounds.
And boy, will these guys sling these 3,700-pound trucks around this race course. And there he is in this Chevrolet starting field, Scott Taylor, the defending class champion. Then Walker Evans from Riverside, California, finished second last year. He wants to take the championship crown in 1994. Jimmy Crowder, all the way from Tallahassee, Florida, owns a trucking company. He'll be in the 837. It's also a Ford. Scott Douglas, a newcomer to the series. He is in a Dodge and a brand new truck that we are expecting big things from. And you can see as we take a look at the rest of the starting field, Jed Flannery, Darren Vandrell, John Conitzer. This is a Le Mans type start. So these guys will be taking the green flag and making a mad dash for the first corner. And again, we talked about it, Ivan. You get so much speed coming over this first jump that a lot of guys get too hot going down into turn one.
And Marty, what's hard to see is it's blind coming over that first jump. So the guy just jumps out there just hoping everybody else has moved away from him.
Through turn one, it's Jimmy Crowder leading Scott Taylor. Walker Evans is third. Darren Vandrell is fourth. And look at the dust that is kicking up. How can you see through this?
Marty, that's why I talk about the start is so critical. You've got to get out in front. The guy in the front is the only one that can see what's going on.
That hard left-hander. Now, the next right-hander sets these guys up onto that long back straightaway that we talked about. And, boy, getting sideways, Jimmy Crowder.
This is a good passing opportunity. This is about the best place back in this area to get past.
Taylor trying to reel in Jimmy Crowder. Evans in third place as they come. Oh, and boy, Scott Taylor hits a rut right there, sends the front end flying straight skyward. Through that tight, twisty section onto a hard right-hander. Boy, and Walker Evans getting a little wide on board with Scott Taylor. Now, this left-hander leads to a short squirt of power down to a hard 180-degree right-hander, and then that sets you up for the front straightaway transition area from dirt to pavement. Whoa, wait a minute. That's Walker Evans, and it looks like he has got spun around, and Dave Hockers is also caught up in that. And Evans has dropped back to fifth place, so Walker Evans losing all important ground.
That doesn't happen. You just don't see that very often, Walker Evans.
There is Darren Vandrell. He is now in front of Scott Douglas.
I noticed that Scott Taylor is really being patient. This is really pays off sometime with Jimmy Crowder here. Jimmy Crowder in the view right there and right in his sights. As you see, Jimmy finished in the top 5 3 times. And you're right, Scott Taylor does seem to be biding his time right here and waiting for the opportunity. He really does. I'm really proud of him because a few times last year I see him get over-aggressive and it cost him. So he's really being patient. Well, you see how rough it is, the vibration of the onboard camera as these guys pound over this dirt at the layout here at the Lake Geneva Raceway. Now, here's a section where the course gets a little wet on them, right through that corner, then right down through that long back straightaway that we talked about into this hard right-hander right here. Here comes the right-hander, and it is a good place to pass. It looks like Scott's going to give him a shot. No, he didn't either. Still being patient. Jimmy Crowder doing an excellent job of holding on to the lead. Right up behind him now, Scott Taylor. A couple of Fords going after each other. Now, Crowder's got the inside line here. Oh, no, Scott got way wide on that one. He lost a lot of ground. So now Jimmy Crowder gets a little bit of breathing room back on board as we see him try and reel him in one more time. And again, this area right here, a lot of water placed on that corner, so it makes it a very slippery transition. It looked like Jimmy Crowder got way sideways, and Scotty took advantage of it. And Taylor has taken the lead as he comes onto the pavement, ending lap number 2. Now, we are being told that Jimmy Crowder is being given a black flag, and yes, he's pulling up, but Ivan, he's pulling up the wrong spot. I don't know what he did or why he's doing it, or he's pulling up right here. Now they're telling him to go again. What a confusing issue here. Oh, the black flag penalty area is down by pit lane, so he has made the stop at the wrong place. And now we'll get an idea just how big a lead Scott Taylor has as we get the clock running. Second place now should be Walker Evans as he has fought his way back after his early spin. And here he comes. You can just see the outline of the truck, and it's 10.15 seconds. Well, that really hurt Jimmy Crowder. Walker Evans on the warpath. Now let's see if he can reel in Scott Taylor. Well, there he is in control of this race by over 10 seconds. And there's a man who, well, future racer might be your crew chief there, Ivan. Stay with us at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson is down in pit lane, and this is Class 8 action. You just saw the leader, and that was Scott Taylor. Walker Evans in second place, trying to reel him in. Let's see if Walker's going to gain on him here. Walker's got a brand new truck this year. Let's see if he's actually going to put time on Scott Taylor.
That transition area, this is where that's bit Walker Evans last year. He remembers it very well. Then you shoot back up over this very big jump.
And Walker's truck's not handling very well. Watch how high the front end flies. That's too high, Marty. They've got to adjust that thing, bring some spring pressure down in the front of the truck. It just doesn't look good.
So he is launching off each one of these jumps, and the brand new truck giving up some ground. Now this is the battle for fourth between Dave Hockers and Jimmy Crowder. Now let's clean up the issue as far as that black flag on Jimmy Crowder as he is trying to get around Dave Hockers. He cut the course on the very first lap, right there to be in fact. He got outside of one of the tire markers, and therefore that was the reason for the penalty. And then the mistake really cost him by reporting to the wrong place on the track, so he finds himself in fifth.
He had to make a quick decision on, do I hit the tire, go around behind it? He chose to go behind it. Now here's Scott Douglas. I want to make a prediction, Marty. Scott Douglas is going to be tough before the end of the year. He's running third now. So actually it's a new truck for him, Walker's old truck. He is going to be tough.
Herzog Racing involved with that program, and right now he is doing very well in third place. The final lap for this man, as he looks like he's going to pick up right where he left off last year when he won the True Value Pro Series Championship. Look at the margin. Now that is lap traffic in front. That's John Conitzer, and the margin has widened to 11.4 seconds over Walker Evans. So you're right, Ivan. Walker's got to go back and do a little more work on this brand new Dodge.
He really does. You know, and also Scott Taylor now has done a lot of work on his truck. I understand he's done back at the shop, and they've done a lot of retuning on the back of his car, cut the back of it off, and it seems to be working very well for him.
Look at the amount of dust these guys must fight through. This is Hockers in fourth place, trying to hold off the charging Jimmy Crowder in fifth. They are side by side. They come down the front straightaway, and yes, it is going to be Jimmy Crowder moving back into fourth place.
Good move on Jimmy's part.
So Crowder, after that disaster, has come back to take over fourth place. Here is the race leader, soon to be the race winner. Will get one more interval as he makes this corner. And you can see how far back Walker Evans is. Is he closing the gap?
I believe he is. I believe he is, Marty.
7.19 seconds, but this being the final lap, Ivan, I don't think it's enough. It may be that Scott Taylor is just taking it easy, bringing it on home to the checkered flag.
That's a good point. He's making these 180-degree corners. You can see Walker back there. He says, well, I've got a lead. He's not going to get by me. Let's just let him stay back there. If he gains, fine. If he doesn't, fine.
There is Walker. This is the final turn on the front straightaway. Back to our leader, Scott Taylor. He's going to win here at Lake Geneva in round number 1 of the True Value Pro Point Series. He takes the checkered flag and the win. Second place will go to Walker Evans. This is a great start for Scott Taylor because last year at this event, he did not finish. Now remember, he went on to win the championship, and now he's got even a better start right out of the gate in round number 1. We'll talk to our winner at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100 right after this. Stewart and Rick Johnson back with you at the Lake Geneva Raceway for the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Ivan's made his way down to Victory Lane.
Well, Scott, I'll tell you, we talk about a lot of things in off-road racing. We know the start is so critical, the tire combination. You start on asphalt. What did you do for tires? You got such a great start, other than Jimmy Crowder?
Well, I tell you, Ivan, we got a good hole shot. I had just come out of the 7S, and I knew what the flagman was going to do. He turned around, he turned his back to us, and up went the flag, and I knew he was going to do that. So I got a good start. I got a real good start today. And BF Goodrich has worked out some new tires for us, the Project TAs, and they are working super. We tested them last year. We picked up 3 seconds on a lap, and the tires worked absolutely terrific. We couldn't ask for anything better.
Well, this will be the only time that we'll be able to combine the top 10 and the True Value Pro Series Championship. Scott Taylor, Walker Evans, and Scott Douglas taking the top 3 spots. And Darren Vandrell in his first Class 8 race taking the 10 points that go with the 6th place position. So that's the Pro Series points as they stand after round number 1. Let's get ready now for Class 7S. Now these are the mini pickups, and again you're going to see Scott Taylor in this race. And before we set the starting field for this year, let's take a look at what happened in 1993. And yes, Scott Taylor won 2 championships. In this one he absolutely dominated, winning by 23 points over Jim Wiggins. And as we go on down through the top 10, you can see that Bill Waterstrat and Jim Bradley rounded out the top 10 with 36 points in the 1993 campaign. On board here with Art Schmidt. Now, Art's a great story. Here's one of the drivers who has moved up from Class 9-10, and he has taken over the ride in the Nissan. As we get ready for Class 7S, Ivan, tell us what it's all about.
These trucks are two-wheel drive, production mini or mid-size pickups. Engine's got to be 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters, and about 200 horsepower, Marty.
And here is the starting field. Scott Taylor, the defending class champion from Belvidere, Illinois. He'll be in the Ford. John Greaves looking to rebound in his Toyota. He had a disastrous 1993. He couldn't find the finish line. Jeff Kincaid, he's also in one of the Fords, the True Value Ford Ranger. Art Schmidt, we talked about him momentarily. Here he is in the Nissan, making the jump from Class 910. Brendan Gaughan from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's part of the Walker Evans Racing stable. He'll be in the number 711, and that is a Jeep. And Al Walentowski also in the field in the 712. That is a Ford Ranger. Again, 2.5 liters. Here's the rest of the starting field as we have got 16 total vehicles entered. And again, the Le Mans start. And boy, I'd hate to be on the right side of that screen.
Well, I tell you, Marty, it'd be a tough place. This is going to be a great start. Here's big field. Art Schmidt gets a relatively good start. Good start.
Take a look as you are riding on board. Hold on to your lunch as we're up and over off of the oval here at Lake Geneva Raceway. And again, critical turn here, turn number 1.
It really is. Lots of traffic. Typically slick down here. Doesn't look like it's very slick right now, but it's going to be tough to get through. We got a little bang up already.
All right, let's set it for you. Al Walentowski's in first, John Greaves second, Jimmy Crowder third, and you're on board with Art Schmidt in fourth.
Now notice a little light on the right-hand side of the dashboard. That's probably an over-rev light. Something that's coming on every time he over-revs the motor. We can see the tack. We can see the tack go up and the light come on.
Now the battle as they head on to the back straightaway for the first time. Walentowski has never won in Class 7S in our True Value Pro Points series. But what a great start here.
He really does. So I tell you what, he's got one fast competitor right behind him. That's Johnny Greaves.
Greaves trying to find the inside. Boy, last year, John Greaves had so many times where his truck just did not make it to the finish line.
He did, Marty. It was just a...
Oh, and Walentowski's pulled over to the side momentarily. It looks like maybe it stalled.
It jumped out of gear possibly, something like that. And Johnny Greaves took advantage of it. We got Johnny Greaves leading.
So John Greaves, just as we talked about now, many times last year we saw him in this position where he would get in the early lead, but the truck just would not make it to the finish line.
He had that little black cloud hanging over. Let's see if we can change it this year. He sure looks good right now, doesn't he?
Last year at this event, Jeff Kincaid was the winner and John Greaves was second, and that was his best finish of the year in the televised races that we saw on ESPN.
I think, John, if you just settle down and realize he's real... Oh, we got to spin out.
That's Brendan Gaughan tangling with Michael Burke. So those two get into each other. That's going to cost each of them a few spots. That's 8th and 9th that they were tangling for on the race course. So there is Johnny Greaves. Al Walentowski's got it back in gear. He is second. There is third. It looks like Jimmy Crowder has moved in front of, and Jeff Kincaid. In fact, Kincaid has gotten around Art Schmidt, and there in 5th place is defending champion Scott Taylor.
Very seldom do you see Scott Taylor back that far. I think he just got a real poor start.
This is the battle on the race course right now for third position. Jimmy Crowder in the 747 trying to hold off Jeff Kincaid. Kincaid dives to the inside but can't take the corner.
Just got the door slammed on him.
Now there is Al Walentowski still with his best performance that we've ever seen in the years that we've been covering this class. And the battle really heating up. Scott Taylor closing down now on Jeff Kincaid and Jimmy Crowder. And look at Taylor trying to go underneath Kincaid.
Watch how well Scott Taylor's truck works. Off the jumps, you see the rest of the trucks hit the front end and bounce up the front end. Scott Taylor just hits the sticks. That's exactly the way you want him to handle it.
And Taylor gets up on his side. So just as we talk about how well the truck is handling, Scott Taylor hits a rut and pitches the truck up on its side.
Well, he got way off on the left-hand side and hit him. It looked like a double rut over there, an extra bump.
Take a look at it again, Ivan. He gets wide, and this is what's going to cost him.
He gets wide. See, there's a big bump on the right-hand side back over. It's hard to see, and that's what he caught, just one little piece of it. It's just that simple and that easy to do.
So for the first time in a long time, we see Scott Taylor on his side.
Well, that's right, Marty. But I'll tell you what, if you don't do that once in a while, I don't care who you are, you don't get on the side, you're not gonna be going fast. That's part of the game. A little fire right here, Marty.
Well, and it looks like it's going out on its own. And let's take a look at it again on board now. This is the view that we get from Art Schmidt's Nissan.
Everything looks fine right here. He gets off to the left a little bit. Just catches that one big run on the left-hand side, nobody goes.
Now this is the battle for third. Again, it's Jimmy Crowder trying to hold on to the position. Jeff Kincaid trying to take it away from him. Kincaid's got the inside line. He's going to do it.
Look at the big push Jimmy Crowder's got. He got out in that loose stuff, and just, you can't get out in that loose stuff. It's real muddy. Just pushes the front end.
Boy, but look at the rebound on Kincaid's truck. You were talking about that. These guys are going to be back on the drawing board a little bit, trying to adjust that suspension as the season progresses.
You really need to get that out of it. You need that front end and the back end to come down, hit the ground, and drive away. See, once it jumps up the second time, you have no control over it.
And you're losing valuable time to this man, race leader John Greaves.
Notice how John Greaves' truck just hit the ground, settled, and he can drive it again. That's exactly why you want a race truck.
So Greaves still running in first place. Second place is Al Walentowski. Jeff Kincaid third here at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Don't go away. Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson back with you at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. There is Scott Taylor, currently shown in 7th place. He's back on all fours. And here comes race leader John Greaves to put him a lap down.
Well, I tell you, Scott has got a major problem. He's got something leaking, either a valve cover or transmission leak of some sort, blowing on the headers possibly, Marty.
A lot of smoke pouring from that vehicle, and he is in jeopardy of going a full lap down to that man, John Greaves. Let's go down to Rick Johnson in pit lane. He's caught up with crew chief John Galano. Rick?
John, crew chief for Scott Taylor, what happened out there?
He tried to make a pass in the back, got bumped, rolled over, and then lost tranny fluid. He was on his top for a time. Transmission fluid came out the field too.
So it's just smoking, but it's not endangering the motor?
I don't think so. Motor seemed to be running strong, running good.
So Scott Taylor nursing home a wounded warrior, and this is John Greaves on his way to a potential win. And boy, I don't want to put the X on him after last year.
I tell you, that little black cloud he had on him last year, maybe he's gotten rid of that. It sure looks like it.
Second place. Oh, no, I was just getting ready to say second place is Al Walentowski, and he is out of the race, stopped on the side of the course. That would have been his best finish. Now, Jeff Kincaid has moved up into second place because of Walentowski's misfortune. Here is your new third place position, and a great run for Art Schmidt.
Art is really doing well. It's really interesting to see how well he'll do in a truck because, as you know, he's been so tough in buggies, but it looks like he's adapting very well, doesn't it?
On board with Art Schmidt, get an idea how much different the ride is in a 7S rather than a Class 8.
See if we can see that red light come on again. See if he may have been, what happens typically, guys get over-aggressive at the start of the race, over-rev the motor. Now look, you never see that light come on again, Marty. He's settled down, things are smoother, he's probably going quicker.
Well, so far, look, boy, he's just working that.
Sports Center is brought to you by Beck's Beer, the #1 imported German beer.
Is Brendan Gaughan? He is in 6th place. Bill Bowles is right in front of him, out of camera range.
Now, Brendan has never done much short course racing like this, Marty. He's done a lot of desert racing. His dad owns the Barbary Coast in Las Vegas. Very big supporter of off-road racing.
And they are making a full run this year in Class 7S. But here is your race leader, and that is the white flag being shown. 1 lap to go to John Greaves. And boy, this would be a great start for him.
Exactly. Now, if he'll just settle down, opposed to what he's done in the past, and try and run the fast lap on the last lap, he can win this race, Marty.
So the 28-year-old from De Pere, Wisconsin, just basically half a lap away from claiming victory here. Oh, no. But it won't be a great finish for Jimmy Crowder. He was running in 4th. He's down in the pits. Let's go to Rick Johnson.
What happened out there?
We changed the springs on it and put too much rebound in it, and what it done, it nosed down and hit the berm over and messed up the front steering on it, so I can't steer.
So here is our race leader, John Greaves. Final lap, just in fact, the final turn. He has 1 jump, Ivan, and it looks like he's going to put the hex behind him that he had last year.
Well, that's right, Marty. It looks like reliability was his problem last year, and it looks to me like he did a lot of work over the winter and it's paid off for him.
So here is John Greaves taking the checkered flag, the native of De Pere, Wisconsin, winner in round number 1 of the True Value Pro Series Championship in Class 7S. All part of the S.O.D.A World Series of off-road racing. A great crowd on hand. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100 after this. Pick up the action. Kevin Probst has gotten around Jeff Dorr and Jack Heidman, and he is now in the lead. And there is the margin between his Chevrolet and the Chevy Thunder. of Jack Flannery. So could this be an upset in the early making?
Boy, it sure could be, but I'll tell you what, Jack Flannery's extremely fast and a brand new truck for Kevin Probst, so we'll see what happens here. Usually a new truck like this, it takes a while to sort the bugs out, but boy, he looks awfully good right now, Marty.
So maybe the reliability problems are over for Kevin Probst as he has got the early lead here in Class 4. And oh no, Jeff St. Peter appears to be out of this race.
That's too bad, because I know we want to make a good showing in this class, because it's his first race for Class 4, Marty.
He was our champion last year in Class 9-10. Here is Kevin Probst. You couldn't even see Jack Flannery in the distance. What happened? Probst is pulling way offline there. He misses the corner.
Well, he's got a steering problem or some kind of a problem come up there. He wouldn't have missed it that big, I don't believe, Marty.
Either that or maybe he's lost the brakes.
Well, yeah, it's just hard to say. You just don't see. He got a tremendous amount of experience. New truck, I would say that he's got some kind of a little problem with it. Let's see if Jack's getting on it.
Now, this is Jack Flannery as we look out the back end of his pickup. And you can see right around this corner how much dirt he's managing to throw. Remember, four-wheel drive, so all four wheels are pulling through this tough terrain.
And I'm sure he's making about 800 horsepower.
There's the leaderboard here at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Kevin Probst hangs on to the lead. Stay with us. More after this. Ivan Stewart and Rick Johnson back with you at the Lake Geneva Raceway at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100, and Jack Flannery is beginning to reel in Kevin Probst. Now, if you remember last year's race, Kevin Probst finished second in a last lap duel with Jeff Dorr. Dorr is not a contender at this point, and now we're looking out the back of Jack Flannery's Chevrolet.
I'm guessing that Kevin Probst has got a problem. I don't believe that as fast as he come off the stairs.
Oh, and there's the pass on the outside of turn one.
I'm betting there's a problem there somewhere. I just don't believe he can be passed that easy.
And look at the way Flannery motors away from now second place, Kevin Probst. So, Ivan, I've got to agree with you. I cannot think that Kevin would just be giving up the position that easily unless he had a problem.
That's right. He just put way too much distance on him. Way too easy to gain that much on Kevin Probst.
So Flannery, this is the only race of the 6 races that we televised last year that he did not pull in to victory lane. He has got a 5-race winning streak on the line, and here he is out in front of Kevin Probst. I'm wondering, let's see if he may not have front-wheel drive there. Do you think he's down to 2-wheel drive?
It could be. It's hard to say. Let's see if maybe we can see the wheels of the front wheel spin at all. It's hard to say, Marty.
There's Greg Gerlach now. It's the first time we've been able to catch up with him for a bit. He is running in 3rd position. Greg in a 93 Dodge pickup and doing very well at this point. Now, this is Mark Seidler and Jack Heidman. This is another Chevy Ford battle. Seidler in 7th place and Heidman trying to take it away from him. Back up front, race leader, Jack Flannery.
His truck is the most beautiful handling truck I've ever seen, Marty. You just watch it hit the ground, it sticks, it drives forward. Absolutely nothing like it. That's exactly how you want a racetrack to run.
Well, that is Jeff Holker coming through the shot right there. He is, unfortunately, 1 lap down in 6th place. Here is 2nd place now, Kevin Probst, and absolutely, he does not have 4-wheel drive.
No, watch that right front tire. You can see it's not pulling. For sure, he only back to 2-wheel drive. That hurt him.
Oh, in 3rd place, Greg Gerlach is into the pits, and it looks like his belts have come loose.
He's got a major problem. He's not happy about something. If it's loose, his belts have come loose. That is a major problem. That's just...
Jerry Bundy has passed him while he's been in pit lane, so Bundy takes over 3rd. You're looking out the back of Jack Flannery Chevrolet, and nowhere in sight is the wounded Kevin Probst. This could make you seasick if you've just eaten.
Yeah, Kevin has definitely got a problem. We think he's got to be back in a 2-wheel drive. He's falling way, way behind.
Well, there's the grandstands off to the left, so that means that Jack Flannery has 1 turn left to maneuver, and here it is. From the grandstands looking back into that turn, Jack Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin is now going to extend his television winning streak to 6 races dating back to last year. And as he crosses the finish line, Jack Flannery in his quest to recapture and repeat as the True Value Pro Series champion in Class 4 gets off to a checkered flag start as he takes the win. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you at the Lake Geneva Raceway and the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Ivan's made his way down to victory lane.
Well, I got to tell you, Jack Flannery, Mr. Consistent. Class champion last year, you make it look picture perfect, so easy. What's the secret?
Well, I mean, it's just like I always said, my strategy is simple. Get in a good line, stay there. You know, I knew I wasn't going to have the best of start. I let him jump me on the line there a little bit, and I just kept going strong, and where I felt I could run him in the ground, if it took me the last lap, that's when I was going to do it. But the truck held together. The tires were grooved perfect. The motor was running good, so you got it all together, so don't waste it and don't screw yourself up.
Well, once again, we can combine the top 10 and the current point standings for the True Value Pro Series Championship in Class 4. And Jack Flannery, Kevin Probst, and Jerry Bundy take the top 3 spots. Jeff Holtker manages to hold on for 6th. Mark Seidler in 7th. Jack Heidman in 8th. Jeff St. Peter and Jim Latiga round out the top 10. Now, each time during the course of the season, we put Ivan to the test of taking us behind the scenes and giving us some of the insights that has made him one of the great drivers in off-road racing. Here's today's tire tip.
One of the most important factors here in Lake Geneva has always been tire choice. All these teams and drivers have got to figure out what tire are we going to use. We're going to start off on asphalt. You're going to jump right into the dust and dirt. First corner is going to be muddy. Could be loamy. You get off in the farmer's field, no telling what you might need there. 3 tires. If it's going to be dry, they're going to use this tire right here. Closed up pattern, get down. This will get them through that hard surface and get right down and give you a good drive. Good for the asphalt. Loamy, loose soil, this would be the one right here. A little more void area. A little better drive off this one. But if it's muddy, they've got to go to the mud tire. Lots of void. Get down to that hard soil. Dig. A lot of drive off here. If you got 800 horsepower and you don't get it down to the ground, believe me, you're not going to win here in Lake Geneva.
Well, as we get ready, as the trucks pull out for the Manufacturer's Challenge, I want to put you on the spot. Which tire would you pick if you're driving?
Well, I tell you, for this terrain, starting the asphalt the way it looks to me, I'd choose the all-terrain. The one in the center I was talking about. Give me plenty of drive off the asphalt. I want to get off the asphalt.
So as you see the view from our 4 in-car cameras, we get ready for the Manufacturer's Challenge. Now, this is Class 4, 8, and 3, Ivan.
These are production pickups, Marty. 2 or 4-wheel drive. Take your pick, either one. Must conform to the class rules, and you must have competed in one of the other races.
Now, Chevrolet starting field has Jack Flannery. He'll try and make it a double after coming off with a Class 4 win. And Scott Taylor will be back in his Ford Rough Rider with the number 800 on the side. Walker Evans, who finished second to Scott Taylor in Class 8, will be looking for his 119th career win. Kevin Probst will also be in this starting field. They've got the 4-wheel drive capability back in his Chevrolet. And Scott Douglas, impressive in his 3rd place finish in Class 8, will try and take the victory home for Dodge as well. And Jerry Bundy, one of 2 of the 58-year-old racers competing in this championship round, Jimmy Crowder being the other one, as he comes all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. The rest of the starting field, and boy, is this a big field. 19 heavy metal trucks ready to take part in this Manufacturer's Challenge.
Marty, I think I'd want to be in one of the 4-wheel drives and on the front of the pack if I could. This is a big, tough field.
Get ready. Turn 1 is going to be exciting. The green flag flies. Look at Flannery on the left side of the screen. My, what a cannon shot he is.
Tremendous acceleration on that truck.
There is Kevin Probst. Oh, and Probst collects the tire and parks the side of the corner. And, oh no, another spill right behind it, and that is Jimmy Crowder. The dust just so thick that he never saw it, Ivan.
He did never see it. I don't believe he ever got a chance to even maneuver for that one.
Oh, does that take a toll on that truck? Now, there is the contact, and watch what happens. As
see the dust back here, Marty? Now, whenever Jimmy comes through, he never sees, boom, never saw the tire.
Never sees the marker on the course, and boy, does he go over. So Jimmy Crowder will wait and see for the report, make sure that he is okay. Everybody else got through this mess, but they roll Jimmy over. He is definitely going to be out of this race, but the word is he is okay. So that's the best news of all. Back up front, there's Jack Flannery. He is pulling away from Jeff Dorr and Kevin Probst. Haven't heard much about Jeff Dorr. He did not do all that well in the Class 4 race, but here he is doing very well. As we look out from Kevin Probst in 3rd place, you can see Dorr right in front of him kicking a little mud up.
Typically, Jeff's a very tough competitor. I expect him to do very well.
Well, Dorr won here last year in the Class 4 race, and then finished 5th in the Heavy Metal Manufacturers Production Challenge. So Flannery, Dorr, Probst, Evans, and Taylor. There you see them 1st through 5th.
And the first three vehicles of four-wheel drive, Marty, that's where it pays off to get all four of those wheels.
Well, and it's one of the reasons that this race is not included in the points championship, because it's no secret that the four-wheel drive does have a bit of an advantage on some of these courses. Well,
they really do, but what depends on what happens. Later on in the race, you'll see that as it drives out, the two-wheel drives become more competitive.
On board here with Scott Taylor as he is coming down. But look at the great crowd. The last 2 years, this event has been hammered by rain. And this year, the sun finally comes out. And this is the view out the back of Walker Evans' truck. And again, you can see the crowd in the full pit lane. I mean, it has been a spectacular event for Kevin Dawson, the promoter here at Lake Geneva. And everybody having a great time.
Listen to Walker's motor. You can hear him rev the motor, pull the motor down, trying to get some bite on that dirt. That's what you have to do with the two-wheel drives, Marty. Try and get down and try and get those two tires biting, and that's what Walker's doing right now.
And you can see that is Scott Taylor in the distance trying to reel in Walker Evans.
Now, as this track dries out, I think we're going to see the two-wheel drive pull up.
Wait a minute. Walker's pulling over. Walker Evans has pulled off the race course. And there is the external view. So Walker Evans having a problem with his Dodge, and he will not be a factor in this manufacturer's production challenge.
All the way from Riverside, California. Walker's not going to be able to finish.
There is Scott Taylor. He is now in 4th place. And he, too, lumbering through this infield section. Back to the battle for 2nd place. That is Jeff Dorr right in front of Kevin Probst. It's again Ford leading a Chevy at this point. Let's go on board, sit back, we'll just let you ride along.
Something broke.
Look at the way the camera is askew. I think you're right, Ivan. Take a look. And yes, this is the view from the outside.
Some sort of suspension component broke right there. Spindle looks like they, Marty.
So Kevin Probst is out of this race, and that means Jack Flannery has only Jeff Dorr to really worry about at this point, and there is the margin. You can see Dorr just coming into view, and Flannery is definitely making a statement here, isn't he, Ivan?
He really is. He's been strong over the years, and he just gets stronger and stronger. I know they've done a lot of testing back over the winter, and boy, I tell you what, he's real serious.
If you're going to beat Jack Flannery, you better go find some more horsepower. There is 3rd place. That is Scott Taylor. Stay with us. We'll be back with the conclusion of the Manufacturer's Challenge right after this. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson is on pit lane, and that is your leader here in the Manufacturer's Challenge at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. That is Jack Flannery, and there's the margin to 2nd place. We're still waiting to see Jeff Dorr in 2nd.
He has got a tremendously, extremely tough this year. He's always tough, but this year's even tougher.
All right, we're on board with Jack. Take us through it. What do you see that you really like about this truck?
Well, this truck actually pulls so well through the corners. As I mentioned before, off the jumps, it's just absolutely fantastic. I've never seen a truck any better. So smooth. He doesn't fight the steering wheel, making these hard corners. Gears down, mashes the throttle. Beautiful. Just doesn't get any better than this.
Let's just listen for a second. Oh, no. Jeff Dorr is out of the race. And when I said we were going to listen for a second, I was right. Holy smokes, Jeff Dorr, doing so well, is now out of this race. So Scott Taylor will now move up into 2nd place. So Taylor getting around some slower traffic at this point on the race course, but he has absolutely no chance of catching Jack Flannery unless Jack brakes.
Yeah, that's the only way he's going to catch him. We've got too much traffic. It's dried out like we talked about, as we can see from the dust, but it's just no way he's going to catch Jack.
Back on board with Scott Taylor.
Marty, watch the interesting way that Scott Taylor's got to fight this truck. He's got to throw the tail of the truck around, slide it around the corners, where Jack Flannery, if you notice, he can drive his more. Watch his hands. Watch Scotty's hands here.
Yeah, even there, fishtailing, and that's the straightaway portion down the back straight.
That's right, because he's only got those two wheels driving.
Now, that is Greg Gerlach in front of Jack Flannery, and to give you an idea how dominant Flannery is, Gerlach is running in 4th place. He's almost ready to put him down a lap.
That is amazing. The Jack Flannery's truck is so good. Stays on the ground is what it's all about.
Taylor finally gets around Jack Heidman, and now tries desperately, and I think in vain, to reel in the very fast Jack Flannery. Boy, there it is. Perfect example of what you're talking about. The back end just comes around with 2-wheel drive, and here Jack Flannery with 4-wheel drive powering through. Is it going to come to a point where, as we have one lap to go in the race, where everybody will have to run four-wheel drive if they want to have a chance in this? Or
I sincerely believe so, unless, Marty, we get the rougher tracks. As long as they're smooth like this, relatively smooth, these four-wheel drives are going to have an advantage. So
Jack Flannery, with about a half a lap to go, has gotten around 4th place. Greg Gerlach put him a lap down. Here is Scott Taylor doing everything that he can in his Ford, but the two-wheel drive differential, just the big difference in this race today.
The other difference you have, the payoff is that Scott Taylor's two-wheel drives are lighter. Jack Flannery's carried all the weight up front, and typically that's going to hurt you on a dry track.
So Flannery, with about one more turn to go after this, will be looking at the checkered flag. Now remember, no points are involved in this in the Pro Series Championship. This is, as we said, the Manufacturer's Challenge. It's an opportunity for everybody to get out there and compete on the same track. For the fans love it. The racers enjoy it. Jack Flannery's certainly going to love it because he's taking the checkered flag for the win here at the Chevrolet Memorial Day 100. Scott Taylor will finish second, and Brian Frankenberg comes across the line third. Stay with us when we come. Well, here are the final results from the Manufacturer's Challenge. Jack Flannery, Scott Taylor, Brian Frankenberg in the top 3 positions. Jeff St. Peter, Greg Gerlach round out the top 5. So that's going to do it for us from Lake Geneva Raceway today. A kiss from wife Connie to the winner, Jack Flannery. For Rick Johnson and Ivan Stewart, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for watching. Look out, Jack, you're going to get a bath before you ever get out of the truck. So long for now. The S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing got off to a flying start in round 1 at Lake Geneva. Jack Flannery made it 6 wins in a row. And can anyone put out Flannery's fire?
We can beat Jack Flannery. Do I have to answer that? Oh, I'm nervous. Beat Jack Flannery, it's going to take some work. There's no doubt about that.
Defending champion in Class 8 and 7S, Scott Taylor is being squeezed on both sides. Walker Evans' new Dodge is a definite challenger in Class 8. And in Class 7S, John Grease's Toyota won as it was a disastrous day for the defending champ. And Taylor gets up on his side. So here is John Grease taking the checkered flag.
See who the new champion is at the end of the year.
The line has been drawn in the sand, so sit down, strap in, and hold on because the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships are next. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports, welcomes you to round number 2 of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. Today we're in Antigo, Wisconsin for the Chevrolet Off-Road Championship. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and over my shoulder, I guarantee you those grandstands will be filling up as we get ready for race action. But before we do, we've got to answer some questions today. In Class 4, can anybody beat Jack Flannery? He is on a 6-race winning streak here on ESPN. In Class 7S, if Scott Taylor wants to defend his championship from last year in the True Value Pro Series, he's going to have to do better than his 7th place finish in round number 1. And then in Class 8, everybody's focusing on Walker Evans. He finished 2nd at round number 1 in Lake Geneva. But we found out just a couple of hours ago he had some problems. With more on that story, here's my partner, Ivan Stewart.
Marty, I got Walker Evans. Walker finished 2nd in Lake Geneva, and the very worst possible thing could have happened to him. He just come off a pre-run 2 hours ago and just blew a motor. Walker, what are we going to do?
Well, we got to change it. I'll tell you right now, I'm not very happy about it. It was really running good, but that's one of the things in racing, as you well know. It's being changed, and we'll be back out there.
One of the worst thing I'm afraid it's going to be is the fact you're not going to get a chance to go out there and do a pre-run. You won't know for sure if the carburetor's set up right. That's going to really be tough, I know.
Well, there's going to be some unknowns. There's no doubt about it. Anytime you completely remove a motor, put another one back in the truck, and drive it straight out on the track and go for that win, there's going to be little ifs and doubts in your mind, but we'll make the best of it. You watch.
Well, I know Walker Evans wants his championship in the worst way. That's a story in Class 8. Let's go to my partner, Rick Johnson, find out what's happening in Class 7.
Thank you, Ivan. Scott Taylor also had problems in that pre-run session. Walker Evans blew a motor. Scott Taylor, a transmission. Compound that with his 7th place finish at Lake Geneva, it opens up the door for 3 players in the 7S Championship. Johnny Greaves, the winner of Lake Geneva, Jeff Kincaid, 2nd place, and Art Schmidt, 3rd place. Jeff, what's your game plan for this race and your championship?
Well, we didn't get a very good draw for this race, but we're going to try to work our way up right away, right to the front, because that's where I like to run. I don't like to run two or three. I want to run to the front.
Art, you won championships in buggies. What's your game plan for the year?
Well, we've won a few championships. We're used to winning, and we're going to be there in the truck
soon.
Two different philosophies, but one goal, that championship in 7S.
Well, thanks, Rick. Let's take a look at the race conditions, and the bottom of the screen's the important factor. There are thunderstorms in the area. Hopefully, they may skirt us, but it doesn't look good right now. Let's take a look at this course layout, Ivan.
Well, Marty, as you can see, we're running an existing sprint car track. We start on the back straightaway, down the front side, around a big sweeper, into the Moco section. Lots of passing down here. As you can see, there's either guys get through here well, or they don't. Lots of action. Back around the backside, up a hill, and as you know, we've had a lot of action in this area.
Yeah, turn 4 right here. Watch what happens to Jeff Dorr. You get offline, and you are in big, big trouble here at Antigo, Wisconsin, the Langlade County Fairgrounds. Now, we're getting ready for Class 8 action. The truck's coming out onto the race course, and look at the grandstands. A capacity crowd on hand here at Antigo. So let's take a look now at the True Value Pro Series in this division. Scott Taylor and Walker Evans running 1-2, and Scott Douglas, the newcomer to the series, he is doing very well in 3rd place. On down through the top 10 in the point standings, and you can pick out your favorite driver and see how they have performed so far after round number 1. On board now with Scott Taylor. This is the view that he sees out the front of that big Ford Rough Rider as he is getting ready to pull in the line for the start of this race. Let's take a look at what Class 8 is all about, Ivan.
Marty, 2-wheel drive production pickups. They make just about 500, 850 horsepower. Minimum weight is 3,700 pounds.
Let's set the Chevrolet starting field for you. The man who won round number 1, defending champion, Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. He'll be on the Ford. Walker Evans, remember, he's coming out with an untested motor. He'll be in the 817, a brand new Dodge. Another of the Dodge contingent, Scott Douglas from El Cajon, California. He'll be in the 807. Dave Hockers from De Pere, Wisconsin. He'll be in the 802. Also in the starting field for the first time this year, we see Jamie Flannery in the number 815 Chevrolet. Jimmy Crowder, the 837, that's a Ford pickup, and Jimmy from Tallahassee, Florida. And Jamie Flannery's brother Jed will also be in this field in Class 8. He's in another of the Chevrolet contingent. He'll be in the 812. Now, as we set the rest of the field with Chuck Brand, Brian Donlevy, and John Conitzer, this rolling start. First time the series has ever tried it. And, Ivan, what do you expect to see?
Well, this is going to be interesting. We'll see, Marty. I think could be a good idea.
3 across as they come around the outside part of the oval here, and on that front row on the pole position you can see it is the 800 defending champion of Scott Taylor.
What it should do, Marty, is eliminate these guys from running the back of the next car in front of them. The guy that doesn't get a good start, everybody rolling, everybody moving smooth, it should let them get a good start.
So as we wait for the pace truck to pull in, these 10 vehicles head towards that man, Mark Borneman, most stylish starter you'll ever see. He wears a white tuxedo. You'll get a great look at him when he waves the checker flag down on the course.
They look good, Marty. They're all lined up. They're off.
Scott Taylor gets a great start in front of the capacity crowd here at Antigo. And look at Walker Evans trying to hug that inside line.
He's on a low line. Let's see which one works the best there. It's hard to say. Down in the mogul section.
The 3 of them. That's Jimmy Crowder in front, right in the middle. Walker Evans on the right, Scott Taylor on the left.
Look at Walker Evans working that inside. He just loves them rough tracks.
Oh, and a little contact as he dives for the lead. Walker Evans gets around Jimmy Crowder, and then it is Scott Taylor in 3rd. 4th place is Scott Douglas, and we're on board with Scott Taylor.
Look at the Matador who's coming up off those back tires of Walker Evans' truck. He is flat putting some dirt out.
Trying to get around Jimmy Crowder. Scott Taylor looks like he may do it as they come back up. No. Crowder holds him up. Oh, and boy, you can get pitched off there into that guardrail.
He tries the other side. He may get him on the inside here, Marty.
Hard left hand, 180-degree turn. This takes you down on the infield of the Langlade County Fairgrounds, and it is Scott Taylor moving into 2nd place.
Walker almost got a little bit too wide there, Marty. I can see where Scott was looking at his way. Maybe I can get underneath this guy right here.
Oh, and Walker does get wide.
And the same thing. He may remember now, as we talked about Randy Truck to Walker Evans, he's probably having a little teething problem with that thing.
Well, also remember, that is a brand new motor in there. May not be putting out the same amount of torque or horsepower. Look at it. It stalled.
He's got a problem of some sort. Now you got to fire it again.
Walker Evans stalls momentarily. This could be the opening that Scott Taylor needed.
Marty, this is the big problem. When you change an engine like Walker had to do, you never know if you got the float levels off, of an electrical problem. Something is obviously going on with this truck.
Down through turn 1, up over the jump. You're on board. Hold on. Here we go through the rhythm section.
Watch him fight the wheel there. Let's see how well his truck handles. This is a good indication right here on how well the truck is, how much Walker got him on the outside.
And Walker Evans comes around on the outside. You see the pass being made.
And a little smoke, Marty, a little bit of smoke. See, those are the big problems here you're going to have without testing.
Boy, Walker Evans, is he in trouble this early into this race here at Antigo? There's Walker Evans and Scott Taylor. Here comes the battle for third. That's Jimmy Crowder. Oh, he gets a little wide, and Jamie Flannery moves into third position. Now, Rick Johnson has made his way over to Walker Evans' camp. We may be able to get more on the possible problems with Walker Evans.
Randy Anderson, crew chief for Walker Evans. Walker's got a commanding lead, but there's certain times that the car seems to stop working in the corners. Has he reported any troubles?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a carburetor problem at the moment, but he's got it worked out. He's pretty happy with it right now. We got it working good today.
So we now know it's a carburetor problem, and that's one of those adjustments that you talked about, Ivan.
Well, that's why you need to run the truck, especially after changing the motor, Marty.
And, of course, they had absolutely no opportunity to do that. Now, there is a battle. That's Scott Douglas trying to get around Jimmy Crowder. That is for fourth position. Stay with us. When we come back, you won't miss a thing here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Walker Evans, your leader. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you at the Langley County Fairgrounds for the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. This is the battle for fourth between Jimmy Crowder and Scott Douglas.
Scott Douglas being the newcomer, Marty. Notice when Jimmy Crowder jumps on his truck, gets sideways, loses momentum and speed. That's when Scott takes advantage of it.
So is it tire selection or is it horsepower?
No, I think more than anything, Marty, just the way the truck is set up. It flies off the jumps a little crooked, and that allows Scott Douglas to make a little ground on him every time he comes off that jump.
Well, watch right here as they come down into the rhythm section. He gets a little wide. Douglas on the left there trying to move through. They are side by side.
Ooh, good move on Scott's part. He can try to get him on the outside here.
Oh, but Crowder gets into him. Can they straighten it out? Oh, no, it's even going further. Both trucks spin all the way around. Who's going to recover first? It looks like it'll be Crowder.
Jimmy Crowder gets away first, and where is Scott Douglas?
Well, Jed Flannery has gotten around Scott Douglas, so that's the battle for fourth now between Jimmy Crowder and Jed Flannery. There was Douglas right at the back of your screen. So it looks like, let's get another look at it, take us through it, and who's at fault on this one, Ivan?
Well, I tell you, it looks to me like Scott is trying to get around the outside. Jimmy drives into him a little bit here, but the bad part, I think, is whenever he really gets into his door, he really pushes on him. Although his brake lights are on, Marty, he's, that was a little over-aggressive driving.
And they both end up getting hooked, but it cost Scott Douglas more than it did Jimmy Crowder. Here is the battle back up front for the lead. You're on board with second place Scott Taylor. That is Walker Evans right in front of him.
He's trying everything. He tries the inside, the outside.
Up over what will be the finish line jump right there, heading down for turn one.
Let's see if Walker goes wide on this. Is that left-hander he got real wide on a couple laps ago. He might have some steering problems.
Oh, wait a minute. There's trouble on the BF Goodrich Ford of Scott Taylor. Oh, smoke pouring. That looks like it could be either a motor or transmission. Well, won't have to worry about mosquitoes.
Boy, I tell you, it's got a major problem. It's probably, it's one of the two. You're right, Marty.
This, look at Scott Taylor. He's holding his hands up. He knows right now his points lead is going to slip away. And Walker Evans knows, because he's on the radio with Randy Anderson, that he has control of this race.
Well, he has the pressure now. He doesn't have the pressure from Scott Taylor, but now he has the pressure from Jamie Flannery.
But Flannery's going to have to reel him in. The laps are winding down. And he has about, a 7 or 8 truck length lead over second place, Jamie Flannery.
I don't think Jamie ever catches, providing Walker's truck doesn't continue to die or any of those problems come up.
Well, they said they had that little carburetor problem taken care of. Oh, no, and another racer out, Jimmy Crowder. He was running in fourth place. I'm wondering if that was a result of the tangle with Scott Douglas. Now, that is Jed Flannery, who has moved into third place, and that moves Scott Douglas up to fourth. Here comes Scott Douglas. You get a shot of the damage on that left fender. Oh, he's having all kinds of problems. He's got a flat right front tire, and that is Dave Hockers moving around to take the position. Now, that is Dave Hockers moving into fourth place.
That is really a frustrating feeling to have that happen to you.
But coming right back despite the flat on the inside, but he's going to lose it right here. That tire's about ready to shred into about 1,000 pieces, and Dave Hockers will now be able to open up some ground. The laps are winding down, and the pit is all the way around the course. He is about a half a mile from pit lane.
He's also got some smoke coming out the back of that. That's a brand new Dodge that they're also having teething problems with. Some kind of some smoke.
Could it be the tire rubbing along the fender well?
Well, I was looking at that. It's hard to say. Yeah, you could be right. It could be rubbing that fender well.
We're on the final lap. Walker Evans in control of this race. The victory will move him into the points lead in Class 8. If you remember last year at this point, he was struggling to find the championship. So after 2 races, he's going to have the points lead. And there is the checkered flag for Walker Evans as he takes the win here at Antigo at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Second place will be Jamie Flannery. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner here at the Langley County Fairgrounds.
If your home improvement plans include a new concrete sidewalk, driveway, or patio, why not do it yourself, professionally, with help from Ace Valley Home Center in Prescott Valley? They'll pre-mix the concrete you need and hook the mixer up to your trailer hitch. It mixes while you drive to the job and will pour up to 1 1/4 yards, enough for a 10 by 10 foot patio. No more hand mixing your mess. Just back the mixer up to your forms and you're ready to go. It's easy and will save you time and money. Just another reason why Ace is the place. Ace Valley Home Center in Prescott Valley.
Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. Let's check the final results in Class 8. Walker Evans, Jamie Flannery, and his brother Jed finish 1, 2, 3. And Scott Taylor finishes in 10th place. Let's go to victory lane with Ivan.
Walker, you told me you're going to get this real serious. You're going to come out here and win some races, get a point championship. You lead. You got a first and a second. How's it feel?
Well, it does feel really, really good. I'll tell you, I was a little concerned going into this race. After all, when you pop a motor in practice, have to, like we talked about, put another motor in, not knowing what it can do, and come out here and run like that. I'll tell you, I am happy. A first and a second, yeah, I'll take it.
The 2 things, my heart skipped a beat. I saw you get a little sideways back there, and I noticed it killed the motor. Something died in the motor. What happened there?
Well, if your heart skipped a beat, it came clear up to my throat, because I was wondering, what in the world happened? You know, I jumped into a corner a little bit hot, a little sideways, and the gas sloshed over, I guess, and I just hit the starter button, and it cranked about 3 times and lit off. And I said, boy, I better not let that happen again. I had to go back and run him down again.
So let's check now the point standings for the True Value Pro Series Championship at Class 8. Walker Evans takes a 10-point lead over Scott Taylor, and Scott Douglas and Dave Hockers are tied for 3rd with 23. A tie for 5th between Jimmy Crowder and John Conitzer. Then Brian Donlevy, Jamie Flannery, and Jed Flannery round out the points battle here in Class 8. Now the trucks are pulling out onto the race course for the battle in Class 4. This is the class that Jack Flannery has been dominating over the course of all last season and so far early this season. You can see there his 6th win in a row in the True Value Pro Series. He leads by 4 over Kevin Probst. Jerry Bundy, Greg Gerlach, and Scott Smith round out the top 5. And then 6th through 10th, you've got Jeff Holtger, Mark Seidler, Jack Heidman, Jeff St. Peter, and Jim Ladiga. So as the trucks complete the staging process here for the Class 4 Championship, the question that still begs an answer is, can anyone beat the number 435 of Jack Flannery? We asked Kevin Probst, Jeff Dorr, and newcomer to the series, Steve Kelly, that very question.
Well, we can beat Jack Flannery. We were ahead of him at the Lake Geneva race. You know, we were running pretty strong. We're going to have a new motor in there for Crandon. We're going to get the suspension dialed in a little bit better so we don't have to let up as often on the jumps. You know, we're a little bit tippy going through the corners right now, so that's stuff that we're correcting, and we're going to have all straightened out for Crandon race. So, you know, if we do our job, we'll be able to beat Jack.
And when it gets down to the end, we're running about the same speed, so I think some good brakes on my side, too. I need a little bit better luck.
Well, he's awesome, and we watch him on TV, and like I said, it's the first time I've been back in the Midwest, so I've raced against Jack about 3 years ago. We had a short course race at Willow Springs, and he beat me 1 race, and I beat him 1 race, but he had trouble when I beat him, so we know how competitive he is along with the other guys, so we're real anxious to get out here, dial the truck in. We have a desert motor. We don't have a big killer motor. We've got a 414 cubic inch Dodge motor, and we do have 4-wheel drive, so we're going to go out and run as hard as we can.
4-wheel drive the key. Ivan, tell us what Class 4 is all about.
Well, Marty, like we talked about, this is the cousin to the big Class 8 trucks, although they're 4-wheel drive. 500, 850 horsepower, weight equals 8 pounds per cubic inch.
Let's set the Chevrolet starting field for you. This is the man that everyone has to beat, Jack Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin. From New Lenox, Illinois, it will be Kevin Probst driving the number 499 Chevrolet. In the Ford contingent, Jeff Dorr will be in the number 400. He's from Rockford, Illinois. Then there's Greg Gerlach. He'll be in the 402. That is a 93 Dodge. And Jeff St. Peter, one of the newcomers who's moved up from Class 910 from Port Washington, Wisconsin. And Jeff Holtker, he'll be in the number 444. That is another of the Ford contingent. He's from Coleman, Wisconsin. And making his first appearance from Irvine, California, Steve Kelly. He'll be in a Jeep. He has tons of desert racing experience. Not a great deal, although he did used to race the Riverside events as you look at the rest of the starting field. And as he mentioned, the Willow Springs race out on the West Coast. As they form up now behind the pace truck, Ivan, Jack Flannery's got the pole.
Oh, let me tell you, he's going to be really tough. Anytime you put Jack Flannery on the pole with that big motor, the amount of acceleration he's got, to beat him to that first corner, you're going to really have your work cut out.
Well, because it's a rolling start, as the pace truck pulls off, he sets the pace. So everybody has to keep up with him. We're on board with Jack now as we get ready for the green flag. It'll be in the left-hand portion of your screen. There it is. And, boy, look at the start that Jack Flannery gets.
Yeah, a little bit of a fudge there, but as you say, he sets the pace.
It's up to the other two, really, to keep up with him. That is Greg Gerlach shooting into second. Third place is Steve Kelly. So Kelly in the Jeep doing a fine job of moving out early into third. And, look, he's diving for second.
Yeah, Steve Kelly's got a tremendous amount of experience whenever you get into these moments. The guys from California really understand the bumps and ditches.
As they head for turn number 4, remember this one, you can get off camber here and end up on your lid. Then turn 5 is a right-hander, which brings you onto the straightaway that leads back onto the oval part of the dirt track here at the Langley County Fairgrounds. And there is Jack Flannery beginning to open up a little bit of a lead over Steve Kelly.
Well, Steve Kelly, I'm really impressed with the first time out, first time racing back here in the Midwest. He's doing really well.
Third place is Greg Gerlach. There's Kevin Probst. Here comes Chad Schluter. Oh, and Probst gets up on 2 wheels. Coming now down to the right-hander on another 180-degree turn. There is Chad Schluter. Schluter from Howell, Michigan. Flannery, wow, boy, the horsepower. This guy's got the battle for second being joined now. Greg Gerlach putting a lot of pressure on Steve Kelly. Oh, and he tries the inside line. Is he going to be able to make it stick, Ivan?
It looks to me like he's got a good line in there, and I tell you what, Greg Gerlach's got a tremendous amount of horsepower in that truck. But he flies a little crooked. See how much straighter Steve Kelly's truck is?
So now Kelly holds on to the position as Gerlach again. Now Kelly gets wide, and Gerlach squirts underneath, so maybe too much horsepower into turn number 1.
Well, Marty, that's the perfect example of a little bit too much horsepower, too much speed going to that big sweeper. Not only he lost ground to Greg Gerlach, but look at Kevin Probst gain on him.
And boy, he gets wide again through turn number 3. On board now with our leader, Jack Flannery. Ooh, Flannery a little sideways. Now he has opened up about a 12 truck length lead. This is the straightaway which leads back onto the oval portion of the dirt track here at the Langley County Fairgrounds.
Look at Jack's hands, how busy he is correcting the car, truck getting sideways, back and forth.
Now the battle for second again. In fact, that's second, third, and fourth. Gerlach, Kelly, and Kevin Probst. This is a great race for second, but so far no one able to catch. And look at Probst trying to dive underneath Kelly. He's going to take the position. That's a new third place.
He made the move. He doesn't get too wide here. There, he made it well.
So it is now a Chevrolet first, a Dodge second, a Chevy third, the Jeep fourth. Talk about a manufacturer's battle, you got it. Probst doing very well. Now this is a very, very lightweight truck.
It really is. Lots of horsepower, very light. He hasn't got it scored away. He sits a little bit high. If you notice how high the body sits on the chassis, he needs to lower that truck down a little bit. I think they realize that they've had some trouble with some springs on that truck.
Extremely light compared to all the other Class 4s down there. Remember, it is a power-to-weight ratio. 8 pounds per cubic inch is the measurement. And here goes Probst. He's diving for second place as they head into turn 3, and he gets past Greg Gerlach.
Well, that's one of the places going to be an advantage for his truck to sit high. But where he's going to blow it is in the corners. His center of gravity's too high. He can't make that corner real tight.
Boy, and there's a perfect example. He gets a little wide right there, but he's got the horsepower coming off the turn at least to hold on to the position.
Greg almost got underneath him there.
Well, stay with us. You won't miss a thing at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Jack Flannery is your leader. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you at the Langley County Fairgrounds, the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. And there is Jack Flannery, and look at the lead that this man has built up. He has won this event here at Antigo 2 years in a row that we've been televising the race, and it looks like he's going to make it 3. Battle for third, that is Greg Gerlach and Steve Kelly. And Kelly's got something hanging from the front portion of his truck.
He's got something broken. I don't think it's anything major, though, Marty.
Jeff Dorr is right behind Steve Kelly. So that is third, fourth, and fifth. And there is Kelly trying to dive underneath Greg Gerlach. Gerlach will have none of it.
2 lines in that corner, and it looks like the upper line's the best that we've seen so far.
Back up onto the oval portion of the track. There was Kevin Probst going through your screen. He's in second place. Oh, and diving underneath, making contact, Steve Kelly and Jeff Dorr. That is a battle for fourth place, and so it is now Greg Gerlach in third, Steve Kelly in fourth, and Jeff Dorr in fifth place.
Steve Kelly's really got to be happy with that truck. Anytime you get by Jeff Dorr, you're doing something. He just got by relatively easy, Marty.
So there is the battle as it continues on the infield portion. Oh, and Ken Kincaid is now out of the race in his Ford. It looks like he just lost the entire wheel on the left rear. On board again with Jack Flannery. He is coming up on Roy Stack. That is lap traffic.
See how he handles this. How patient he's going to be and which he should be, Marty.
Well, hope you haven't just had lunch or dinner. He gets around Roy Stack, Scott Smith right there, and it looks like he'll take him here. Whoa, what's that smoke on the right side?
I just noticed the same thing. You get a little smoke out of the motor here. He may have a valve cover leaking or something.
Oh, no, and Kevin Probst, running in second place, is pulling his truck off to the side. So he is out of the race, and we can tell you while that was happening, Jeff Dorr got around Steve Kelly, and Dorr looks like he may be getting around Greg Gerlach as well. Gerlach on the inside. Can he make it stick? Yes, it looks like Jeff Dorr is going to take over second place, Ivan.
Well, he's had a tremendous amount of passing in that area. That's a great passing area, Marty, back up out of those moguls.
So now, let's set it for you. That is second place, Jeff Dorr. Third place, Greg Gerlach. And then fourth place, Steve Kelly. So it is Ford, Dodge, and Jeep running second, third, and fourth.
And where's Jack Flannery? He's got a tremendous lead.
Like you're now a director. Ask and you get it punched up for you. There he is, the man who has been unbeatable in Class 4, and it looks like it's going to happen again as he is on his last lap.
Marty, I don't know what it's going to take to beat Jack Flannery. He is one tough hombre.
A couple more turns, and Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin will make it 7 in a row, and that smoke is gone. He's waving to the crowd. Or at least the corner workers. That smoke isn't there anymore.
He's got this is a great field. To be the last lap, this big of a lead, his truck working so good. Crew's working good. They're all happy. Leading the point championship. What else could you ask for?
Well, he's going to make it 7 in a row. 2 for 2 in 1994. There is the checkered flag. He's gotten so familiar with it, you might as well put his name on it. Jack Flannery, your winner here at Antigo at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Second place is going to go to Jeff Dorr as he's going to hold off Greg Gerlach. So that's the way it's going to wrap up here. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to the winner. Well, the rains have started to fall here at the Langley County Fairgrounds. Let's take a look at the final results here in Class 4. Jack Flannery, Jeff Dorr, and Greg Gerlach with Steve Kelly and Gerald Foster rounding out the top 5. Ivan Stewart's made his way down to victory lane. Ivan?
Jack Flannery, that's 2 in a row for 1994, and that's 7 in a row. I don't know if you know it or not on ESPN. 7 straight wins. What are you doing out here? You're doing something right.
I'll just tell you what, we got a hard-working bunch of guys, and you know, we're just giving it 100%. We take we put everything we can into our operation here, and you know, it's just showing, Ivan. It takes a group effort to get this far. I can't win all by myself, and I'll tell you, I just got a good crew behind me, and also some good companies that's backing me.
If a new guy was coming into the sport, Class 4 racing, what would you tell them? What are they going to have to do to beat you?
Well, I'll tell you, to beat Jack Flannery, it's going to take some work. There's no doubt about that. You know, I've been here 20-some years, and nothing's come easy for me. I don't expect to give anybody anything for nothing, and you know, I'm going to give it all I got. I'm not letting up for anybody. My sons either. In time they're going to get me, but they're going to work for it.
Taking a look now at the True Value Pro Series Championship in Class 4. Jack Flannery 2 for 2 with a perfect 40 points. Greg Gerlach is in second now with 26. Kevin Probst in third with 22. And there you see the rest of the point leaders in Class 4 action. Steve Kelly picking up 12 points with a good run here, moving into 9th position in the point standings. So now we're ready for Class 7S action as the rain has subsided at least momentarily. And remember, the storms are all around us. And this is a storm cloud that has hovered over Scott Taylor. This was earlier today. He blew a transmission in pre-running, Ivan.
Oh, this is a shame because he's going to be in the same position that Walker Evans was in. He's going to have to start the race without knowing for sure if that transmission is going to work or not.
Yeah. And not only that, he's coming off what had to be a disappointing performance in Class 8 when he lost a transmission there.
That's exactly right. This is really, really a frustrating great position to be in.
Now remember, he finished 7th back at round number 1, and look at where it puts him in the point standings for the True Value Pro Series. John Greaves, Jeff Kincaid, Art Schmidt, Tom Hawkers, and Bill Bowles are 1 through 5. And there is Scott Taylor in 7th place.
We just never see Scott Taylor that far down the lineup, I'll tell you, Marty.
So now as we get ready for Class 7S action, you're on board with Art Schmidt and his Nissan, as he is going to have the inside position on row number 2 on this rolling start. Let's tell you what Class 7S is all about.
Two-wheel drive, production mid-size pickup, 4 cylinders, maximum 2.5 liters, and many could make just about 200 horsepower.
The Chevrolet starting field will have John Greaves, the current points leader. He'll be driving a Toyota. He's from De Pere, Wisconsin. Jeff Kincaid, 2nd place in the standings. He's from Crandon, Wisconsin. He'll be in the True Value Ford. Then there's Art Schmidt from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's in the American Racing Wheels Nissan. Then it'll be Tom Hawkers. He's got a 93 Ford Ranger. He's from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. Then you've got Brendan Gaughan, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. At the age of 18, he's in a Jeep. And Scott Taylor, the man who has to make a move if he wants to defend that championship in Class 7S. He's from Belvedere, Illinois. The rest of the starting field in this huge Class 7S championship here at the Langley County Fairgrounds at Antigo, Wisconsin. The crowd will be coming to their feet, and look at those storm clouds off into the distance. Will the rain hold off long enough for us to get this race in?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind, Marty, these guys all want to get this race in before that big black cloud gets over here.
The pace truck getting ready to pull off. You see the course getting a little slippery right at that point. Water truck through there. And we head now down towards the starting line. The crowd on their feet. Will we get the green flag on board? Yes, and oh my, look what happens to Art Schmidt as the onboard camera literally gets coated with mud. And that's what a driver sees. Now there's Al Walentowski as he makes a move to take the early lead. A great start for Walentowski.
It really was. You know, you can see the muddy areas that they cross there. And when that, whoa, look at Al's truck.
But he makes a nice recovery, Ivan, and holds on to the lead. 2nd place is Jeff Kincaid, and oh no! Scott Taylor is pulling his Ford out of this race already. He will score no points. This will be devastating in his quest to repeat as 7S champion. And there is John Greaves. He has gotten around Jimmy Crowder for 3rd, but take a look at his truck when he comes by. It is coated with mud, Ivan. We've talked about it before. Mud can be devastating to a vehicle.
Well, it really can. Not only for the radiator, but for your eyes and your goggles. You can't see where you're going. It can be extremely frustrating, plus you can run into things.
Got to tell you, we are not going to be able to see anything else from Art Schmidt's camera. The mud is so impacted that our lens cleaning is not capable of doing it. So we're not going to get any more pictures, at least for this race, because of the mud that has been thrown up. Now, let's set it for you. Jeff Kincaid has gotten around Al Walentowski, and he has taken over the lead of this race as, boy, he has got that Ford Ranger pumping through turn 1.
He really is. Look how wet those corners are. Those are really, really tricky to negotiate.
There was Walentowski. That's John Greaves. You can't tell anything on the side of his vehicle. He has been so coated with the mud.
Something interesting about John Greaves' truck, that he uses a 5-speed transmission when most everybody else in this whole class will use an automatic.
John Greaves and Al Walentowski. Walentowski holding on to the position. And yes, he'll maintain 2nd place, but Greaves all over him.
One of the reasons I use that 5-speed is because it gives you a much better gear ratio. Look, he dives up high here and then down low. I really like his style.
Oh, boy, and takes the position there as Walentowski had one minor flaw, and that opened the door, and Greaves went past.
And that's all it takes when you got Johnny Greaves behind you. He's going to take advantage of it.
So now, Greaves in 2nd. Whoa, there is Kevin Norris. He is pulling his Ford out of the race. Norris from Farmington Hills, Michigan, the 26-year-old, I'm sure, extremely frustrated. And this now the battle for 8th place. Joe Dunlap trying to hold off Dave Wolf as they head for turn 7 one more time.
Ooh, look at the push here on Joe's truck. That's what you call a typical push. He turns the steering wheel in the mud. It will not get around.
Then he ends up swinging way wide, losing a tremendous amount of time. Dave Wolf gets around him for 8th position. Oh, he's having all kinds of problems back there. You think he might just not have the right tire combination as well, Ivan?
Well, it could be tires. It could be steering's real slow, no telling.
Oh, no, this is John Greaves, and we talked about all that mud. Look at it, just caked there, and he's got an overheating problem.
Well, and also, look at his eyes. He has no goggles. His visor's been up. He's got mud in the radiator. radiator. Not a good position to be in.
All the rain that quickly went through here has now created a major problem as John Greaves is going to try and tough it out. He needs the points. And there's Brendan Gaughan, same problem. He has got radiator overheating in his Jeep, so he pulls back out onto the race course as well. This could be a battle to see who can survive. Jeff Kincaid, your leader at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Don't go away. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships, I'm Marty Reed, along with Ivan Stewart. Rick Johnson is in pit lane, and there is your race leader in Class 7S. That is Jeff Kincaid. He's approaching lap traffic of Bill Bowles in the 702 and Mark Eberhard in the 759.
Well, I tell you what the lead he's got, Marty. I think it would pay to be a little bit more patient. I wouldn't be hitting those barrels, I don't think.
Well, Rick Johnson has made his way over to the John Greaves pit. He's caught up with crew chief Kurt Greaves. Rick?
John came into the pit with obviously some overheating problems. Is it the mud or was it the collision on the first lap?
I looked, it didn't look like the collision caused any problems, but mud was a big problem. So we washed it out with water and hopefully he can finish the race.
So there is Al Walentowski holding on to second place. Jimmy Crowder is in third as they come back up onto the racetrack one more time. This is a great battle going on.
Well, Jimmy's all over him here. Let's see what he tries to do if he can get underneath it. No, he's going to try the high side, Marty.
So as they head onto the interior portions of the racetrack, they too are finding lap vehicles in front of them. They always can play a factor if you're not careful. But so far, Walentowski, oh no. And we talked about John Greaves and the overheating problem. Our points leader will be the points leader no more as he is now out of this race. And there is Art Schmidt currently running in fourth place. And again, we had the onboard view until the camera literally got caked with the mud. And that's what happens when you have a lot of rain, and as it has been sporadic throughout the day.
I've noticed on the course there's been a lot of variety in the course. You get some dusty areas, you got a lot of mud, and then some dry corners. Lots and lots of challenges on this course.
On the final lap, race leader Jeff Kincaid, if he can hold on to this, he will take over the points lead in Class 7S. And gets a little squirrely as he heads into that sharp turn number 7. Here is the battle for second place. Walentowski still in front of Jimmy Crowder through the rhythm section.
Hey, Jimmy's got to really be frustrated. You look how hard he's trying. He's got a problem, Mark.
We saw smoke out of the Ford of Jimmy Crowder, and now he's no longer right behind Al Walentowski. Could the overheating problems have caught him? No. He seems to be back underway, but he has dropped back.
But mark my word, I'll guarantee you he's got some kind of problem. If he falls back, he's got a heating problem or something.
So there is the checker flag that awaits Jeff Kincaid, and boy, he will be very happy in victory lane because with this win, he will move into first place in the True Value Pro Series Championship for Class 7S. So stay with us. When we come back, we'll get a chance to talk to the winner here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships, there are the final results in Class 7S. Jeff Kincaid over Jimmy Crowder and Al Walentowski. Art Schmidt and Brendan Gaughan round out the top 5. They're 6 through 10. Ivan Stewart's made his way to victory lane. Ivan?
Well, Jeff, I don't know if you know that Scott Taylor didn't make the race, and I'm sure you know that Johnny Greaves went out. You know that puts you in the points now.
Yeah, I seen Johnny pull off there. I had a bad start. They started me out in 12th, and they left the door open for me on the corner here, and I shot right to the front. That True Value truck hooked up on them Goodyear tires, boy, I'm telling you, it was fun. I'm a little bit more dialing into on her, but she's pretty fast right now.
I noticed I got a lot of guys that were going around the track that had a lot of problems with the mud in their eyes. Did you have any trouble at all with traffic or mud in your eyes?
Not too bad. We come up on a couple of them, but we got the tearaways and instantly pull them off and blow by them and forget them. We're by them. We're gone.
The confidence of being a points leader, and he is. Jeff Kincaid by 10 over Art Schmidt in the 7S battle for the True Value Pro Series Championship. You can see a three-way tie for third, and then 6th through 10th. And Scott Taylor in serious trouble with only 9 points after 2 rounds of racing. So now we're getting ready for the Manufacturer's Production Challenge. That's where we bring all the 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive trucks back together for a showdown. No points, just bragging rights. And as far as the 2-wheel drive, the Class 8 vehicles, well, they've got to find every advantage they can. And Ivan Stewart has the latest developments in Class 8. Ivan?
In all forms of racing, technology is continually changing. No different right here in truck racing. Let me show you what I mean. This is the inside of Scott Taylor's truck. As you can see, it's basically built for the driver. There's nothing else in here. Gauges, shifter, and that's it. All the powertrain engine is forward to the firewall. Now let me show you the inside of Scott Douglas' big Dodge T300. If you notice, the inside of the driver's compartment is much, much busier. They use the drive shaft off of the engine to power the alternator, the power steering pump, and the oil pump. Several things this does. It makes the engine much cleaner, plus it gets the weight of all these components off the front of the truck, makes it fly a lot better. It's not near as hard on the front end. Second advantage is real quick and easy to change a motor. You don't have to take all these components off. Same exact system Walker Evans has on his trucks, and that's one of the reasons he was able to make that real quick engine change earlier today.
All right, thanks, Ivan, for the inside information, and now we're getting ready for the showdown, as this is a huge field in the Manufacturer's Production Challenge. And, Ivan, what's it all about?
Marty, production pickups, 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, must conform to class rules and must have competed in a class race.
If they don't run earlier, they can't run now. The Chevrolet starting field, Walker Evans, can he make it a double? He won Class 8. He'll be in the Dodge. Jack Flannery also looking for a double opportunity. He won Class 4. He'll be in the Chevrolet. Scott Douglas in the 807. That's another of the Dodge contingent. You saw how the new technology is being utilized in his truck. Greg Gerlach, he's in a 93 Dodge. He'll be in the number 402. Scott Taylor, boy, he would love to salvage something from what has otherwise been a dismal weekend for him. And Dave Hockers, he's another of the Ford contingent. He'll be in the 802. And Jamie Flannery, who had a good, strong performance in Class 8, will find himself driving in the 815. And here's the rest of the starting field. And as we get ready for this race, who do you like? Because I'll tell you what, Walker Evans is starting back in the pack, and so is Jack Flannery.
Well, I'll tell you, the guys, especially with the Class 8s in the back of this field, are going to really going to have to work their work cut out for them, Marty.
This is a huge field coming now down towards and getting the green flag early, as we'll see how they sort things out in front of this huge crowd at Antigo. Not a seat available in the grandstands. You're on board right now with Kevin Probst, and oh no, Hocker spins it around, and luckily everybody gets through. Look at the banging going on as they're into the rhythm section.
Whoa, and that's Jed Flannery just spinning right there, and then Jamie Flannery just bumped him.
Oh, so the brothers get together. I'm sure they're not going to be too happy with each other, but looks like they'll both get back underway, but it'll take away their chance of winning. On board now with Scott Douglas. You're looking out the back of his Dodge and now out the front of the Ford of Scott Taylor. And there is Jack Flannery in front of him, and there's Walker Evans.
Boy, that's what traffic. You can see exactly what these guys are going through. They're trying to keep the truck straight. They're trying to maneuver the truck, miss these tires, and you can see they're just a tremendous amount of traffic.
There's Walker Evans on the left-hand portion of the screen. He's sideways, and ooh! And he gets straightened out thanks to Scott Taylor.
You got a good bump there. Luckily it came at the right time.
Here is the way the field summary looks right now. Gerald Foster in front, Scott Douglas in second, Brian Frankenberg in third, Greg Gerlach fourth, and on down. Look at where Walker Evans is now in 10th, Flannery's in 8th. This is going to be interesting to watch these guys try and work their way through. There is Kevin Probst also side by side with Flannery.
Typically what we've seen, Marty, is in this particular race, we see the 4-wheel drives jump out front, and eventually as the track dries out, here comes the Class 8s. Oh, and there's Kevin Probst. He got a problem again.
Probst is slowing down, so it looks like the problems that plagued him in Class 4 have returned here in the Manufacturer's Production Challenge. This is the battle for the lead. Gerald Foster trying to hold off Scott Douglas and doing a good job.
Now remember, Gerald Foster's 4-wheel drive. Watch when he gets his truck straight. He'll accelerate and probably pull away from Scott Douglas. But as it dries out, Scott Douglas should be getting an advantage.
This action going on in turns 4 and 5. This will bring him up to turn 6, which puts you back onto the oval portion of the dirt track here. Oh, and Foster getting a little wide. Oh, very wide.
Way too wide. Yeah, he really screwed that up. It's wet right back in there, Marty.
Tapped Scott Douglas, but Douglas was able to get by, so now your new leader for the first time, Scott Douglas, in only his second S.O.D.A race. He has tons of experience out west in desert racing, but doing very well here.
The problem he's going to have is still awfully wet, still awfully slick. He's 4-wheel drive, and here comes Jack Flannery.
Flannery on the outside of the corner has moved up. There's first, second. Flannery trying to move into third right there and may be able to take Foster if he can get inside. No, he'll fall into third place. But so far, Flannery making a great move towards the front here, finding himself in third, and here's where the horsepower, he is going to take over second.
He has really got the horsepower, and he knows exactly how to use it and where to use it.
Well, stay with us. We'll show you the exciting conclusion of the Manufacturer's Production Challenge here, the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. You're looking at the back of Scott Douglas's Dodge, and that is Jack Flannery. He got a little wide. Can he make the pass? Now we're looking out the front, and yes, Flannery is by.
What's happened, Marty, is the track is staying so wet that big four-wheel drive is getting an advantage. Watch you pull out of the corner here. Whoop.
Whoa! Flannery gets high for a change, so he slides through, but, and they touch. They're into each other. So the contact made, and look at Flannery as he recovers quicker than Scott Douglas.
Unbelievable, the acceleration that Jack Flannery's got in that big Chevrolet.
So there is Flannery now, the new leader, and Douglas looks, does he have a problem?
Well, I don't think so. To be honest, Marty, I think that Scott Douglas is just a little bit intimidated by the fact that these guys are going so fast here on these short tracks, and he's just not quite set up well. There is Walker Evans trying to get around Frankenberg, and does it. Now you're looking out the back of Walker's truck. He is now fourth, moving up through this field. Can he catch Jack Flannery? Who knows? It seems like no one has been able to catch Jack Flannery through the rhythm section. Well, if anybody can do it, it'll be Walker Evans, I'll tell you that. Look at the rooster tail. If this was hydroplane racing, you'd be seeing water spray up that high. Here comes Frankenberg back on the inside of Walker Evans. So there, that two-wheel, four-wheel drive situation again. And that's Steve Kelly back there. I think it depends a lot on where these guys are actually on the track. In the wet, like I say, the four-wheel drive is pretty bad. They touch as they come through, and Frankenberg gets a little sideways. Walker Evans takes fourth place back again. Anytime you notice these guys getting sideways, you'll notice that Walker Evans really aware of that. He keeps the truck straight, and he just drives away. And now he has just gotten past Gerald Foster for third, as Walker Evans is making his move. But oh no, Scott Douglas, who was running second, is now out of the race. No smoke, don't know what the problem is. This is Jack Flannery, and he's got problems. Now, that's Jeff Dorr, who has had his own problems, and there's Walker Evans. So this is a battle for the lead. Walker Evans is going to get past Jack Flannery, and there it is. You're on board with Walker. Well, I tell you what, Marty, we haven't seen Jack Flannery have a problem in a long, long time. So Flannery finds himself in second place for the first time this season on ESPN, and Walker Evans on his way perhaps to a double. Remember, this is a motor that they literally installed just a few hours before the start of racing action today. I've always been impressed with Walker Evans. You watch now, he's got a lead. He's got a big lead. He'll still stay on the throttle. He loves to drive this big Dodge and show off what it'll do, show the fans what it'll do. Rick Johnson is caught up with Jack Flannery's crew chief.
Kevin, what happened? Jack was running strong, and all of a sudden he slowed down.
We got belts came off on the truck. We're overheated also.
So we now know what happened to Jack Flannery. This is the battle for fifth. We're on the final lap. That is Chad Schluter trying to hold off Scott Taylor. So Taylor's day is still not going to end on a bright note. He does get past Schluter, but he is not going to win this race. Well, what's happening, Marty, as the track dries out a little bit, he's able to get by these guys. Back on board, looking out the rear of Walker Evans. You can see no one is going to challenge Evans. He is going to take the double, as he is going to win both Class 8 and the Manufacturer's Challenge here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Antigo, Wisconsin. The truck has taken a beating, but Walker Evans has come out in front. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner. Round 2 of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing came to Antigo, Wisconsin. Scott Taylor went up in smoke as Walker Evans won and took the class lead.
So I got to just stand on that pet.
Truth or dare, Jeff Kincaid says what he means.
I don't like to run two or three. I want to run to the front.
And then he does what he says, winning to take the class lead. But Art Schmidt says, not so fast.
Sure, today I'm looking for that first place win.
Jumping Jack Flash. Jack Flannery won for the 7th time in a row. Can Chevy Thunder make it 8 straight?
This big Chevy, I'll tell you what, it's going to do some damage here this weekend.
For round 3 at Crandon, Wisconsin for the Chevrolet Spring Run. It's time to race. Run ESPN. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, today is in Crandon, Wisconsin for the 3rd round of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. It's the Chevrolet Spring Run. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart. And if you've been with us through the first 2 rounds, you know that in Class 4, Jack Flannery is trying to make a runaway of the True Value Pro Series Championship. He leads by 14, and he's going for his 8th straight win here on ESPN. But in Class 8, a different story from last year's championship.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marty, that's right. Walker Evans last year at this time wasn't even a contender, wasn't a factor at all. He had a disastrous season as far as the points championship goes. This year, he got serious. He built a new truck. He's driving hard. He's driving fast. He's leading the championships. He got a first and a second. He's tough to beat.
He has got a 10-point lead, to be specific. Now, that also brings us to Class 7S. And for the latest in that division, let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team, Rick Johnson. Rick?
At the opening of the Antigo show, Jeff Kincaid said he was going to come out and run up front, and he did exactly that, winning the 7S class. Jeff, you're running strong, you're winning races, and you're consistent. What's the key?
This year we got a new truck through True Value. It's a little lighter, built a little more durable motor in there, and I think all those add up, and it puts me right up front there.
Everybody's got a good truck out there, and everybody's running strong, but what is it that's making Jeff Kincaid run so consistent and so fast and winning races?
Well, I think it's the durability of the race. You know, you got to be there at the end. I like to run right up front there right away and make them chase me, you know. Catch me if you can is what I like to say.
Well, he's winning races. He's consistent. He's got the point lead. He's got the right combination for 7S.
Thanks, Rick. And weather conditions are absolutely ideal. 80 degrees. Humidity's a little on the sticky side, but a nice northwesterly 15-mile-an-hour breeze as we take a look at this layout.
Marty, we talked about the fast tracks. This is the fastest one of all the tracks that we do. Oklahoma Land Rush start. Very important to get down to that first right-hand corner. Fastest corner in all the racetracks we do. Probably 70, 80 miles an hour around there. If you miss that corner, you're going to Parsons Pond.
Two areas that you can pass. The first one being at the gravel pit.
That's right. That's a sharp left-hand corner. We see a lot of pads in there. And then another hairpin back up toward the start-finish line.
And then the long straightaway on the backstretch leading to the final turn, the other key passing zone.
That's exactly right, Marty. Those are the key areas for getting around this racetrack, and the passing points are the most critical.
And if you can't pass, you can't win, because this is absolutely the fastest layout on the tour, 2 miles in length, and we're ready now for Class 8 action. Let's set up the True Value Pro Points Championship as it stands right now. Walker Evans with a 10-point lead over Scott Taylor. Scott Douglas and Dave Hockers tied for third. Jimmy Crowder and John Conitzer tied for fifth. There you see the rest of the top 10 as Brian Donlevy, Jamie Flannery, his brother Jed, and Darren Vandrell round out the top 10 in the True Value Pro Series. Now you're looking at the onboard camera with Scott Taylor. That's out the back of his BF Goodrich Racing Ford. And tell us what Class 8's all about, Ivan.
Marty, these are two-wheel drive production pickups. Engines 600 to 800 cubic inches, make about 500 to 850 horsepower. Minimum weight 3,700 pounds.
And here is the Chevrolet starting field. Walker Evans will be on board his Dodge. He is the current points leader. Number 2, right behind him by 10, is Scott Taylor. He'll be in the Ford. Then another of the Dodge contingent, Scott Douglas. He'll be in the number 807. Dave Hockers, a member of the Ford team. He'll be in the number 802. Jimmy Crowder's another member of the Ford contingent. He'll be in the 837. And then Jed Flannery, part of the Chevrolet Army, he'll be driving the 812. His brother, Jamie Flannery, will be in another of the Chevrolets. There you see him there with the rest of the starting field. And again, this start, all important.
Marty, let me tell you about it. We talk about Oklahoma Land Rush. You look at the herd of trucks we've got here. We have got a bunch of them.
And the green flag drops, and we are underway here at Crandon in the Chevrolet Spring Rod. And hold on, we're just going to sit back and survive turn 1.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, up and over. That is Jed Flannery, as he is still going, Ivan.
Marty, he's only lost 2 positions, I believe, right there.
The first time that we've seen anybody roll and keep moving at that rate of speed. And as you said, he only lost 2 positions. Walker Evans is the leader. Scott Douglas appears to be in second place right now as they make their way down towards the gravel pit. Oh, no, and that's Jamie Flannery's high center.
Yeah, he got way too fast at turn 1 there, or turn 2 rather. He came up.
Take a look at this again. Walker cuts over, and it looks like Jamie gets into Jed with a little assist from Walker Evans.
He just came up and bumped that berm, and that's what it does. But you know, Marty, these trucks are designed to get upside down.
Take a look at it again here. There is Walker Evans, and there's the tail end of the flip.
We say a lot of times in racing that cars have roll cages in case they get upside down. Off-road racing, we know it's going to happen.
Out of the final turn, onto the front straightaway for the second time. It's Walker Evans, Scott Douglas, and Scott Taylor. And Taylor taking a different line.
Look at the line he's taking over. Obviously, he thinks that's a quicker line, and it looks like he may have gained some ground there, Marty.
There is first, second, and third. 2 Dodgers and a Ford. Walker Evans, Scott Douglas, and Scott Taylor. And boy, look at the damage from that collision in the very first turn on Scott Douglas's right side.
Scott Douglas got something tore off the side, and remember, he has all of his oil and pressure pumps and all those things are in that area, so I also see smoke coming from there, Marty. Let's watch that.
And trying to make a dive on the inside, Scott Taylor, he takes a look but can't do it. And you're right, a lot of smoke, and now we're on board. And there goes Scott Taylor around Scott Douglas.
He got by him. I got a feel that Scott may have, boy, that's a great shot out of the back there.
As he came over the jump, this is the final turn where it'll set you up to the finish line. There you see what will be the finish line of the race. And now it is Walker Evans first, Scott Taylor second, Scott Douglas third. That's exactly how they are in the points championship heading into this race.
Well, I tell you, Walker Evans is serious about this points championship, Marty. He hasn't won it in the Midwest, and he wants it in the worst way.
And you see the damage on Walker's right side of his vehicle, which shows where he got into Scott Douglas, who in turn got into Jet Flannery in that first turn crash.
Well, I tell you what, though, Scott Taylor is not going to let him get away.
Great racing action here at Crandon. Speeds up over 100 miles an hour on the straightaway. That is Chuck Brandon. He's got big problems.
He's got major problems. He's got an axle coming loose, maybe a flat, and he's also got an engine problem, Marty.
So Chuck's day looks like it's going to be coming to a very quick end. Boy, you're right. Look at that right rear. It looks like just the flat. The axle seems to be okay.
Yeah, the axle's fine. He's just down on the wheel.
Dave Hocker's currently in 4th place as he makes his way down through. Oh, getting a little sideways there, locking up the left front. And here it is, back to the lead pack. It has dwindled to 2. Scott Douglas is losing ground. It's Walker Evans through turn 2, and the Ford of Scott Taylor right behind him.
He might be gaining just a little on Scott Taylor, but I tell you, very little.
Tremendous racing action up front here. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll show you the conclusion of the Class A Championship at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Walker Evans is your leader. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson is in pit lane, and this is Class 8 racing action as we have got a great battle for the lead going on.
Notice Scott Taylor's changed his line again. I think he might be gaining on Walker.
He gained on him. He's passed him. We're looking out the back of Scott Taylor, and there you see Walker Evans in 2nd place. Boy, so the pass worked.
He found the right line through that area. There's a lot of moguls through there. Boy, I tell you what, he found a great line.
Walker looked to the inside through turn 2, and boy, it hung him out to dry. Oh, boy, both of them got high there on that corner.
He did, yeah. Walker's pressing way out of the loose stuff. He might be having some kind of a problem.
He is falling back. They're heading down into the gravel pit area. This is a huge 180-degree corner. Sets you up for this big jump coming the other way. And, boy, look how far out Walker is.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to predict he's having some sort of a steering problem or something, it looks like, Marty. He's not going like he was, for sure. He's not going as hard as he was earlier.
And here comes Scott Douglas closing on Walker Evans. So the 2 Dodges may be battling it out for 2nd place momentarily. Scott Taylor is in 1st. He needs to score points. He trails Walker Evans in the True Value Pro Point Series by 10. Boy, this truck looks like it's taking a pounding.
Boy, it is. There's all those equipment inside there. You can see that that's the oil pump, what have you.
Looks like a broken spring, and that is Chuck Brand's truck. So he is now out of the race. That wheel has fallen off. Back to Scott Taylor, our leader. Look at the crowd here at Crandon, watching and enjoying this Class 8 race. Uh-oh, little smoke out of his. It looks like he may have a broken radiator.
Yeah, he's got some heat coming out of the radiator. He doesn't have too many laps to go. He might be able to make this, Marty.
So Scott Taylor also developing a potential problem. Now remember, he was following Walker there in the early go and may have taken a lot of mud into the front end of that vehicle.
Now keep in mind, a lot of these guys are using radio, so if his crew is telling him that Walker's falling back, Scott Douglas isn't pressuring him, he can slow down a little bit and save that motor.
And he does have a very big lead over 2nd place right now. Can he hold on to it? Green flag is still out.
Boy, that is worrisome, let me tell you. You start seeing, now Walker's out.
Walker Evans slowing down. This will hurt him in the points championship. He leads by 10. Now remember, there's 20 points to the winner of each race, 16 for 2nd, 14 for 3rd. Now Walker looks like he's getting back out. So let's go down to pit side with Rick Johnson and Randy Anderson.
Walker was running strong in the beginning of the race, and all of a sudden his speed just started to taper down worse and worse. Now he's just trickling around. What's going on?
I think we lost the torque converter. It's not running hot. She's just slipping, and we don't know. This is Crandon for you. A lot of horsepower, a lot of traction, lost torque converter today, it looks like.
Marty, that's, you know, I thought maybe it was a steering problem, but torque converters, as Randy said, is a big factor here. They generate lots of heat, and it is really hard on those transmissions.
Boy, I'll tell you, there is new second place, Scott Douglas. Looks like he's been through a war. Most of that happened in that very first turn accident. Walker is back out there. He's trying to keep going just to score points, and he gets passed by Dave Hawkers.
He's probably trying to get the transmission to cool down. They get extremely hot, over 300 degrees. He's trying to get the temperature down. Maybe it'll start at least make enough, get enough traction to get on around a track. It doesn't look like it, though, Marty.
Points are points, and boy, they are critical. Now, Dave Hawkers has moved up into third place, so he is doing very well right now. And this will help him in the points championship. We're going to have a great battle as we are down to the last lap with 3 rounds of racing to go after the midway point in the True Value Pro Point Series. Scott Taylor, boy, he's nursing it. It sounds sick.
It does. It sounds bad. He's really looking hard for that finish line. He's just praying right now. Come on, baby, just get me home.
Scott Douglas is closing. We can tell you he's not in camera view yet, but he is closing down on Scott Taylor. And boy, the steam is really pouring.
Anytime you see that steam come out the exhaust pipe down there, we got major problems. Ooh, that sounds bad, Marty, really bad.
He has got this jump and 1 turn yet to complete to take the checkered flag. Boy, look at how slow he is. Where is Scott Douglas? I don't think he's going to be up. There he is in the back. He will not have enough time to get around. 1 more lap and he would have been able to do it, but here will be the checkered flag as Scott Taylor limps home to take the win here at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner and we will update the True Value Pro Point Series standings. Don't go anywhere, as Scott Taylor has done a great job here in our first race at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Back at the Chevrolet Spring Run, taking a look at the final results. Scott Taylor, Scott Douglas first and second, Dave Hawkers in third, Walker Evans able to limp home in fourth, and that's going to make the points battle interesting. Let's go to Ivan Stewart in victory lane with our winner.
Well, I tell you, Scott Taylor, that you didn't get a fantastic start. Not a bad start, but it worked out for you.
I got a lousy start today, but I thought with a couple of laps of wet ground and wet track, I'll pick my time to pass and really start pushing the pressure on, and that's what I did. I went with my strategy I thought about last night, and I told all my guys, and I said, I'm going to stand on the gas today. Walker's in my sights.
You really did. You know, you have 1 DNF, and you got 2 firsts. You're in the points race. We thought maybe you were going to fall out, but you're looking pretty good now.
Yeah, we're starting to come back around. We had a couple little problems that we had to dial in, and it was with some transmission and torque converters and coolers and all that stuff. You know, you've been there. And now we've got it. We feel real confident about it. We've got a lot of backing behind us, Ford Motor Company and all the rest of the associate sponsors with the BF Goodrich Tires and Haviland and all of them. And it's all really coming together, Ivan.
Let's take a look at the True Value Pro Series standings in Class 8, and it has tightened up dramatically. Walker Evans now leads only by 2 over Scott Taylor. On down through the list, you can see John Conitzer, Jimmy Crowder, Jed and Jamie Flannery, and Chuck Brand rounding out the top 10. As we now get ready for Class 4 action, and you're on board with Jack Flannery as he is attempting to win his 8th straight race on ESPN. And here is the way the True Value Pro Series standings shape up right now, as Jack is 2 for 2, scoring a perfect 20 points. He leads Greg Gerlach by 14, Kevin Probst in third. And one of the newcomers there, Steve Kelly from the West Coast, making a statement at the last round with 12 points in 8th place. He is in this field as well.
Marty, these are the 4-wheel drives. We should have more acceleration with these trucks. They should get down to that corner a little bit quicker than those 2-wheel drive big Class 8s. These are 4-wheel drive production pickups, engines 600 to 800 cubic inches, 500 to 850 horsepower again. Weight equals 8 pounds per cubic inch.
And let's set the Chevrolet starting field for you. He is the points leader, 2 for 2. Jack Flannery in the number 435. Greg Gerlach will be in the number 402. That's a Dodge. Kevin Probst in another Chevrolet. He'll be in the number 499. Jeff Dorr, he's one of the Ford contingent. He'll be in number 400. And then Jeff St. Peter, number 412, another member driving a Ford. And Steve Kelly will be a part of the Dodge contingent. He'll be in the number 413. Here's a look at the rest of the starting field, and it's good to see Linda Lou Schlamm back in the field because we've missed her the first 2 rounds of racing. And on down through Ken Kincaid, Jeff Holker, and Jim Ladiga. Ladiga makes a long tow from the East Coast in Connecticut. Now the green flag has dropped. We're on board with Jack Flannery. Turn 1, critical.
Boy, look at the acceleration of Jack Flannery's truck. Heading down, he got to be doing 110 miles an hour, Marty.
And he is first through the corner into turn number 1. As Flannery out early, he is 2 for 2, as we talked about, and going for his 8th straight win over the last 2 years.
Everybody gets through clean. That's good. They're all through that corner. There's no contact whatsoever.
So right now, you see Jack Flannery already starting to open up a very big lead over Ken Kincaid, and then it looks like Steve Kelly and Greg Gerlach back and forth. And somebody has got to step up and stop Jack Flannery at this race, or he's going to get control of the points lead and run away.
That's exactly right. And I'll tell you what, there's 2 or 3 guys who can do it. Greg Gerlach, for one, has been very, very consistent to put the pressure on. Steve Kelly possibly to get their truck dialed in.
Ken Kincaid starting to reel in Jack Flannery. Greg Gerlach back there as well, battling with Steve Kelly. But Flannery right now, boy, look at that horsepower.
You know, Jack Flannery, this is his hometown. He's got a tremendous amount of confidence. He can test on this track. He knows the track. He's just tough to beat.
Flannery, wait a minute. Flannery sounds like he's slowing down. Could it be for the first time in 8 races, Jack Flannery is going to be beaten?
Yeah, he's got a problem, there's no doubt about that. The engine falls off and then comes back up. Just got passed.
And there goes Ken Kincaid around Jack Flannery. When was the last time you saw Jack Flannery eating someone's dirt?
You just don't see that very often, Marty, let me tell you. He's got a problem. That engine just fell off and then it came back to life again. Now it's back running.
Around the last turn, on the front straightaway again, and it sounds weak.
It's rough. It's real, real rough.
And this has been the one thing Jack Flannery has had all throughout the last 2 seasons, dating back to last year when he won the championship, was reliability.
That's exactly right. But you never... Boy, that thing is really hitting hard. I hear it banging.
He is in 2nd place right now, trying to close up. And boy, look at the mud that he just took into the onboard camera system. So Ken Kincaid in front of Jack Flannery. Kincaid, 32 years old, from Spooner, Wisconsin, and this is a major event. Somebody other than a Jack Flannery leading a race.
Boy, let me tell you about it. And he's got the horsepower back. He's going to drive underneath.
That is the gravel pit section. It's going to be a drag race back to the jump, and it looks like first over will be Jack Flannery.
Well, you know what can happen once in a while, Marty, and it may be happening to Jack Flannery. The ignition may be getting wet enough.
Boy, Ken Kincaid comes right back and takes the lead again. So a great battle going on in Class 4. And Kincaid pulls away from Flannery.
As I say, I think possibly he might be getting the ignition wet and then it dries out.
And then he gets way wide. Kincaid gets very wide, giving Flannery the open door, and Flannery retakes the lead.
Even without the horsepower, you just don't see Jack Flannery make those kind of mistakes. Kincaid got way wide there, and that really opened the door up.
So now Jack Flannery back in control of this race, at least for the moment. Look at the gap that he's starting to open up. Kincaid must have a big problem. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Flannery again. Boy, that truck does not sound right yet.
It looked like he was coasting there.
And it is dead in the water. Jack Flannery slowing. That is his pit crew, and you can see the frustration on their faces. They're looking back towards that last turn. Here comes Ken Kincaid into pit lane. So the men who are leading this race and battling for it, Kincaid's got a flat right rear, and that means Steve Kelly is your new leader. And there's the battle for second, Greg Gerlach and Jeff Dorr. Oh, and who's that going up in smoke? That's Jim Ladiga.
Ladiga's got a major problem with that engine, let me tell you about it.
And it may be a long tow back to North Franklin, Connecticut for Jim Ladiga. There is your leader, Steve Kelly. Now, one driver who is missing from today's race is Chad Schluter. Unfortunately, there was an accident yesterday, and it involved Chad Schluter's truck. And unfortunately, we must pass along some very sad news. Mark Rose was killed in that accident. He was riding with Chad. He was a publisher and a writer for Off-Road Magazine. Every driver racing here this weekend participated in a parade lap in honor of Mark this morning. Mark, a friend of all of us here in the off-road racing community, the first death in the 25-year history of the spring run. Mark, we'll miss you. Ben Stewart and Rick Johnson back with you at the Chevrolet Spring Run, and the battle for the lead has heated up. That's Steve Kelly and his Dodge leading the Ford of Jeff Dorr.
And I'll tell you what, Jeff Dorr is really closing up on Steve Kelly.
And right behind him, coming into view, there you see the smoking Jim Latiga. He's still hanging on to 4th place. Greg Gerlach in 3rd.
But you know what he's doing is that smoke is coming and going, so it may not be a big factor for Jim.
So he is still in the hunt. It may not be a long tow to North Franklin after all. Back to the battle for the lead.
I'll tell you, Marty, Jeff Doerr's got a lot of experience on this racetrack, and he's looking for a spot right now. He's all over Steve Kelly.
They head down and back onto the front straightaway. Now, this is strategy. Who's going to win the drag race?
Steve Kelly on the left, Jeff Doer on the right. Now, this is where your experience comes in. Jeff Doer wants all 4 wheels on the ground, and he's got them. He's got the pass right there, Marty.
So Jeff Doer takes the lead in Class 4 action here at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Kelly trying to reel him back in. It's Ford versus Dodge at this point. And Jeff Doer scrambling to try and cut into that lead of Jack Flannery's. This is the biggest opportunity that he is going to have all season long to do the job, and he is stretching his lead now. And the question is, can Greg Gerlach, who came into this race in 2nd place, close down as well? There is Gerlach with his hands full for 3rd place with Jim Latiga, and Latiga's smoke is gone.
It looks like it's put smoke in, and they're having a good race back here, although they're quite a ways back, Marty.
That's Dodge versus Chevrolet, as Latiga trying to get around and gets a little loose there through the gravel pit. This is Latiga's best effort of the year so far as he comes over the jump, and look at the, oh no, the tire has come off on the right rear.
Well, that thing completely busted off, Marty. I think it just broke right off.
And Latiga, literally, I mean, the whole wheel assembly is gone.
Yeah, that's really unusual. Sometimes the lug nuts will come off, but this just snapped right off, it looked like.
Boy, look at the way it just flies off. Luckily, nobody behind him. And Jim Latiga, who was running so well in 4th place, is now out of this race. And Jeff Doer is in complete control, because we've just found out that while we were looking at the replay, Steve Kelly has broken down. So Greg Gerlach has now moved into 2nd place, and this creates an interesting scenario in the points championship. If the race were to end right now, we would have a tie for the points lead, and guess who it would be? It would be Jeff Doer and Greg Gerlach. Jack Flannery would move all the way to 3rd.
This is where it pays off. You just continue to finish and finish, Marty.
There's Gerald Foster in 3rd, and he has got a tire going down on the right rear.
Yes, he does, Marty. That's really tough to get around those corners with a flat tire, I tell you.
Now this is the battle for 6th. That is Roy Stack, Scott Smith, and Mark Seiler. These guys got a great race going on back there as they make their way around the course. That is Roy Stack in his Ford, trying to hold on. Final lap. The white flag is out for this man, Jeff Doer. And he is on the verge of making his own history, snapping Jack Flannery's 7-race winning streak here on ESPN.
That's got to be a great feeling. You know, he's raced so many times with Jack, and Jack keeps beating him, and now he said, by golly, I'm going to get to the finish line first.
Yeah, it'd be sort of like somebody beating you in the desert right now.
I wouldn't like it.
Yes, Ivan doing very well in the Score Off-Road Desert Series, winning, what, 3 in a row?
3 in a row, Marty.
Well, right now, Jeff Doer's making it 1 in a row. He's taken the first step as he takes the Class 4 championship here at the Chevrolet Spring Run in Crandon, Wisconsin. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner. I bet you will be able to see the smile all the way to Green Bay. Back at the Chevrolet Spring Run and taking a look at the final results, it's almost one of those cases where it's not who you see on the board, it's who you do not see. Jack Flannery does not score any points, and it will affect the championship. Let's go to Victory Lane.
Well, Jeff, you didn't have a fantastic race up at Lake Geneva, but I tell you what, you put it on him here.
Yeah, this is a good run for us. We're real happy with it. The trouble at Lake Geneva was real unusual, but that's what happens.
We talk about tire selection, and we talk about tire grooving. The start of the race is so critical. You didn't get a great start even, but it came back to you.
Yeah, you know, it's so busy on the start of this thing, but you got to be a little bit careful going into the turns, you can see, and I said, well, we'll weed them out. You know, maybe there's a truck up there I can pass one at a time and keep going through them. And the power we get out of this SBO motor, you know, I pulled them through at the end.
Take a look at the True Value Pro Series Championship. A new leader, co-leaders in fact, Jeff Doer and Greg Gerlach with their first and second place finish are now tied, and they lead Jack Flannery by 2 points. So it is really coming down to a showdown with 3 races remaining on the series schedule. And here we are back at the starting line as Class 7S is getting ready for racing action here at Crandon, Wisconsin. Let's take a look now at the Class 7S True Value Pro Series standings. At Jeff Kincaid with a 10-point lead over Art Schmidt Tom Hockers and Jimmy Crowder are tied for third. You can see the rest of the top 10. This is going to be a very important race for everyone to try and catch Jeff Kincaid. And wait a minute, that is Jeff Kincaid's Ford, and the hood is off. And let's see if Rick Johnson, he's down there, if he can get word with Jeff.
Jeff, a little trouble getting the car started. What seems to be the trouble?
The ignition, I think the ignition's giving up on it. I don't know for sure, though. We're checking it.
Oh, this has got to be so frustrating. Here's what 7S is all about.
Oh, that really is, Marty. Two-wheel drive, production mini truck or mid-side truck, 4 cylinders, maximum 2.5 liters. These trucks make about 200 horsepower.
And we'll see if Jeff Kincaid can make the Chevrolet starting field. This would be devastating. If he doesn't, he would not score any points. Art Schmidt in his Nissan will also be out there. Tom Hockers, those guys, yeah, he's got a smile on his face, especially if Kincaid doesn't start. Jimmy Crowder, he'll be in one of the Fords, the number 747, all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. John Greaves, his story this year, he either wins or he breaks, and he's been pretty good at winning. Scott Taylor in the 700, that's the BF Goodrich Ford. Here is the rest of the starting field on down through the pack, and we're still waiting to see if Kincaid can make this start.
Marty, that just worries you to death. I'll tell you what, even if the truck runs now he's going to be worrying the whole race, is it going to let me down again?
So there is the starting field stretched out in its entirety. Here we are on board with the Nissan of Art Schmidt, and it does not look like Jeff Kincaid is going to make the start of this race. That is him pulling off way in the middle of your screen.
Oh, Marty, that is an absolute shame to have that happen to you.
Now the question will be, who will seize the moment? It happened in Class 4. Jack Flannery not scoring any points and losing his points lead, and Art Schmidt takes the early lead.
Marty, remember, these guys don't have quite the horsepower, so they've got to find that hard ground. They've got to stay down there, get that truck right down on the ground, and really, really look for that good hard passage. So Johnny Greaves got the lead right here.
The Toyota John Greaves. Look at the rock kick up onto the hood of Art Schmidt in his Nissan. Down the straightaway that heads towards the gravel pit. Boy, listen to those rocks.
They are. This track is noted for that. A lot of people don't know that, but these rocks are big here. They hurt when they hit you. You can hear them hitting the car.
Through the gravel pit turn, back up onto the big jump that leads back to the finish line area. They do not catch quite as much air as the big Class 8s and Class 4s, but still plenty of close, exciting racing action.
And that's why it's so important. You see how Johnny gets that car through the corner just as efficient as he can. He's so good at that, throwing the car around and getting them through the corner just as quick and efficient as he possibly can with that small amount of horsepower.
Boy, John Greaves won at Lake Geneva, came back with a DNF at Antigo, and now finds himself in that position of everybody wondering, will he win or will he break?
That's exactly right, Marty. He's always been fast, always in the front of the pack until something happens.
Well, last year was just a total disaster for him, and he came out of the box firing at Lake Geneva, and then he had an overheating problem at Antigo when there was a lot of mud kicked up into his radiator. Now, back in third, there you see Mike Burke and Jimmy Crowder. They are battling for position, and then Billy Beck is in fifth. Scott Taylor is in sixth. And talk about dismal years in Class 7S. Defending champion Scott Taylor is basically out of the running for the championship after 2 races.
That's really unusual for Scott. He has a tremendous amount of experience and understands these tracks, and he's just falling back here.
Little dust kicked up. There is the battle for third. That's Crowder on the right, and he is going to take the position. Jimmy Crowder is now in third place around Mike Burke.
It's interesting. All the guys in Class 7 have gone to the left of the track back there in that Oklahoma Land Rush start area. That must be a little bit harder ground, what they're looking for.
Boy, take a look at it. There's Crowder and Burke just coming into view, and then behind them, the battle continues when there's Scott Taylor.
Yeah,
so Taylor's just not been able to get that Ford this year for some reason to the front.
He hasn't. I'm not sure exactly what his problem is. He gets back in the back of the pack, and once you get hung up back here, it's really hard to get by these guys, Marty. He's just not getting good starts.
So as they head down into the gravel pit turn, look at how damp it is in that corner. Little water there, and boy, with two-wheel drive, it can have havoc as you get through. In fact, there on the outside, that looked like Billy Beck as he gets passed by Scott Taylor.
Scott's got a little bit of smoke, too. He may not be making the horsepower we've been used to seeing out of that truck, too, Marty.
Back on board with Art Schmidt as he tries to reel in race leader John Greaves. And here's a battle for fourth position. That is Mike Burks being pressured by Scott Taylor.
And he's getting pinched off again. Now he's going to get underneath him. This is why I say it's really hard to get by. But he bangs him a little bit and goes on by.
Yeah, just a gentle nudge saying, Mike, I'm here and I'm going by. So Scott Taylor controls 4th place. This could be his best run of the season so far. John Greaves, Art Schmidt, and Jimmy Crowder, your top 3 at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Stay with us. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson is in pit lane. There is your leader, the second vehicle in your shot. That is John Greaves in his Toyota, about to put Brendan Gaughan a lap down.
Brendan Gaughan from Las Vegas, Nevada, has tremendous amount of desert experience, but he just hasn't got a lot of experience here on the short course, Marty.
There's Art Schmidt. Brendan has had some pit time, and there he is going a lap down now as he gives way to the race leader. And that's a nice gesture.
That was a nice gesture. It really was to do that. Didn't have to do that, but he did move out of the way. That was great.
And there is second place. So now you get a gap of about, a dozen truck lengths. So it looks like John Greaves is taking command of this race. Now on board, as Brendan Gaughan again is about to be passed as we head down into the final turn. You're on board the Nissan of Art Schmidt. Can't do it there. He can't dive under him. He shouldn't get him here on the straight.
Brendan pulled over for him there. Art's going to go down this left-hand lane to see he should be able to get by Brendan.
Just sit back and ride.
Marty's really interesting to watch attack and listen to the engine and the tires as they hit the ground. It really, really jerks the suspension.
Down through turn 1, Art Schmidt trying to reel in the leader. Here is Scott Taylor trying to reel in Jimmy Crowder for 3rd place. So Taylor making his best run of the year in Class 7S action. And he looks like he's going for it.
He's serious, Marty. You know, Jimmy Crowder's a tough guy to get by.
This is the battle for 3rd. They head down. That is a very steep drop-off there into that dip. And then you have to have the horsepower to climb back up the hill. Here is race leader John Greaves. And the white flag is out. He has 1 lap remaining. So it looks like the feast or famine fortunes of Johnny Greaves are going to continue here as he wins the first race, DNFs the second, and is on the verge. Oh, no. And Scott Taylor is in the pits. Let's go to pit lane and Rick Johnson.
Scott, what happened? You're in early.
I don't know. Something let go in the back straightaway. Oil light come on, or something went bang, and the oil light came on, and that's where we're at. We don't know what it is. Oil pressure was good. Temperatures were getting up a little high, and I don't know. We might have punched a radiator. I don't know what's wrong. Something happened.
So Scott Taylor has had the same misfortunes this year that John Greaves had last year.
Once you get that black cloud hanging over you, Marty, it's tough to get rid of it. That's what Scott's got, that little black cloud on him.
Well, here is the Feast and Famine kid, and it looks like it's going to be feast for the second time in 3 races as Johnny Greaves is going to take the checkered flag to win here in the Class 7S Championship of the Chevrolet Spring Run here in Crandon, Wisconsin. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our race winner, and we'll update the point standings in the True Value Pro Points Series. Don't go away.
These tires are really working out here, and you know, and the Toyota's best truck in the market right now, and we're going to show them that. But, you know, I ran into a lot of flaws last year, and we spent a lot of time over the winter, and we got it dialed, so I'm looking forward to a good season.
I was a little bit surprised, and I don't know if you were surprised, that Art Schmidt was so strong off the start. Plus, he held with you pretty well. I was really, really kind of amazed, but it's only his 3rd race in Class 7, that he was as strong as he was.
Yeah, he is strong. You know, Art's been a good driver in everything he's been in, and he's got a hell of a good truck under him, and I knew he was going to be a contender, and he was, and I would have liked to put more time between us, but I couldn't do it.
Taking a look at the True Value Pro Points Series Championship, Jeff Kincaid drops to 4th, but look at this. Art Schmidt leads John Greaves by 2. Jimmy Crowder's in 3rd with 37. And there you get a glimpse at the remainder of the top 10. Brendan Gaughan slips from 5th down to a tie for 8th. Now, we showed you earlier on the onboard camera systems just how much mud and stones get thrown up into the driver's faces. Well, Ivan took some time earlier to go behind the scenes and take a look at how these guys protect their vision. Ivan?
One of the biggest problems these guys have on these short tracks is visibility, being able to see. Traveling 80, 90 miles an hour, rocks, mud being thrown up in their face. Remember, there's no windshield, and the trucks are literally feet in front of them. Let me show you some of the top drivers use. This is Scotty Taylor's helmet. Scotty uses just a closed-face helmet, takes a rag with him, and just wipes this shield off as it gets dirty. This is Johnny Greaves' helmet. Johnny uses what we call tear-offs. These little sheets right here, when they get filled up with mud, he just pulls it away and goes to the next one. The latest technology, Jeff Doerr's helmet here, they use what they call a clear ray. It's a little electric motor on this side that reels these clear sheets across his helmet, across his face. When it fills up, he just hits this button. Clean shield. I think if I were racing out here, this would be the helmet I would choose.
Wait a minute. He's the Iron Man. You don't use any helmet.
No, give me the sunglasses. All I need.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, here we go. We're getting ready for the Manufacturer's Production Challenge, and there are some trucks that aren't going to make it. Let's go to Rick Johnson.
A lot of interesting things have happened. Walker Evans blew a transmission. They've changed it. He's ready to roll. Scott Taylor blew a head gasket 2 laps from the end of Class 8. They've changed the complete motor. He's ready to race as well. Jack Flannery had some ignition problems. He had to drop out of Class 4. They've changed that, done some fine-tuning on the fuel injection. He's ready to race. Kevin Probst, on the other hand, blew a motor. He doesn't have a spare. He's not going to make that Manufacturer's Challenge.
Rick, thanks for the update. This is what the Manufacturer's Challenge is all about. Production pickup, 2- or 4-wheel drive. Must conform to the class rules and must have competed in a class race.
So as we get ready for the Chevrolet starting field, the big happy smile on Jeff Dorr. He won in Class 4. Scott Taylor will be back behind the wheel of his Ford in the number 800. And Jack Flannery looking to avenge his loss in Class 4 in front of his hometown audience. Scott Douglas in the Dodge. He'll be in the 807. Also in the field, Jerry Bundy in the number 316, as well as Walker Evans, looking to come back to avenge what was a disappointing finish for him in Class 8 action.
Well, Marty, as we look at the rest of the field, this has always been the big race, the Manufacturer's Challenge, 2-wheel drive versus 4-wheel drive. If it's a dry track, the 2-wheel drive is going to have the advantage. 19 trucks in this field. The guy that gets down to that first corner first, especially in 2-wheel drive, is going to have an advantage.
Well, we're ready for the start of this race, and you said it, 19 vehicles. Turn 1 doesn't have enough room for all 19.
No, it doesn't, Marty. They're off.
Green flag flies, and we are underway here in the Manufacturer's Production Challenge in Crandon, Wisconsin. Sit back. We'll hold on with you. Far so good. Can everybody make it through? It looks like we're going to survive turn 1.
Boy, I tell you what, that's amazing to get all those trucks through there in that corner, believe me.
Jack Flannery has the lead. Second place is Walker Evans, and it looks like son Jamie Flannery is in third. Now you're on board with Scott Taylor, and Scott did not get a good start.
He did not again. Jamie did get a very good start. I was really surprised with that.
Taylor well back in the pack as he is about 13th at this point.
Boy, as you can see now, the problem that Scott Taylor's going to have is the mud, the dirt, everybody's in his way, so you just got to get a start here at this track.
There goes Flannery, father, then Walker Evans, son Jamie. There is the 413 of Steve Kelly, then Jeff Dorr, and then Scott Douglas. So there you see the top 6, and boy, I'll tell you, Jack has got that thing fixed, and it's running.
He does. That's 4-wheel drive, and I tell you what, he does know how to get around this racetrack.
On board with Walker Evans, you're looking back at third place out the back of his Dodge. So Jamie Flannery is closing on Walker a little bit.
Jamie's doing a good job. You know, he's a young driver. He's aggressive. He's really, really, really doing well.
Look at the rooster tail of dirt thrown up by Walker Evans on that fast straightaway. Now you're on board out the front of Jack Flannery Chevrolet down that long front straightaway. Let's go along for the ride.
Oh, Marty, he's got a miss. Can you hear it?
Does sound like it's not as sweet a song. Oh, and Scott Douglas is spun back at the entry to the front straightaway.
I couldn't see what happened, if somebody bumped him or he got sideways. I couldn't tell exactly what happened there.
There's the battle for fourth place, Steve Kelly and Jeff Dorr. They went at it in the Class 4 race. They're going after each other again. Down through turn 2. Kelly looks a little high, but he manages to close down.
Kelly keeps missing the line there. Jeff Dorr knows that he's got to get underneath him.
On that drop-off there into the straightaway that leads you down into the gravel pit. And it looks like Kelly gets on the brakes a little bit earlier.
He is. He's braking early, and like I say, Jeff Dorr's been around this track some. Here he's going to just get underneath him. Hopefully he's not going to get by him.
So Kelly over the jump, followed closely by Dorr. This is a great battle for fourth place on the racetrack around what will be the final turn and the finish line area. And Steve Kelly controls fourth place for another lap.
Really frustrating back where Jeff's at now because these rocks, these 4-wheel drive cars that Steve Kelly drives is throwing a tremendous amount of rocks out.
This is the battle. There is Scott Douglas. He's in 8th place trying to track down Mark Seidler, and he is in 7th. And Seidler doing a good job so far. On board with Scott Taylor.
Oh, we got somebody really smoking.
I can't tell who it is from that. That looks like Dave Hawkers. Hocker's right in front of Scott Taylor, and he can't get around him. Oh, and Scott Taylor is up in smoke.
Well, I tell you what, that black cloud, just he cannot get rid of it.
Scott Taylor did so well in the Class 8 race, is now out of this race here in the Manufacturers Production Challenge at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Stay with it. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson is pit side. Let's get an interval between our leader, Jack Flannery, here in the Manufacturers Production Challenge. That is lap traffic, the second vehicle coming through the screen. There is second place Walker Evans, and the gap is now 7.45 seconds. And with only a few laps remaining, that is a lot of ground. There's Jamie Flannery and Jeff Dorr. Dorr, during the commercial break, got around Steve Kelly and is now knocking on the door for third.
I wouldn't doubt that Jeff Dorr is the quickest man on the track. It looks to me like Marty. He's really running.
So he has got third place in mind and Jamie Flannery in his sights. Flannery a little high there as they come off that drop-off onto the straightaway to the gravel pit.
That's the difference in the two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive. Jeff Dorr in the four-wheel drive, Jamie in the two-wheel drive.
Oh,
he's out in the loose. You can't do that.
Boy, you get out in that loose marbly area on the cushion and you are in trouble, and he is in big trouble.
Especially with two-wheel drive. You can afford to do that with a four-wheel drive.
Now, the one advantage is if he can stick his nose in here, he can get the inside line and he can hold onto the corner. But Dorr is going to do it on the outside, but he's now out in the loose marbles, and it's going to be a drag race, and the winner's going to be Jeff Dorr.
That's that four-wheel drive. Just pulls in the loose or the hard. That's a good thing about him.
Final lap. Let's get the interval one more time. Lap traffic again between Jack Flannery and Walker Evans. He's got it down to 4.51, but I don't think he's got enough time.
I don't think he's got enough time, Marty. He's going to have to go a lot quicker than that to get him in this race.
Jack Flannery with only 2 more turns to negotiate. Dave Hockers is there in second, or in the second position. He's actually lapped traffic. Walker Evans is going to have a difficult time getting around him.
And you can bet that Jack Flannery's keeping an eye on Walker. He's not, he's not going to let that happen, I don't believe, Marty.
Flannery over the final jump, into the final turn, not gassing it all that hard. He knows he's got the race won. Jack Flannery avenges his loss in Class 4 by winning the Manufacturers Production Challenge here at Crandon, Wisconsin, before his hometown fans at the Chevrolet Spring Run. Stay with us. We'll talk to our winner after this. Run. No points are involved here. This is solely for bragging rights, and the rights go to Jack Flannery as he outlasts Walker Evans. Ivan Stewart's in victory lane with our winner. Ivan, it's all yours.
Well, Jack Flannery, I'll tell you that there always was the big bet, can the Class 4 beat a Class 8 on a dry track? And by golly, I think the day has come of age that Class 4 has made their mark. What do you think?
I think it really has, Ivan. There was a dry track here. In fact, it was a little bit too tight for me. My tires was hooking a little bit more than I really wanted to. I was expecting a little bit wetter track in that, but I got to agree with you. You know, these four-wheel drives we got here in the S.O.D.A series, they're just some of the fastest short course trucks I believe in the world, and I think it's just showing up. When you beat Walker Evans, I think you beat just as big as man as that there is in off-road racing. I'll be honest with you, my truck wasn't running just quite right, and my motor was running a little bit warm. But yeah, well, we watch each other like a hawk. We know where each other's at almost every turn.
Well, congratulations to all our winners here today in round number 3 of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing, the Chevrolet Spring Run. We'll be with you again from Luxembourg. That'll be round number 4 in the series, the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, where the True Value Pro Series Championship will be battled once more. Mobile facilities for the ESPN crew are provided by Van Boxtel RV in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Accommodations for the ESPN crew are provided by Cheney's Country Club and Motel. Cheney's is located in Leona, Wisconsin.
Marty, it's really going to be interesting in that we know Crandon's the longest and fastest. Luxembourg's going to be the tightest and the twistiest.
So be with us when we go off-road racing next time on ESPN Speed World. For Rick Johnson in the pits, my partner Ivan Stewart in the booth, I'm Marty Reed. We hope you've enjoyed today's 3rd round of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. We'll see you next time on ESPN Speed World. In Class 7S. 3 races, 3 different points leaders. But Art Schmidt is the leader now, and he has yet to win a race. But strong finishes tell it all. 6 points separate these 4 drivers, John Grease, Jimmy Crowder, and Jeff Kincaid, along with Art Schmidt. We'll figure it out today as the tires fly in round number 4 at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage today, is in Luxembourg, Wisconsin for round number 4 of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. It's the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and whoever would have thought that such a plentiful commodity as dirt would become such a plentiful racing resource? Well, it certainly has in the sport of off-road racing. And right now, if you take a look at the championship battle in our True Value Pro Points series, you will see the closest race that we've ever had in all 3 professional categories. In Class 4, Jack Flannery's name is the one that jumps out. For the first time in the 2-year history of the True Value Pro Series, he is not atop the leaderboard. Jeff Dorr and Greg Gerlach share the honors heading into round 4. In Class 8, Walker Evans by 2 points over Scott Taylor, but Scott Douglas and Dave Hawkers still in the hunt. Brian Dunleavy's going to have to win today if he wants a shot at the championship. Same goes for Al Walentowski. With only 26 points, he must win, as Art Schmidt, John Greaves, Jimmy Crowder, and Jeff Kincaid are the ones to beat in Class 7S. With more on what's going to happen with today's racing action, let's go to my partner, Ivan Stewart.
The big story in Class 4 is the fact that Jack Flannery is not leading the points championship. We have a virtual tie between Jeff Dorr and Greg Gerlach, and the big story is going to be how in the world are you guys going to keep this lead? Jeff, how are you going to keep these guys behind you?
Well, today we got some pretty bad starting positions. Greg and I are alongside of each other. We possibly could be trading some paint today, but we're both going to work real hard to get out in front immediately. And I think Jack starts behind us today, too. So we've got a good race starting today.
Well, that'll help a little bit. Greg, how about you? Have you got any secrets you're going to tell these guys about, or how in the world are you going to keep these guys behind you?
Well, if it's effort, we'll win the race. But I don't know. I'll probably make the truck as wide as I can if I can get Jeff out of the way.
That's the story in Class 4. Let's go to Rick Johnson for the story in Class 7S.
An exciting battle in Class 7. We've had 2 different winners, but the man who's leading the points hasn't won a race yet. Art Schmidt, you're leading the points. The best finish to 2nd place, but you're still running very strong.
Well, this is our first year running a Nissan truck, and we're trying to stay consistent. That's what's put us in the first place lead right now. Now that we're there, we're going to try to stay there.
Are you going to try to go for that win? Because I know it's a psychological battle of breaking through that barrier of winning your first race, and you've done it a lot of times in buggies, but is that your goal now, or are you still focusing on the championship?
Well, really, we're trying, really now we're going to start pushing the truck hard. We're really looking for our first place win maybe this weekend.
Taking a look at the race conditions, we have definitely got a chance of rain. In fact, it is already starting to rain, and the chances of it getting harder are about 100%, according to the weatherman. Let's take a look at the Luxemberg layout, Ivan.
Well, Marty, this starts off on the Kewanee Fairgrounds Oval. Good start, real tight first left-hand corner, back around, back in this tight section on the right-hand side of the course. It's going to be tight back there, really hard to pass. The passing is going to be back in this long sweeper back on the backside.
So you can see the rain already coming down and starting to take what was a damp track and turning it into a bit of a soup as we're getting ready for Class 4. Now, we've already seen the top 5 in the True Value Pro Series in Class 4, and we've already talked about Scott Smith and Jeff St. Peter basically needing to win today to get back into the fight. Same can be said for Kevin Probst as we show you 6 through 10. He and Gerald Foster and Mark Seidler still have an outside shot, but they must win today. On board now with Jack Flannery, and Jack, for the first time, has had a reliability factor. He thinks he's got the problem solved.
We've had a few problems here in the last couple races with motors and setbacks, but you can bet one thing, Jack Flannery's going to be back with this big Chevy. We got it running good. We always have. We just had a couple setbacks, but we're going to be hard to beat in this point series here this year.
Marty, let's see what Class 4 is all about. They're 4-wheel drive production pickups. Engines, 600, 800 cubic inches. Make about 500, 850 horsepower. Weight, 8 pounds per cubic inch.
Let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting field. Greg Gerlach will be in the 402. Also, Jeff Dorr, he'll be one of the Ford contingent. He'll be driving number 400. Then Jack Flannery, leading Chevy Thunder. He'll be in number 435, looking to get back in the winner's circle. Another of the Chevrolet contingent, Kevin Probst. He'll be driving the 499. Steve Kelly, coming all the way from the West Coast Desert Series, making an impression here in the Dodge, number 413. Jeff St. Peter in 412, another of the Ford contingent. And Mark Seidler, he'll be in the number 414. He'll be also driving a Chevrolet. And there is the rest of the starting field as we're getting ready for action here at Luxembourg, round number 5 of the True Value Pro Series. All part of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. The green flag waves.
Marty, this is extremely clay type of soil. It's slicker than heck. It's really going to be hard to get around these corners. It's going to be interesting.
And if the rain continues, the traction will get even worse. And oh, we've got contact already into the first corner. That's Flannery getting into Steve Kelly. And look at on the outside there, that's Jeff Dorr trying a new line.
way on the outside. But it is slick, believe me. Look at Jack Flannery getting around this corner.
And this is four-wheel drive. Just think what it is going to be like when we get back to two-wheel drive. Here's the battle up front. Kevin Probst and Jack Flannery. Flannery going off the edge. These guys side by side. This is in that back section of the course that you were talking about. So difficult to pass through here.
Kevin is not going to give this up. He wants to beat Jack Flannery the worst way, believe me.
Well, for the first time, these guys see a chink in Jack's armor. You know, when he broke at Crandon, that was the first time that they said, hey, we've got a chance against this guy.
That's right. He was pretty much indestructible there. Has been for the last few races, actually.
So right now, you see Kevin Probst doing everything he can. And, boy, he's just given Jack Flannery an eyeful. And I guarantee you we are not going to get much out of the in-car cameras today. Now, that is Mark Seidler and Jeff Dorr. That's the battle for third. And there you see the rest of the field led by Gerald Foster and Steve Kelly.
All the horsepower in the world is just hard to get down to this kind of a track, Marty. It's so slick that these guys are lucky to get around the corners, much less get that horsepower down.
Back on the front straightaway as they begin lap number 2. Kevin Probst still doing a great job. Oh, Flannery tries to duck inside. He may have the position. He does.
He did. He got in tight.
Now, was that more under braking? Now, see, now this time he goes way wide, and Probst can't take advantage. But that pass, was that because of the way he broke into the corner or the traction coming out?
I think what happened, Kevin just got a little bit wide, went a little bit too wide, and Jack saw an opportunity. He took advantage of it.
Jeff Dorr trying the outside, not able to get around Mark Seidler. Seidler doing a good job here. Now, Dorr on the outside finally does make the pass work. Wheel spin going to play a key role in today's racing action, and just hope and pray that the rain holds off. And there is Steve Kelly getting around Greg Gerlach, but Kelly looks like he's got smoke coming off one of those tires, maybe having one go down. Now, let's recap the season up to this point, because we have just passed the halfway mark of the 1994 campaign. Don't worry, you won't miss any of the important action, but let's take you back as Kevin Probst leads Jack Flannery at Lake Geneva. Now we're on board as Flannery passes Probst, and from this point, he never looked back. Jack wins, making it 6 in a row on ESPN, dating back to the year before. Jack Flannery showing his dominance early. Then at Antigo, the rolling start, and Flannery roars to the lead, which he would never give up. The 402 of Greg Gerlach and newcomer 413 Steve Kelly battle it out for third place. The 499 of Kevin Probst had moved up to second, but he breaks, and the number 400 of Jeff Dorr passes both Gerlach and Kelly to move up to second place. But Flannery made it an easy 7 wins in a row on ESPN, as at Antigo, he went on to take the checkered flag and win. Then it was on to Crandon, where for the first time in a long time, Jack Flannery gets passed and ends up eating dirt as Ken Kincaid takes the lead. But he gives it back to Flannery, who then ends up braking for the first time that any of us could remember. Reliability became a factor. The 413 of Steve Kelly would then take the lead, but he has the 400 of Jeff Dorr to contend with. The 465 of Jim Latiga loses a tire. That would end his day. And Jeff Dorr would pass Steve Kelly. And Jeff Dorr would go on to win. So now you know how we got to this stage of the season, as we've recapped the first 3 rounds, and we're ready for the conclusion of this Class 4 race here at Luxembourg. And Kevin Probst has gotten past Jack Flannery once again.
It looks like Jack Flannery might be off the pace a little bit, Marty. He's slowing down.
So could it be 2 races in a row? We'll find out. Stay with us. We're at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge at Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you at Luxembourg for the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, and Jack Flannery is definitely slowing.
He's got a problem, Marty. There's no doubt about it. He's not putting the horsepower down like he was earlier.
Jeff Dorr is closing, and it looks like he's passing him. So, yes, he's definitely got a problem. Let's go to Rick Johnson. He has got an update on Steve Kelly's tire situation. Rick?
The reason Steve Kelly is able to keep driving on the track after that collision with Jack Flannery in the first turn, he's punctured his tire. Looks like the tire's going flat, but there's more to it than just a tire on this wheel. Inside the tire is the inner liner. Inside the inner liner is the inner tube. You take all of that and bolt the tire and the inner liner on the wheel with this bead lock, you have a lot stronger tire ready to race. You're able to go out there. If you puncture your tire, you can rely on the inner tube and the inner liner.
Back out on the racetrack, that is your race leader, Kevin Probst.
Kevin's still having teething problems with this truck. I still don't think he's putting the power down, and he's getting around this track as good as he'd like to.
Boy, take a look at Steve Kelly still smoking that tire as he is running on the inner liner, as Rick described for us. He's in a battle with Mark Seidler and Greg Gerlach, and that is for 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Jack Flannery is right in front. Whoa, and look what happens as Gerlach gets up on the berm.
That is really slick. There's no doubt about that. There's just areas that are really, really hard to get any kind of a direction of the truck going, Marty.
Flannery trying to hold on. Now, Steve Kelly diving under Seidler for 4th. And despite the tire problem, is able to take the position. So Kelly's now 4th. Oh, and Flannery all the way around.
Marty, I think he may have had some. He may have lost his front drive in that truck. Jack Flannery would not spin out like that typically with the front wheels pulling like they should be.
Boy, and doesn't that spell doom for the Class 8s that'll be coming up very shortly here at Luxembourg?
Especially if we get any more rain. This is extremely tough right now, and any more rain would really be disastrous.
So Kelly has moved up to 3rd. Seidler and Gerlach now are battling for 4th. And oh, Jack Flannery has pulled it over to the side of the race course.
I see oil underneath the truck or something, Marty. He's got a definitely gear train problem, I'd guess.
And Jeff Dorr is pulling into the pit lane. So 2nd place has pulled into the pits. Kevin Probst has taken a huge lead. Steve Kelly, despite the tire problem, is now in 2nd place. Mark Seidler will be 3rd. There is Greg Gerlach in 4th. And Gerlach getting wide. Is he pulling out as well? Gerlach pulling into pit lane. So our lead pack for the Pro Series Championship, all kinds of trouble.
Oh, major trouble, Marty. It's unreal that we're having this much trouble with this slick of a track. I guess the engines are getting hot. Steve Kelly's got a flat somehow, but it's really hard on this equipment.
So Kelly now running in 2nd place. Kevin Probst with the white flag out has one more lap to go to take the victory here and put himself back into contention for the True Value Pro Series Championship. We said he needed to win.
He did. There's no doubt about it. You can see the speeds are way down from what we're used to seeing, Marty. We're just not getting that horsepower down. This, not only is it wet, but it's the type of soil makes a big difference in this type of race. Whoa! Whoa,
and a spin there. All the way going around is Milan Mazanik as he comes over the jump and was not able to maintain control. Look at Steve Kelly. Oh, that tire is really going down.
You know, I don't think the smoke is coming from the tire. There's another problem Steve Kelly's got.
So he's trying to hold on to 2nd place. This would really help his points championship quest as well. But it's really going to help Kevin Probst. The fact that Jack Flannery, Jeff Dorr, and Greg Gerlach all out of this race and will be scoring only limited points. And there's the checker flag for Kevin Probst, the winner in Class 4 here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge at S.O.D.A, Luxemberg, Wisconsin. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner, and we'll pray that the rain holds off. To our co-point leaders, it's going to make a big change. Let's go to Ivan in victory lane.
Kevin, we talked about the amount of work that you've done on your truck, and you've done a new engine development program. Seems to be working extremely well. Really likes his mud.
Well, the new engine's really working well. You know, Chevy helped us out with it. We got a new small block 427 in there. The Goodyear tires just hooked up really well in this mud. You know, it's one of these tracks that you just have to deal with the elements, and hey, we came through with a victory today.
We talk about tire grooving. Did you do any special grooving to the tires?
Yeah, we cut them up a little bit different than normal, you know, because it's a little bit greasier out here than normal, but, you know, they hooked up real well. I was happy with the bite. The truck worked real well all the way through the whole race.
With this win, you know, this might put you back in the points race. You know, 2 more races to go. You never know what could happen. Are you going to go for the points?
Oh, definitely. We keep going for the wins. You know, the bottom line is win and get out there in front of the people and have a good time, and we're back on track now, I think.
Boy, you're absolutely right, Kevin. He jumps up to 3rd place in the True Value Pro Series. Greg Gerlach holds on to the lead by 3 over Jeff Dorr, and Jack Flannery slips into a tie for 4th spot. Would you have ever believed that going into this season? Gerald Foster, Scott Smith in a tie for 6th. Seidler, Steve Kelly, and Jeff Holker round out the top 10. And oh, the rain has come. I mean, it is here in buckets, and this is going to create major problems for everyone as it is pouring. Let's take a look at the standings here in the True Value Pro Series of 7S. Art Schmidt leads by 2 over John Greaves. Jimmy Crowder is in 3rd place, and Jeff Kincaid in 4th. Now, we had a chance to talk to John Greaves and Jimmy Crowder before the start of today's soggy race.
Well, this year is a whole new ball game for me. You know, I'm more hungry than anybody else out there, and I'm here to win. We had a bad season last year, and we went home and we did our homework. We got our bugs worked out, and we're coming back. We're taking no prisoners this year, you know. I really got a point to prove, and I got to start winning some races, and we're on the right track now.
Makes me feel good that I can take a Ford and run with those guys. They're one of the best, and we try as hard as we can try, and makes us feel a little bit better to if we can get up on them, then we're going to be after them today.
Marty, let's see what 7S is. Two-wheel drive, production mini or mid-size pickup. Engine has to be 4 cylinders, maximum 2.5 liters. Make about 200 horsepower.
And let's set the Chevrolet starting field for you. Here he is, the points leader coming into today's race. Art Schmidt, he'll be in the Nissan. Toyota will be represented by John Greaves. He has been on a mission. Jeff Kincaid, one of the Ford contingent. He'll be driving number 707. Jimmy Crowder, you saw that interview with the Southern Draw all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. And Al Walentowski, been one of the big surprises of the season. Been very consistent. He's running well. Brendan Gaughan, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. He'll be in one of the Jeeps in number 711. Tom Hocker's another member of the Ford contingent. He'll be in the number 705. The rest of the starting field, including Scott Taylor, last year's champion, it has been a dismal season. In fact, this rain would be indicative of the season that Scott Taylor has had in Class 7S.
That's exactly right, Marty. Look at here. This is going to be a driver's drive here, let me tell you.
This could be a matter of sheer survival. Remember, these are two-wheel drive vehicles, and this track is clay, it is slippery, and there we go already getting a lot of bumping and banging as these guys just have no opportunity to get much traction.
This is where a guy's got to completely change his driving style. He's got to get way ahead of the corner. He's going to have to flick the truck around, get that thing sideways 30, 40 yards before the corner if he's going to get around that track efficiently.
That's Kincaid you just saw falling well back of the pack. That is Scott Taylor, who has moved out to the lead.
And these two guys, first and second of the Masters of those, especially Johnny Greaves. Scott Taylor can also flick the truck around and get it around these corners. Let's see if he uses that style. He's going to have to get around here, I'm afraid.
So it is Taylor in front of Greaves. Art Schmidt, your points leader, in third. Jimmy Crowder running in fourth. And look at the rain coming down. This will, if this keeps up, Ivan, it's probably going to turn into a mud bog rather than an off-road race, and these guys won't enjoy that.
No, it's an extremely frustrating condition because you never know when you're going to turn a little bit too early, a little bit too late, the truck just slides out through the infield.
And there's only so much that you can do with tire grooving.
That's right. And remember, these trucks have got what we call a spool in the rear of the truck. They're two-wheel drive, but both wheels turn exactly the same. So there's no inside wheel turning slower than the outside wheel.
Take a look at what Art Schmidt is experiencing. Now, we have an automatic lens cleaner, and luckily it's still working. If you don't have it today, you are going to be eating a lot of money. Being out front is going to be the best benefit that any racer could enjoy.
Well, Marty, we talk about tires. Look at Art Schmidt, just got completely sideways.
Well, let's go down to pit lane because Rick Johnson has got an update on the tire situation. Rick?
As you can see, the rain is coming down hard. A lot of the drivers chose for a hard, slick, dry tire because the race before, it was completely dusty. Now, as you can see, the rain's falling down. A lot of the drivers got caught with the wrong tire.
And it looks like Rick Johnson got caught without an umbrella. Hang on, Rick. And while we were away, John Greaves has gotten around Scott Taylor to take the lead.
Well, I got to tell you, Marty, that anybody can adapt to these conditions, and the style of driving you need to have is John Greaves.
Well, you've been a big fan of his since the first time you saw him race. In fact, some of the people think you ought to be his agent. But it's not just John Greaves. There are a lot of great drivers out here. Jeff Kincaid's been one of them. He's had some misfortunes lately. There you see him in third place fighting his way back. And let's take a recap and show you how we got to this point of the season while these guys slogged through the mud. At Lake Geneva, it started bad for defending champ Scott Taylor as he rolls it right there, and it ends his day. The 727 of Art Schmidt in a truck that for the first time in his career made a very good impression as he would end up finishing third. And we talked about Jeff Kincaid. He would come home in second place in round number 1. And John Greaves comes back from his terrible 1993 to win the first race of the season and make a statement that he was going to be a factor. Now the Class 7S field headed to Antigo for round 2, and John Greaves' luck ran out as he had an overheating problem all day long. It would eventually put him on the sidelines, and he would be extremely frustrated, wondering if maybe the bad luck was coming back. 700, Scott Taylor never made it through turn 1 as he called it quits very early. Jeff Kincaid takes the lead from number 712, Al Walentowski, and he never looked back as he went on to take the win in round number 2. That means we move to Crandon, where Art Schmidt took the early lead, only to have John Greaves come right back and take it back from him as they headed in to turn number 2. Schmidt would end up finishing second in this race as John Greaves would pull out the lead. Scott Taylor battled his way up to 4th and challenged Jimmy Crowder for 3rd, but Taylor's bad year continued as he broke. Greaves went on to win his 2nd race of the season. And back at Luxemberg, John Greaves, you see him there. He's trying to make it 3 in 1994, and Scott Taylor is trying to turn around what has been a dismal year. Stay with us. It may be turning into a mud bog, but we'll keep racing at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Johnson at pit lane, and this is the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge in Luxembourg, and it's turning into a mud bog, and this is a shame for these drivers. And, oh, a spin there. That's Brendan Gaughan going all the way around.
Well, I tell you what, Brendan Gaughan is definitely not used to this kind of mud. He comes from Las Vegas. You need never see this.
Yeah, they're lucky to see 5 inches of rain in a year. I think we've got 5 inches in about 30 minutes.
That's right, Marty.
So now it's a matter of who is going to be able to survive to the finish line. John Greaves has a very good lead over Scott Taylor in 2nd. Jeff Kincaid struggling in 3rd. Everybody's struggling. It's not the driver's fault. There, you see just how slow you've got to come in, pitch it around, and then hope that you can power through.
And then you just hope it doesn't push to the outside. It's really, I've been in these conditions before, and really can be frustrating.
Well, if it rains much more, we may have to shut down racing for the day because the track can only hold so much, and the motors will only take so much.
That's right, Marty. It'll be a situation we'll have to start drowning motors, and actually getting stuck on the course could be disastrous.
Jeff Kincaid, as the white flag comes out, that's the best thing everyone is probably saying right now is, yes, let's just get this one over with. As there you see John Greaves on board. I don't know how this onboard camera system is still working, but Art Schmidt, whoa, and he's going all the way around. Almost gets tagged there, but manages to survive. And you can see that was a full grandstand when we started the day, and everybody's running for cover. Look at the lens of our cameras even fogging up now as the rain continues to pelt down here at Luxembourg.
Well, as you said, Marty, these guys are certainly looking for that checkered flag. They'd like to get this one over with and, gosh, go on to the next race.
And at the finish line, making the last corner, there is John Greaves, and the checkered flag comes out, and Greaves wins for the 3rd time in 1994 here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge in Luxembourg, Wisconsin. If he can get it stopped, we'll talk to him in victory lane. But first, we'll take a timeout to try and let him clean up a little bit. Stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be back after this. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, there are the final results. John Greaves, Scott Taylor, Jeff Kincaid with Faye Stetsny, and Jimmy Crowder rounding out the top 5. Let's go to victory lane with Ivan.
Well, Johnny Greaves, you made the statement early this year that you were going to run hard. You're coming out, you're getting serious, and you said, mark my word, you watch who's going to be the champion this year.
Yeah, you know, like I told him before, I said, I don't think there's anyone out here that's hungrier than I am for a couple wins, and I missed a lot last year, and I'm going to make up for it. And it's going to take a good truck and good driver to stay ahead of Johnny Greaves this year because we're doing our homework and we're working hard and we're winning races.
Well, I tell you, either wet, dry, muddy, sloppy, Johnny Greaves, you're doing a heck of a job. You know, you played the traffic. I watched you in traffic, and you got a few breaks, but you played it extremely well. And were you concerned about mud getting in the radiator? I thought you might get mud in the radiator in your eyes, and that was really going to become a problem for you.
Yeah, I was real concerned about my eyes because I used up all my tear-offs early in the race, and so, you know, I just kind of, I got around Scott, and I saved my last tear-off and kept lifting up the shield, and the traffic, boy, that was harder than the track, you know, just trying to get around them guys. And the BFGs, we are set up right for this race, and when I turned it, it went, and when I gassed it, it went forward. So between BFG and that Toyota and that fat motor, we're hooking up. We're gonna win this. We're gonna win this series.
Well, let's take a look at the True Value Pro Series Championship, and John Greaves widens his lead over Art Schmidt and Jeff Kincaid to 10. Jimmy Crowder still has a shot at 48, but Al Walentowski well back with 35. And there is the remainder of the top 10. Dunlap, Bowles, Taylor, Gaughan, and Michael Berg. So that's going to do it for Class 7S. They'll get cleaned up, and now we'll try and see what happens with Class 8 as they come to the line. And get ready, you're looking at Walker Evans, the living legend of off-road racing. He has a 2-point lead in the Class 8 True Value Pro Series over Scott Taylor. Scott Douglas in third with 39. Dave Hockers and Brian Dunleavy round out the top 5. Then John Conitzer, Jimmy Crowder, Jed Flannery, his brother Jamie Flannery, yes, they are the sons of Jack, and Chuck Brand round out the top 10. Now we've got 2 onboard camera systems. You're looking out the front view of Scott Taylor's Ford, and there is the Dodge of Scott Douglas, and I don't know how long they're going to last. Maybe if one of them stays up front. Tell us what Class 8's all about, Ivan.
2-wheel drive, Marty. Production pickup. Engine 600, 800 cubic inches. Again, 500 to 850 horsepower. Minimum weight of 3,700 pounds.
Let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting field. Points leader Walker Evans. He'll be in the Dodge, number 817. Scott Taylor. He'll be a leader of the Ford contingent in number 800. Scott Douglas, another of the Dodge. Not heavily factory-backed and doing very well in his first year in the series. Dave Hockers, another driver in the Ford contingent. He'll be in the number 802. Jed Flannery, part of the Chevrolet contingent at number 812. Then Jimmy Crowder back in a Ford with number 837. Rest of the starting field, Chuck Brand, Brian Dunleavy, and John Conitzer as we're just about ready to go racing. And this is very soupy. Now, the rain has stopped, at least momentarily, as the green flag flies, and you're on board with Scott Douglas.
Sound like he's putting some horsepower down, Marty.
Yeah, but what's going to happen in this first turn?
When he goes to turn, we'll see what happens.
Whoa, pushing bad. Listen to it trying to nurse it through. Whoa, and he's around. And look, now he's got a view of everybody else behind him. Now, this is a situation. Look at everybody just struggling. Scott Taylor's back there struggling as well.
Marty, remember now, these engines are moved back. The weight is moved off the engine. We talked about that, so you don't have that weight over those front tires. Much more difficult to turn now. These guys are really going to struggle.
So Brian Donlevy is the early leader. And boy, wouldn't this be a surprise if Brian could hold on and take this win, because Brian just doesn't have the budget that some of these other teams have.
No, he certainly doesn't. This is going to be thrilling for him to get out here and be ahead of Walker Evans and these guys and Scott Taylor.
Jed Flannery going by in second place. Here comes Scott Douglas diving underneath Chuck Brand, and he takes third position. Brand getting hung out there, as well as Jimmy Crowder, and there is Scott Taylor.
And Brian Donlevy spins, Jed Flannery second, and let me tell you, where is Walker Evans?
Yeah, well, Flannery gets past Donlevy, so now he's into the lead, and you're right, Walker is nowhere to be found. And while these guys slog their way through the mud, why don't we take you back and show you how we got to this point of the season after the first 3 rounds. At Lake Geneva, Scott Taylor, as we're on board, passes the number 837 of Jimmy Crowder for the lead, and he would keep it. Taylor comes up onto the front straightaway, showing how much horsepower he had in the first race of the season. That's the 817 of Walker Evans, a brand new truck, and he would debut it with a second-place run. Newcomer Scott Douglas would come up with a fine performance in his Dodge with a third-place finish. And the battle for fourth was a war between Dave Hockers and Jimmy Crowder. Crowder would hold on to fourth. Hockers would come home in fifth position at round number 1 at Lake Geneva. And Scott Taylor looked like he would make claim to a second straight Pro Series championship. But heading into Antigo, Scott Taylor would go up in smoke, literally. It would open the door for Scott Douglas and Jimmy Crowder. They would trade paint and a few body parts, and both would finish back in the pack. No one on this day would catch Walker Evans as he would lay claim to round number 2. That would move us to Crandon. The 812 of Jed Flannery. Watch what happens. He rolls it and keeps on driving. The 800 of Scott Taylor and the 817 of Walker Evans would battle all day. But Taylor would finally take the lead on this pass, and he would win, even though by the end of the race, he was smoking badly. Back at Luxemberg, that is Scott Douglas. Oh, and you saw Jed Flannery spinning, and Scott Douglas is your new leader in Class 8. Look at him shifting as he's trying to slog his way through the mud. The Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, Douglas is your leader. Stay with us. We'll finish this race right after this. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, and it has been a challenge for Scott Douglas. There you see him coming through the screen. Second place is Jed Flannery in his best run of the season. Could not catch who third was. That's how muddy it has become. That looks like Dave Hocker's in fourth.
Listen to the engine RPM come way up, Marty, and the trucks just are not moving.
That's Scott Taylor in fifth. And what has happened to points leader Walker Evans? Well, there he is. He's got all kinds of problems. He's about to be passed by John Connors. He slides off the course one more time. Let's go down to pit lane with Rick Johnson. He's talking to crew chief Randy Anderson.
It seems like a lot of the trucks out there having troubles. They're not making the turns. You guys set the trucks up with so much weight in the back so they'll fly proud, and now you don't have any traction on the front wheels to turn.
That's right. You have no traction on the front. They work good in the rough and fly good, but in the mud, they don't turn.
As you can see, it's not only Walker Evans' problem, but everybody else out there. They set the trucks up light in the front, and that's the worst setup you can have in the mud because you need traction to turn them front wheels.
Well, at least he found a rain slicker. Look at this. Scott Taylor is out of this race. This is going to hurt him in the Pro Points Series. And this is the battle between Dave Hockers and Jed Flannery. And Flannery has dropped back a position. Hockers has moved around. And Hockers has yet to win this season on the Tour, but consistent top 5 finishes has been his key to staying in the True Value Pro Series Championship.
Well, the same thing, Marty. This type of a course, this is a perfect example. Just keep moving, keep moving. This is something that can happen in off-road racing. It's certainly got a disastrous race course, but just keep getting battle through it and see what happens.
Yeah, there's some days that you just can't beat Mother Nature. Although right now we're on the final lap for Scott Douglas. This will be a big feather in his cap as he has been trying to impress everyone this season in his first year out on tour and has done an extremely good job.
Marty, I'll bet you that truck weighs 800 pounds more than when it started.
There is mud up under everything. Here's the checkered flag and the first win in the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing for Scott Douglas, all the way from California, as he takes the checkered flag. And, well, it's okay to spin now, Scott, as we'll see him in victory lane. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Checking the final results in Class 8 at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Scott Douglas with his first win ever on the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. And on down through the pack, you see Walker Evans finishes in 6th, Scott Taylor in 9th. Let's go down to victory lane. Ivan, it's all yours.
Well, Scott, you said that when you come out here to the Midwest to race in the S.O.D.A Series, you're bound and determined to win a race, and you finally got one. Frustrating one, but you got her.
That's right. It was. We got the win, and it was quite a race in this mud hole here. This is really Midwest racing, I guess.
You know, the mud is obviously a big factor. Why are the trucks having such a hard time turning?
Well, the two-wheel drives and they're locked rear ends, so it wants to go just like your tractor at home. It wants to go straight when you turn the wheels, and it's really hard for us. We got to throttle it around. As you saw, it was a bear all the way, and patience, I think, won the race, plus the crew lowered the truck, changed some tires right before when the rains hit, and I got to thank them a lot, too.
We talk about tires, tire grooving, the Goodyear tires. Did you choose the right tire? We know that we just see everybody slipping and sliding, but you seem to get around, toward the end, you started to get around pretty well.
Yeah, we like I said, Goodyear grooved up a special set of tires, a little bit bigger than what we normally run in the back, gave us a little bit more forward bite. We kind of have our own strategy in the front. With Goodyear, we have a different cut that we use than anybody else, and it really seemed to pay off because I think we made it around the turns a little bit better than everybody else.
Well, checking the True Value Pro Series, Scott Douglas has vaulted into the lead by 1 point over Walker Evans, by 6 over Scott Taylor and Dave Hockers, as we've got a great battle heading into round number 5. Checking positions 6 through 10, John Coniser with another steady performance. Jimmy Crowder in 7th, Jed Flannery, Chuck Brand, and Jamie Flannery. And this is what happens from time to time in off-road racing. You have to go back out and pick up your drive shaft and head back to pit lane. You know, getting your car set up right, or your truck in this case, is always a key in any form of racing. Ivan Stewart talks about suspension today.
This is Scott Taylor's big Ford Class 8 truck, and suspension technology has always been a big part of off-road racing. This particular truck has got 20 inches of wheel travel. A stock truck's got just about 6 inches of wheel travel. This shock absorber costs you just about $900. A stock shock costs you about $35. If you don't have this kind of technology, racing on a track out here with these caliber drivers, you're not going to be able to win races. You've got to have this type of technology.
Well, the technology of the weather, the rain came back, so Racing was held off in the Manufacturers Challenge until the following day, and that's Jeff St. Peter being pulled out of the line. The sun is out, the track is drying. Here's what the challenge is all about.
Two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. Production pickup must conform to the class rules and must have competed in a class race.
Now, this is for bragging rights only. There are no points at stake. Let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting field. Kevin Probst in the 499, one of the Chevy contingent. Scott Douglas, who won in Class 8, will be in the Dodge, number 807. Jack Flannery in his Chevrolet in the number 435. Has he solved his problem? Dave Hockers in the 802, one of the Ford contingent. As well, Steve Kelly in the 413. He's another member of the Dodge Army. And then Walker Evans in the 817, rounding out the three Dodges here in the championship. Scott Taylor will be in the Ford, number 800, part of the Rough Rider contingent. Jeff Dorr, number 400, also will be driving a Ford today. Rest of the starting field, as you look down the line, Rick Johnson has caught up with Jeff St. Peter, who was pushed out of the race. We'll find out why Jeff will not be able to make the starting grid.
Jeff, a tough break. What happened? We had the truck fired up. It seemed to be running real well, but it sounded like the starter was engaged in the flywheel yet, and everything just locked up, and the truck died, and we can't get it started.
So a tough break for Jeff St. Peter, and the green flag flies, and racing is underway in the Manufacturers Challenge.
Ooh, look at Jack Flannery. He got a good start on the left-hand side of the screen there, Marty.
On board with Scott Douglas. And as you can see, things have dried out quickly. It's amazing what sitting out the rest of the day will do. Whoa, contact with Dave Hockers as those two come together, and we've got an all kind of a jam up here into the first turn. What a difference a day makes. We've got dust now.
Holy mackerel, we sure do.
Difficult for any driver in that to be able to see. There is first, second, and third, Jeff Dorr, Kevin Probst, and third place is Jack Flannery. Oh, Flannery's got body parts flying all over the place.
He certainly got into several guys getting up there, I'll guarantee you.
And it is amazing how much faster these guys can go when they can get the power down to the ground instead of the mud. Jeff Dorr, your leader. Second place, Kevin Probst. Jack Flannery, third.
Interesting to note, dry track, first three trucks, four-wheel drive. Scott Taylor is running fourth right now, but let's see if he can pull up through the field. I think the four-wheel drives might have an advantage on this tight track, Marty.
Very tight and twisty through that section. Probst trying to close in, but boy, how much can he see with all that dust flying?
That makes it tough, let me tell you. You're always afraid that somebody's going to tip over in front of you.
There is Scott Taylor in fourth place. And then Dave Hockers, Kurt Leduc, Scott Douglas, and Walker Evans finds himself back in eighth. It has not been a very good weekend for Walker Evans.
No, this has been pretty much disastrous for Walker. He needs points too, Marty.
Now that's Hockers, Leduc, and Scott Douglas. And it is Leduc, a little contact with Hockers, pushes Hockers off course, and he takes over the position. And boy, he loses about 3 positions with that.
He did one little mistake on a dry track like this. These guys are good enough, they're going to come right by you. You just can't make those kind of mistakes with this caliber of drivers.
Well, I have a feeling, Ivan, that Mr. Hockers is going to blame that on Mr. Leduc more than his error, as we look at Jeff Dorr and Kevin Probst running first and second, and Jack Flannery as we go on board trying to reel in these two. He's got a good line there.
He does. Cut inside. Let's see if he can hold it. The big thing is to hold that tight line and to see if he can accelerate it straightaway.
There's contact between the two of them. So Probst and Flannery get together, and you can see some more damage on Jack Flannery's Chevrolet. Oh, and Probst goes all the way around as Flannery takes second place.
That's unusual for Kevin. I would guess that he's got another kind of a mechanical problem in that truck.
And that is Scott Taylor taking third. As you saw, Kevin Probst still trying to turn his Chevy around. Let's get another look at it, Ivan. Take us through it.
Yeah, it looks like Jack just got underneath him, but I'm going to guess that, see how sideways Kevin is? He's got some kind of a problem, I'd guess, Marty.
So the contact is heavy, but both able to continue. And now Jack Flannery has reeled in Jeff Dorr. So maybe he has solved those problems. He's got the body panel there, as that is Scott Douglas's Dodge trying to hold off Walker Evans.
And Walker comes right up beside him.
Boy, this is a great view. And he does. He holds off Walker Evans.
Anytime you've got that big Dodge and Walker Evans behind you, you've got problems. You better be doing some driving.
And Walker tries the other side, not able to make it stick, as Douglas able to hold on to the position.
There's about 25 years of off-road experience right there, Marty, that's all over the back of Scott Douglas.
Now that is the battle for, we think, 7th place at this point. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll take you to the conclusion of the Manufacturers Challenge at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge from Luxemberg, Wisconsin. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge, I'm Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. Rick Johnson is in pit lane, and this is the battle for the lead between Jeff Dorr and Jack Flannery. Whoa, Dorr going wide. Can Flannery duck under?
Well, again, he remembers that last move from earlier, and he tried it again with Jeff, and he can't make it work.
Now there is Scott Taylor. He is back in third place. That is lap traffic between he and the two leaders.
You can hear Scott trying to get the power down. Just can't get that power down. Four-wheel drives have got the advantage. There's no doubt about it, Marty.
Jeff Dorr holding on. Now this is the battle for seventh. That's Walker Evans just out the left side of Scott Douglas's Dodge. These are a pair of Dodges going after each other, and Walker Evans makes the pass, but can he hold on to the position? Little contact. Yep, there goes a fender.
Oh, great racing here, Marty.
These guys, they got plenty of body panels. It's a good thing because they are going after each other. Remember, this is just for bragging rights. There are no points involved, and they put on a great show for the fans, and this is a drag race down that straightaway. And again, Scott Douglas gets back around Walker Evans.
He is not going to be intimidated by Walker. That's great. I love to see it.
Look at the balance of these two trucks as they come barreling around. On board with Jack Flannery. That's Jeff Dorr now right in front of him. We've got two great battles going on. This one's for the lead. That is Hockers, Dave Hockers in front, and he is a lap down if these two get around.
This could play a big part in Jack getting around Jeff Dorr here. It looks like he's going to get around the outside, Marty.
And all of a sudden you see clear track, which would lead you to believe that you're absolutely right, Ivan. There is Jack Flannery in front of Jeff Dorr.
The old master uses the lap traffic to take advantage of Jeff Dorr there to work for it.
John Conitzer now a lap vehicle as Jack Flannery coming around John and making the pass, and Jeff Dorr as John moves over nicely, does the right thing to let those guys continue their race. And coming out of the mist of the dust is Scott Taylor. He's in third.
You can hear the engine rev up. This was real critical for a driver in two-wheel drive to barely mash that throttle down, get as much track as you can. Real frustrating.
Hard to come off those corners and get the power down when the track is getting so slick out there. We are on the white flag lap. So Jack Flannery, who had problems in Class 4, looks to be the man to beat here in the Manufacturers Challenge.
Look at all the body panels. I can't believe the amount of body panels that are torn up in this. This is an awful tight track, though, Marty. It's one of the reasons. It's just hard to get by each other.
Back to that battle with Scott Douglas and Walker Evans. Where is Scott? We're out back. Scott Douglas has gotten back around Walker Evans. You're looking out the back of Walker's Dodge. And are we going to see, yes, Scott Douglas goes wide and Walker ducks underneath. So these two still going after each other.
It looks like he blew it there. He got out wide. It's pretty hard to do. You get that far behind Walker Evans. Walker's got a clear field now. Really going to be tough to get it there for Scott Douglas.
Remember, this is a battle for position. Well back from the leaders as the two-wheel guys have just not had enough to work with against the four-wheel drive vehicles. And there is Jack Flannery as he continues to lead by about 5 truck lengths over Jeff Dorr.
Now he's lost about 300 pounds of weight, I believe, Mark, with all the body panels gone.
So that's an 1,100-pound weight loss since the Class 4 race when he had all that mud up underneath. But Jack Flannery, your winner, and whoa, look at the top of the screen. There is Scott Douglas. So Scott not going to make it to the finish line as he breaks just on the last lap. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Well, let's take a look at the final results here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. Behind Jack Flannery, Jeff Dorr, and Scott Taylor, Steve Kelly and Walker Evans rounded out the top 5. Then there is 6 through 10. Let's go down to victory lane. Ivans with our winner.
For Jack Flannery, I got to tell you, that's one of the best races, if not the best race I've ever seen in off-road racing. What a fantastic job.
Yeah, it truly was. It was, I worked my heart out for that one. And like I said there a second ago, I dedicated this one to my crew because they have literally changed this truck from motor all the way through the drivetrain, all the way back. And you can have the best tires in the world like Goodyear and the best trucks in the world like Chevrolet, but if you don't have a good crew, I just can't get in this winner's circle.
Did you get frustrated at all? You played Jeff Dorr, I thought, extremely well. You were patient. You waited for traffic, and you played him. Were you frustrated at all? Or did you ever start thinking about taking a chance maybe you shouldn't have?
Well, no, he was running a hard enough pace where I thought I was running about all I could. I figured one or the other would break, but that wasn't happening, and I was just trying to run him in the ground and maybe stir him up a little bit there in front of me, and I was just waiting for that right time, and when I seen him tucking behind that guy, I took my chance, went around wide, being a four-wheel drive, and I knew that one in front of him was an 8, and it worked out today. Maybe tomorrow it won't.
Well, it is amazing how much fun the sport of off-road racing can be when the sun comes out and you've got a dry track to race on it. You saw one of the great Manufacturer Challenge races of all time. Hotel accommodations for the ESPN crew provided by the Comfort Suites in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Mobile facilities for the ESPN crew are provided by Van Boxel RV, and they too are located in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, Marty, as you say, once we got a dry track, we had some fantastic racing. I'll tell you what, really looking forward to Lake Odessa coming up.
For Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us on this round of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. We'll see you next time that we go off-road racing on ESPN Speed World. The S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing has come down to one last race in the quest for the True Value Pro Series Championship. In Class 8, Walker Evans has won 18 championships in his legendary career, but none here in the S.O.D.A World Series. He has a 1-point lead over defending champion Scott Taylor and Scott Douglas. Will this be the year of Walker Evans? In Class 4, Greg Gerlach, winless, but a consistent top 5 finisher, can do what no other driver has done in a long time. Dethrone the Chevy Thunder of Jack Flannery, and he has a 5-point lead with 1 race to go. And in Class 7S, John Greaves, rebounding after a disastrous 1993, has won 4 out of 5 races this season. He holds a 14-point lead over Art Schmidt. Greaves must break, and Schmidt will have to win to claim the crown. It's been an exciting championship season, but there is no holding back. It all gets decided today, so hold on. The wild ride has come down to this one last race at Crandon, Wisconsin for the 25th anniversary of the Chevrolet World Championships. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, today is in Crandon, Wisconsin for the 25th running of the Chevrolet World Championships. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and over my shoulder you can see the capacity crowd beginning to file in as they're getting ready for a great day of racing as we celebrate the silver anniversary of this great event here in Crandon, Wisconsin. And boy, what a showdown we have in store for you. The True Value Pro Series Championship in all 3 categories will be decided today at this track, and Class 8 is going to be a classic battle. Walker Evans, Scott Douglas, and Scott Taylor are within 1 point of each other. Evans is the leader. Taylor and Douglas behind him by only 1 point. Our Ivan Stewart is with Walker Evans.
We have got a real battle in Class 8. I've got Walker Evans here. He's got a 1-point lead. You got 3 guys that can win this championship. You've never won here in the S.O.D.A Series. You've come close before, and I know you've won championships all over the country in Mexico. What are we going to do to win this championship?
Well, we're going to run hard. There's no doubt about it. I'm the closest to winning a championship, and I'm not going to let it get away. I've got to go out there and run fast, and I've got to put the pedal to the metal, and that Dodge is going to come through for me.
You've got 1-point lead. If I were in your position, I'd want that lead too. Even though it's 1 point, it really doesn't mean a lot because the winner's going to win the championship. But I want that psychological advantage. The other guys have got to know that you were the guy to beat. Is that the way you feel?
Oh, you bet it is. And that's just what I did this morning in practice. I went out and I passed every one of them, and I showed them who's got the dominating power. And that's what you got to do. It's a psychological thing too. And you bet I'm going to run that truck hard right to the finish line and secure that championship.
That's funny how Walker and I think exactly alike. We thought the same way for the last 20 years we've been running together. That's the story in Class 8. Let's go to Rick Johnson with Greg Gerlach in Class 4.
There's only 5 points separating Greg Gerlach and Jack Flannery. Greg's been consistent all year, but now it's a different story.
Now, there'll be no consistency out there today. We're going for the win. I've got to keep Jack either behind me or in sight at all times, so we're going for number 1.
Well, you heard it from the man. Greg Gerlach's not going to be consistent today. He's going for number 1.
All right, thanks, Rick. And let's take a quick look at Class 7S. Remember, there's only 20 points for a win, and you can see that John Greaves, with a 14-point lead, is in command in this division. Take a look at that crowd as we take a look also at the race conditions. 65 beautiful degrees, only a 20% chance of rain. This is absolutely ideal conditions.
Great racetrack we got to. This is the granddaddy, Marty, the big one. Oklahoma land race start. You've got to get that first corner first. 2-mile track, lots of speed. You better bring some horsepower.
Yes, and they've put up a fence around Parsons Pond because it was named after Dave Parsons after he took a swim several years ago. So we don't have to worry about anybody dropping into the pond. Now, there is Greg Gerlach on the line as we're getting ready for Class 4 action. Here is the True Value Pro Series Championship standings as we head into this race. It's really between Greg Gerlach and Jack Flannery. Jeff Dorr and Jeff St. Peter have an outside chance, but both Gerlach and Flannery must break. There is Jack Flannery. Thumbs up. He's confident.
And let me tell you, you know as well as I do, Greg Gerlach had better get a good start and have lots and lots of horsepower if he's going to beat this man right here.
Well, we talked to Jack Flannery and Jeff Dorr before the start of the race.
Trouble's one thing we don't need here today. It's not when the points race is this close, and we don't expect none. We're doing everything we can to prevent it. And I just think we're ready today, and I think we're going to be looking at a checkered flag here in Class 4.
I want to have good luck. Something's got to happen to Jack to finish way down there for me to be able to pull ahead of him. And then Greg's right in there, too. So kind of like they need to drop off a cliff, and I can get this thing taken care of.
Marty, let's see what Class 4 is all about. Obviously, four-wheel drive production pickup, 600 to 800 cubic inches. Make almost 850 horsepower, some of these trucks. Weight equals 8 pounds per cubic inch.
Chevrolet starting field. There's the man they've got to beat. Greg Gerlach hasn't won all season, but he's got a 5-point margin over Jack Flannery from Crandon, Wisconsin. This is his hometown. He knows this track better than anybody. Jeff Dorr in third place in a tie there. He'll be in one of the Fords alongside one of the Chevrolets of Kevin Probst. Probst from New Lenox, Illinois. Steve Kelly, all the way from Irvine, California, had a great second-place finish in Class 4 at our last stop. And Mark Seidler in the 414 in a Chevrolet as well. The rest of the starting field, as you take a look, and way back in the distance there is where the Land Rush start begins. And talk about this first turn.
Oh, let me tell you, and these guys have got to be in the neighborhood of 100 miles an hour, Marty, but the big motors, the fast guys, have got to be approaching somewhere in around 100 miles an hour into this first corner.
And the pedal will be all the way down through the corner. If you flat-foot it through the corner, you've got a chance. If you lift, you're going to be eating somebody's dust. Look at Jack Flannery, middle of the screen. He's trying for the outside line. Kevin Probst on the inside. Kevin looks like he may have the lead. Yes, he does. In fact, Flannery's going to slide to third.
And that's Kurt Leduc just ahead of Jack. That's unusual.
Kurt Leduc, who had a terrible crash into Scott Douglas in the Manufacturer's Challenge at our last stop at Lake Odessa, and is in second place right now in front of Jack Flannery. First place, but Kevin Probst gets a little high and manages to hit the berm.
Where's Greg Gerlach? I see him back. He must be back a little ways, about 8th or so, I think.
Yeah.
Marty. He was going to really come on hard. I think he may just need a little more motor.
Did not get a great start. In fact, there he is trying to work his way up 7th place as he is right now trying to figure out what he's going to have to do to try and stay with Jack Flannery. Oh, Flannery a little sideways.
He got a little sideways. A little slick. His first lap typically is a little slick here at Crandon.
Take a look as the mud is starting to fly already, and the only guy who's got the real advantage is sitting in first place because he's got the clear track. That's Kevin Probst. Second place, Kurt Leduc, and third place, Jack Flannery. Boy, I'll tell you, Leduc surprises me. He got a great start, and he's holding on.
You know, Kurt's got a lot of experience back here just recently, but he's from back in the Midwest, and he loves this form of racing.
Take a look at the leaderboard. That fourth name belongs to Steve Kelly. And, boy, you drop off there. It's about a 30-degree drop. Then you come straight up the hill, and then it's back onto a flat stretch towards the front straightaway.
And that's what makes this course so much fun. There is the elevation changes. You've got all these different elements to deal with. That's just fantastic off-road racing.
This is the longest course this series has, 2 miles in length. Everybody else somewhere between 1 mile and 2 miles. And looks like Flannery started to put some pressure on Kurt Leduc. Boy, I'll tell you what, Probst has taken a nice lead.
He really has. He's getting his truck working better and better and better. Every time we see him run here, he's getting stronger.
Heading for turn number 2. A little smoke coming out of Flannery's motor.
I noticed the same thing, Marty. He may have a little bit of a heating problem.
I'll tell you that, boy, Kurt Leduc is making Flannery work for every inch. And you can see the smoke from the outside as well. Flannery may be having an overheating problem. Here is Greg Gerlach. He is still in 7th place. That isn't going to do it unless something happens up front. He's got to move up.
He doesn't have radio communication, Marty, with his crew, and he doesn't know Jack Flannery's having a problem. No way he could have a...
Oh, no, a problem for Kevin Probst, our race leader. He is pulled off the course at the far end and is out of the race, and there is your new leader, Kurt Leduc. He has never led in S.O.D.A competition and now has a chance to play the role of spoiler. Jack Flannery is all over him.
He is really... I'll tell you what, Kurt Leduc is really going to have his handfuls if he stays ahead of this guy.
Oh, and he opened the door there. Flannery's got the inside line, and Flannery's got the lead.
Marty, I think that's a little bit of experience. He just left the door open. He went too wide, and Jack Flannery's been around this track enough to know this is where I got to get by him.
So Flannery takes advantage, now pulls out to about a 4-truck length lead as they head down into the gravel pit. So Flannery in quest of another championship here at the Chevrolet World Championships from Crandon, Wisconsin. Don't go away. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson is pit side, and this is the battle for the top spot. Jack Flannery leading. Kurt Ledoux, there's Ledoux and Steve Kelly battling it out for second place, and Jeff Dorr, who got a horrendous start, has tightened it up. He's in fourth.
Jack Flannery's pulled way out, but I see Steve Kelly is really starting to put pressure on.
Well, we've caught up with Kevin Probst, who has dropped out of the race after being the early leader. Let's go to Rick Johnson in the pits. Rick?
Stupid electrical connection came off of the starter and shut my whole ignition system down. It just shut off coming around the turn there. I don't have anything to do about it.
Well, after the 360-degree endo at Lake Odessa and now an electrical problem, 2 tough breaks for Kevin Probst. And speaking of tough, this truck's slowing down, and that's Jack Flannery.
It really is. I hear the engine RPM is really lugged down. He's got a major problem, Marty.
Question is, he still has the lead, but for how long? No longer. There goes Kurt Ledoux. There goes Jeff Dorr. Dorr must have gotten around Steve Kelly. Yes, Kelly's right there in third. So there is your new leader, Kurt Ledoux. Jeff Dorr right behind him, and Steve Kelly.
I tell you what, Kurt Ledoux had better be aware that he's got somebody behind him. He's going to let him pass. Same pace he let Jack Flannery pass.
Flannery climbs out of the Chevrolet, and disappointment as the championship quest is over. He will not successfully defend his crown from last year. And there is Jack Flannery, and looks like they're talking about perhaps a gas leak or something going on there. They're keeping everybody clear. Now here is Greg Gerlach in fourth place. With Flannery now out of this event, Gerlach can finish 10th and still win the championship. So Greg Gerlach can cruise from here on out, and he's in fourth place. Let's go down to Rick Johnson. He's caught up with a disappointed Jack Flannery.
Jack, I know this is tough, but what happened out there?
Well, we was having a good run. Everything was feeling smooth. I could hear rocks banging up underneath there all the time. I couldn't tell exactly what was going on, but I could start smelling gas real bad. Then all of a sudden I looked down at my truck to drop fuel pressure a little bit. I knew I was in trouble. Then gas just started running all over. It must be, you know, we're running 80 pounds of fuel pressure in there, and boy, if one of them lines break or come loose, it just sprays gas all over. But I had them covered today, but it just wasn't meant to be.
So it was a gas leak that we did see there. It wasn't water. That's why everybody was clearing out. We're on the white flag lap. Disappointment for Jack Flannery. But right now, it's going to be elation for Kurt Ledoux and Steve Kelly. Kelly has gotten past Jeff Dorr as they are heading into turn number 1. And Kelly has moved into second place. Dorr is in third. And remember, all that Greg Gerlach has to do is literally just keep cruising where he's at.
He's in a pretty comfortable position. Well, I'll tell you what, Kurt Ledoux has really got to be feeling ecstatic. He's doing a fine job here. Keep these guys behind him.
Especially after he came under some heavy fire after the last round at Lake Odessa when he T-boned Scott Douglas in the Manufacturer's Challenge. Oh, look at Jeff Dorr trying to put the move on the outside, and he really gets hung out to dry.
He tried to outbrake him. He got on that loose stuff.
So it means Steve Kelly maintains second place. We're heading for the final turn, and the checkered flag, it'll be Kurt Ledoux in front. Now that's lap traffic right there in front of Steve Kelly. Kelly gets underneath it. There's Jeff Dorr. So it's going to be a 1-2-3 finish. Kurt Ledoux, Steve Kelly, and then Jeff Dorr here at Crandon at the Chevrolet World Championships. And here comes Greg Gerlach. Gerlach is going to seize the championship with a 4th place finish. First time it's ever been done. Never winning a race all season long, but consistently finishing in the top 5 to claim the Class 4 crown. Consistency pays off for our new champion. Stay with us. We'll talk to the winners right after this. Back at the 25th anniversary of the Chevrolet World Championships, Kurt Ledoux, Steve Kelly, and Jeff Dorr, the top 3, and Greg Gerlach with a 4th place finish wins the championship as we see the rest of the top 10. Let's go down to victory lane. Ivan Stewart is caught up with Kurt Ledoux.
Well, first of all, Kurt Ledoux, congratulations all the way from California. I know you've done a lot of desert racing lately, but I didn't realize you were this tough in a short course.
Well, I won here about 8 years ago, and when I got off the plane yesterday, I never expected to meet the governor of Wisconsin here and win the Governor's Cup. Borg Warner gave me a great truck, and Chad Schluter gave me a great team to race with, and we were smart. We stayed back, and we knew we were pushing Jack because you just can't run that hard that long, and it was our day. I mean, you know, it's great to put forward and B.F. Goodrich back out front and make Flannery work a little harder.
Well, let's take a look at the final standings in the True Value Pro Series Championship. Greg Gerlach, 15 points better than Jeff Dorr. Jack Flannery and Steve Kelly tied for 3rd. Jeff St. Peter in the 5th spot. Then Mark Seidler, Scott Smith, Jeff Holker, Kevin Probst, and Gerald Foster tie for 9th. Let's go down to victory lane again, where Ivan has caught up with our new champion.
Well, Greg Gerlach, it's been a tough, long year. Come right down to the last race, but you are the points champion, Class 4 True Value champion. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. You don't know how long it's been since I've been on that winner's circle on that. And it's been a tough year, and it's been a hard year, and the competition is so great that I feel really just wonderful that I could score on top of these guys, because these guys are the best drivers in the world.
I know that you were back a ways, didn't get a fantastic start. What did you think? Did you happen to see Jack Flannery's truck sitting off the side? And if so, when you saw it, what did you think?
I saw it. I said, thank you, Jack. I'm sure he had nothing to do with it, but no, I saw it coming around. I was thinking, boy, I only got 2 laps, and something's got to happen here. I just lost it, and came around the corner down the pit straight here, and there it was. So I guess, you know, things go good and things go bad, and I've had my share of bad luck, and I'm afraid Jack had his this year. So
it worked out this time.
Yep.
Congratulations again, Greg.
Thank you.
Hell of a job. Good job.
Well, it's about time you gave him a trophy. He worked hard for it all year. Now, this is the parade that they held downtown. You got to remember, Crandon, Wisconsin is a community of 2,000 people, and they support this race. In fact, they have built it into their trademark, and they have done a great job over the 25 years, and this was their celebration, and this was my favorite, the Bedrock Mobile. I mean, look, what a great piece of work. We're getting ready now for race action. I'll tell you what, there's no smile on this guy's face. That's Walker Evans, and Class 8 is coming to the starting line, and he's ready. Yeah, look at him. He knows what's at stake. Let's take a look at the True Value Pro Series standings. There you see it. 1 point separates the top 3. Dave Hawkers has a mathematical chance, but the other 3 must break. Now, we had a chance to talk to Taylor, Douglas, and Hawkers before the start of the event.
There's going to be some chances taken today, and it's going to be a calculated risk, but you know, it's down to the wire. The pressure's on, bottom of the 9th, everybody's on, and I'm up to bat, you know, and I'm a point out. That big F-150 can do it, and we're going to go for it today.
It's come down to this one race, and it's winner take all. We don't have to take anything home. Doesn't matter what the vehicles come back like. Doesn't matter, you know, what goes on. We're going to run up front, run as hard as we can, and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, I'm hoping that the 3 guys that are ahead of me in the points, I'm going to walk away with them, and they're going to have a battle between the 3 of them, take each other out, and I'll just skate through to the winning circle.
Class 8, Marty, 2-wheel drive, production pickups. Engine makes about 850 horsepower. Minimum weight of 3,700 pounds.
And let's take a look now at the Chevrolet starting field. There he is, Walker Evans at age 55 from Riverside, California. Never won a championship in S.O.D.A. He may do it today. Scott Taylor, the defending champion here in Class 8. He is 1 point behind, as is Scott Douglas. And remember, he is driving with a broken leg. That's how much he wants it. Dave Hawkers, he has got a mathematical shot, but like we said, everybody else has got to break. Jamie Flannery could play the role of spoiler in that Chevrolet. Also, his brother Jed, same deal here. Jed had a real tough spring race, did a rollover, managed to keep the truck rolling, though, and did a fine job in that effort. Now, here's the rest of the starting field as we're ready. And look at those 3 trucks on the far right side. Everybody has a different strategy as the green flag flies, and we're ready for the Class 8 showdown.
Marty, the 3 trucks on the right, those guys have obviously seen something they like. They see that there's a harder ground or less bumps over there.
Well, we go into turn 1 flat foot, and it looks like Walker Evans may have the lead. And blow contact in the back of the pack. There's a spin. It looks like John Conitzer. Oh, and Brian Donlevy comes across, and that is Gary Garton, who rolls over and comes to a rest on his side. Hopefully everybody is okay. We'll get back to that in a second. Take a look now. It's Walker Evans in front. Second place is Jamie Flannery. Third place is Scott Douglas. Scott Taylor is 4th, and there is Dave Hawkers in 5th. Let's go back and take another look at this, Ivan.
I was trying to look at this, Marty. I think they just got together up there in the dust. Yeah, a little bit of contact. He gets sideways, comes right across the field, or just where you don't want to do it at those high speeds, and wham, he gets hit by...
Boy, Jimmy Crowder just barely made it through. Garton, the one who rolls.
It's Garton, that's right, who actually hit him, yes.
And everybody is okay, so that's the best news that we can pass along. There is race leader Walker Evans. Second place, Jamie Flannery. We talked about he might play the role of spoiler. Remember, this is his home track. And there's third place, Scott Douglas. Where is Scott Taylor? There he is. Woof, he's going to get on the horse quick.
He is going to have to if he's going to do anything in this race, Marty.
On board with Scott Taylor. Let's listen. Let's see if we can pick up something. He's having trouble getting the power down.
A little bit lazy there on the throttle. He might be having a problem.
So right now, Walker Evans who came into this race with a 1-point lead and the only championship that he has never won in his career. He has won in the Stadium Series. He has won in the Desert. 18 titles in all.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it takes determination to win championships, he's got it for this. He is really up for this championships. He wants it the worst way, Marty.
He has been focused all weekend. Jamie Flannery, I'll tell you what, remember our last race at Lake Odessa? He and Walker got into it side by side, and Walker got a little bit of the best of him, but he learned a lot, and it's paying off here. On board now with third place, Scott Douglas. Douglas has got to find a way to get around the 21-year-old youngster.
This is the motor rev up. This is down through the valley here. The truck gets light. The engine goes up in RPM.
Now we're looking back in fifth place. That's Dave Hockers and Jed Flannery. Flannery closing down and has Hockers under attack. And Hockers, as we said, the only way he can win the championship is if the first three break. And the odds against that are slim and, I hate to say it, none.
I'd say awfully slim at this point, Marty.
There is race leader Walker Evans, and he has got a very comfortable lead over second and third. Could he be pushing it too hard too soon?
Well, you know, sometimes I've seen Walker do this in the past, and he'll push it and push it and push it, even though he's got a big lead. And I'm not sure that's always wise, but I've always liked to do the same thing. I want these guys to know I can beat them. I got them right where I want them.
Well, will Walker Evans run everybody into the ground? We'll find out at the Chevrolet World Championships right after this. Chevrolet World Championships, Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. Rick Johnson is in pit lane, and there is your race leader. We're going to get an interval, see how big the lead is. Walker Evans in front of second place, Jamie Flannery. Oh, my goodness. This is a country mile.
And he'll do this every time. He'll have a big lead like this, and you watch, he'll just keep standing on the gas pedal.
That's 15 seconds. Then here's third place, Scott Douglas at 18 seconds, and Scott Taylor at 20 seconds plus. Now, going right back to what we were talking about as we're on board with Scott Taylor. He's closing down on third place. Is Walker Evans gambling now? Should he sort of back out and let it breathe a little?
Well, Walker and I have talked about this a lot in the past, and what happens, and I have done the same thing, a lot of drivers, you break that rhythm. You don't want to break that rhythm, get down and running too slow. You end up catching a rock or something or catching a berm. Keep that rhythm going.
Well, that is John Conitzer in front of Scott Taylor, and he's having trouble getting around him, and that's allowed Scott Douglas, there he is, Douglas off in the distance, to open up the margin between third and fourth. Now, this is the battle for fifth place. That is Jed Flannery. He has gotten around Dave Hockers, so Hockers has fallen back a position to sixth. Jed Flannery in front. That's a Chevy-Ford battle. Chevy in front of Ford at this point. Those guys going after each other. Hockers, again, an independent. Look, he's going to try and dive on the inside.
You can try and outbreak him.
He does not have. Look at it. He's got that left front locked up. It's flying off the ground. Nice pass by Dave Hockers.
That was a great move. The truck wallowed off to one side. He didn't get all the brakes on the ground. Then all the tires were off the ground.
Neither one of these guys have factory backing. They do as best they can and do a marvelous job with a limited budget. I mean, if you knew how little they had to spend compared to the Walker Evans and the Jack Flannerys of the world, you'd be patting him on the back for the fact that he is fourth place in the points and coming into the final race of the season still had a shot at the championship.
You're right, Marty. That's really saying something. As you mentioned, there's a big, big difference in money here, I guarantee, between this truck and those two guys.
You saw the white flag. It's out for Walker Evans. Walker, and we're back on board now as Scott Taylor has closed the gap on Scott Douglas.
You know, Scott may be fighting, you know, when we talked about his blue.
Oh, no! Taylor loops it. He takes it all the way around in the gravel pit. So any chance that Scott Taylor had of gaining third place has just gone around in a 360-degree spin, and we will have another new champion crowned this year, as Scott Taylor will not repeat here in Class 8. In fact, there is the man that is going to take it away unless he breaks. He's on the final lap. Last time down that long straightaway heading for turn number 1, Walker Evans, 55 years old. Here's a question for you. Now that he's won this championship, or is about to, as he's approaching Chuck Brand, Chuck a lap vehicle, do you think he might consider retirement?
No, Marty, I seriously don't think so. I think he just loves this out here. He just goes fast. He wins races. You know, and he's competitive as heck. There's no way that he's going to quit doing this that I can see.
Well, I just had to ask you because I know he's already planning for next year. He's talking to sponsors, but you never know. You know, you might change your mind after you've won everything that you possibly can. Here he comes up over the last jump. Walker Evans at age 55 puts another championship in his crown as he crosses the finish line here at the 25th anniversary of the Chevrolet World Championships to take the Class A championship here and the True Value Pro Series title as well. So Walker Evans, the 19th major championship title in his trophy case. And when we come back, we'll talk to the legend himself. Stay with us. The final results here at the Chevrolet World Championships. Walker Evans, Jamie Flannery in second, Scott Douglas in third, Scott Taylor fourth, and Dave Hockers rounds out the top 5. There's 6th through 9th place, and Ivan Stewart's made his way to victory lane to talk to our winner.
1994 True Value Class 8 points champion Walker Evans. Congratulations. Let me first want to congratulations. It was a tough year, I believe it.
It certainly has been. I'll tell you, the point battle has gone back and forth, and I came into the last race with only 1 point ahead, and 2 guys tied. Any one of the other 2 could have won this race and been right here. But I'll tell you, I came out on top, and I'm very happy to be here, believe me.
Walker, we're going to see you next year.
Well, certainly you're going to see me next year. We got to get the 19th championship around here. This marks my 19th. We got to go for the 20th one.
Well, you can see the champagne celebrations all over the background area there. Walker Evans with 94 points over Scott Douglas in second. Scott Taylor will finish third, just 2 points behind Douglas. Dave Hockers in fourth, and John Conitzer fifth. There is 6 through 10 in the final standings in Class 8 in the True Value Pro Series for 1994. Class 7S is now getting ready for the starting line. Remember, John Greaves comes into this race in control of his own destiny. The man who is in second place is Art Schmidt. He is 14 points behind. He's the only one with a mathematical chance at getting past John Greaves. Let's go talk to Art Schmidt about his strategy.
John right now is running real well. Truck's working good. I don't know. We're going to try to pull him to the first turn. Our truck's running well also. I think if we can pull him to the first turn, we'll be able to stay out there.
Marty, let's look at Class 7S. Two-wheel drive, production mid or mini-size pickups. Engine 4-cylinder, maximum 2.5 liters. And these trucks make about 200 horsepower, about 100 miles an hour.
John Greaves heads the Chevrolet starting field. He's from De Pere, Wisconsin, at the age of 28 on the verge of a championship. Art Schmidt, all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at age 39. He'll be in the Nissan. Jeff Kincaid, the number 707 Kincaid, right here in his hometown of Crandon, Wisconsin. He's 29. Al Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin. He's 27. And Jimmy Crowder, the number 747, all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. And Brendan Gaughan, one of the youngsters, 19 years old. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. And the rest of the starting field, defending champion Scott Taylor has had a dismal season in Class 7S, hoping to make a rebound here and maybe get a little momentum started for 1995. A huge field in Class 7S as we are just about ready for the drop of the green flag here in Crandon.
They're off, Marty. So important to get to this first corner first.
The drag race. Now remember, in the spring race, John Greaves was the winner here. So it's everybody trying to chase that man. There he goes, right around. Art Schmidt's strategy of pulling him into turn one didn't work.
He tried, he just couldn't do it. Ooh, and Johnny gets it up on 2 wheels.
Boy, I'll tell you, what a nice job of saving it on the bicycle. John Greaves in first place, Art Schmidt second. It looks like Bill Waterstrat in third right now. Jeff Kincaid in fourth. As they head down towards the gravel pit for the first time, Schmidt has to pull out all the stops. He cannot wait.
One of the unique things about John Greaves' truck, we want to remember that he uses a 5-speed transmission, and that might be one of the reasons he always gets such good starts.
Right now, he's got that 5-speed Toyota hooked up and flying as he is. Boy, they got quite a bit of water down on this track for maintenance, and I'm sure it may have a bit of bearing on the race here in the early go. I don't think maybe the guys were quite ready for that much.
Well, what it's going to do more than anything is the visibility for the other drivers. Plus, remember the fact that this mud also goes in the radiator. Big problems for some guys.
Well, it doesn't go in the radiator if you're out front. Whoa, the door swinging open on Jeff Kincaid's truck. He's trying to close in on Bill Waterstrat.
That really shouldn't hurt anything. As long as the safety guys don't think it's going to be a problem, they shouldn't be a problem at all.
Here they come down into the valley, and remember, this is a very steep drop-off. And then you got to have the horsepower, and it really works, these little 4-cylinder motors having to come back up that hill. So far, so good. A couple of course workers moving back. Depth perception is deceiving there. The racers are well off into the distance. But they're getting around Waterstrat for third place, Jeff Kincaid. So Kincaid, the only man other than John Greaves to win a race this year. Kincaid won at Antigo, and from that point on, it has been all John Greaves. And look at this lead. He has stretched it out to about, 12 truck lengths over second place, Art Schmidt. And boy, Waterstrat trying to come back one more time on Kincaid.
I'll tell you, Jeff Kincaid had a different line coming down. If anybody can catch John and we'll go for it 100%, it'll be Jeff Kincaid. We'll see what happens here. I know that he's really, really hungry.
Well, he is all over the back bumper of Art Schmidt. And on the outside, can he make this pass stick? It's awfully wet down at that end of the gravel pit. I don't think so. Well, stay with us. When we come back, we'll bring the conclusion of the 7S Championship here at the Chevrolet World Championships. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you at the Chevrolet World Championships. And this is the battle for second, third, and fourth. That is Art Schmidt, Jeff Kincaid, and on the left side, that is Scott Taylor. During the commercial break, he has moved up into contention for this position. In fact, he is around Kincaid.
He is running hard. He has really got something to prove.
He has had a dismal season. After last year dominating this class in 7S, he just has struggled one race after another, and this would be a great way to cap it off if he could do well here heading into 1995. Right now he's in third, right behind the Nissan of Art Schmidt.
It's a good passing place coming up. Coming into the gravel pit, see if he can outbrake Art. Nope, he's way too far back.
Schmidt on the horsepower down into the gravel pit, and that's exactly what it was. At one time, it was a gravel pit, and the hood starting to come up on the Toyota of John Greaves. Now, this is the battle for sixth. That's Al Walentowski, Bill Waterstrat, and Joe Dunlap. There's Waterstrat in the 716, and there's Walentowski in front of him there, and Dunlap brings up the third member of that group. They're all battling for sixth as they come over the final big jump, which leads to the last turn right before the finish line. Ducking down on the inside, taking a look. No way. Waterstrat's not going to be able to make that hold up. Walentowski holds on to the position. He's in sixth. Waterstrat is seventh. Back to the battle for second place, as that is a lap vehicle in front of Art Schmidt and Scott Taylor closing. Jeff Kincaid right behind. That's second, third, and fourth. Back on board now with Art Schmidt as he is still trying to get around the lap traffic there and into that final turn.
That was a great shot here, Marty. Watch the throttle foot. He's obviously going through some moguls here, because you can watch the pump of the throttle. As the tire hits the ground, he gives it throttle. As it comes up in the air, he gets out of the throttle. Great shot.
That is Art Schmidt, second place. Third place, right behind him, Scott Taylor, and then Jeff Kincaid is in fourth. And these guys are still hoping that something happens to John Greaves' truck, because if it doesn't, they don't have much chance of anything, because he is so far out in front.
I tell you, Art Schmidt, that's the problem.
Schmidt has lost the left front tire. So any chance of the championship going to Art Schmidt is being plowed into the dust.
It looks like the whole spin will come off. Not just the tire and the wheel, but the whole spin will come loose, Marty.
So now that man, John Greaves, who has radio communication with his pit, will be told, hey, the championship is yours. You can put it on cruise.
Which I doubt that he'll do, knowing John Greaves.
Well, that is Al Walentowski on the left side of your screen. He has moved around Tom Hockers for fourth place. So those two are still doing battle. Oh, no, wait a minute. Scott Taylor. Oh, and boy, we talked about his problems this year.
It just keeps plaguing him, Marty. He must be, he's not living right or something.
So Taylor ends the season on a down note in Class 7S. But this guy can identify with that feeling. That was his story last year.
That's exactly right. He went through exactly the same thing last year. So many times we've seen him leading races, and just go by the wayside.
So John Greaves on his way to his fifth win in 6 races. You want to talk about domination? It has been with a capital D, and it's got John Greaves' name tacked all over it. Last turn, as he comes around, he'll look at the checkered flag, and there is your new champion for the True Value Pro Point Series and the Chevrolet World Championships. Class 7S, John Greaves from De Pere, Wisconsin, and you better believe he is one happy driver. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our new king of Class 7S. World Championships, we could etch his name in granite, at least for 1994. 5 out of 6 times, John Greaves has taken his Toyota to victory lane. As you see, there's the rest of the top 10. Let's go down to victory lane. Ivan Stewart's with our champion.
Well, John, you told me at the beginning of the year that you were going to be the champion, the Class 7 champion, and you did it. True Value Points champion, Class 7. How does it feel?
Oh, it's great. You know, a
coming up to this day, every day I woke up with a little sweat, you know, just wondering how is this day going to work out. And now that it's over, I couldn't be happier. And the pressure's off, and we're going to have some fun tonight.
5 wins this year. You know, last year, as we talked about, that dark cloud just kept plaguing you. You led a lot of races. You just couldn't get the finish line. A lot of hard work, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. You know, last year taught me a lesson, and I didn't let myself out of the garage all winter, and now it's paying off, and I'm going to do it again this year.
That's a frightening thought for everybody else in Class 7S. Here's the final standings in the True Value Pro Series. John Greaves with 100 points, wins by 25 over Jeff Kincaid. Jimmy Crowder moves up to 3rd, and Art Schmidt drops to 4th. There is 6 through 10. And guys, get back in your garages because you're going to have to do a lot of work. As Johnny Greaves says, he's going to go loaded for bear one more time. Take a look at this capacity crowd as we're getting ready for the last race of the day. You know, we talk about the punishment that these trucks take. Well, Ivan's going to take us behind the scenes and show us some of the drivetrain components. Ivan?
You always hear me talk about what it takes to win these races out here in Class 8 and Class 4 especially. I want to show you some of the drivetrain components these guys are using. They all use an automatic transmission. This one's a Hydromatic 3-speed used out of Jack Flannery's Class 4 truck. This is the rear end housing. They use a spool in the rear end. This is the spool right here. This is what connects the 2 rear tires together. This is the piece that makes it so hard for these guys to turn in the mud. Both tires drive together, called a spool. This is a stock axle, about a 31 spline axle out of a truck. This is a 45 spline axle out of Scott Douglas's truck. This is the kind of axle, this is the kind of technology it's going to take to win races out here with these guys.
Well, let's get ready now for the Manufacturer's Challenge. These are production pickups. You've already seen them. They must run in their class race. They're 2- and 4-wheel drives. They must conform to the class rules. In the Chevrolet starting field, brand new Class 4 champion, Greg Gerlach. He'll be in the 402 from Dakota, Minnesota. Walker Evans, our Class 8 king for 1994. He'll be in the Dodge. Jeff Dorr also in the starting field. He'll be in one of the Fords. He's from Rockford, Illinois. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois, another one of the Ford contingent. And then leading Chevy Thunder, well, it'll be Jack Flannery looking for revenge here in the Manufacturer's Challenge in his hometown of Crandon. Son Jamie will give him double-barreled action. He'll be in the number 815. Jack Heitman, 43 years old from Marquette, Michigan. He'll be in another one of the Fords. And here's the rest of the starting field, and this is going to be a huge, huge turn 1. 26 trucks in all diving for that first corner.
Hey, Marty, you know what's going to be interesting? These guys have either won their class championship or they lost it. They no longer have to save their trucks. They can just go out and race and have a good time.
Have a good time. I like the way you say that. This could be a holy terror going into turn 1 as the green flag flies and we are on board with Walker Evans. Look at the acceleration.
You talking about horsepower and throwing dirt.
Boy, he is on the inside there, and Kevin Probst out in front of Walker, and Steve Kelly looks like he's on 3rd, and then is that Jack Flannery on the outside? Look out, don't get into that. Wow, that was awfully close to that fencing.
That was awful wide. If they're closer to that fence than I'd want to get, I'll tell you.
Look at that. Everybody made it through turn 1. On board with Scott Douglas. Getting into Gerald Foster, and Foster goes over. So Gerald Foster takes some contact as Scott Douglas not able to get on the binders in time and gets into him.
I think it was an easy rollover, though. I don't think it was a major, shouldn't be a big major problem for Gerald.
Hopefully the crews will get him back out and he'll be able to continue. Right now, as that was going on, Walker Evans did get around. Kevin Probst has taken the early lead here.
Ooh, this is good. 2-wheel drive versus 4-wheel drive.
Look at the view as you have got Kevin Probst all over your back bumper. And what Kevin Probst is seeing is a lot of dirt being thrown up by Walker Evans.
It might be a little smart for him to stay off. Be a little patient. Now it pays to be patient sometimes. Get off the side. Let him go. Just hang with him.
Yeah, right. I've seen you drive some of these stadium races, Ivan. You don't wait. You stick your nose right down in there.
Well, I didn't say I was the smartest off-road race car driver.
Down the straightaway one more time. Walker Evans got the hand. Oh, look at that. When those trucks carry all 4 wheels, that is so pretty.
It is beautiful. I just love to watch them.
This is what truly a lot of fun for us because, like you said, Ivan, the championships are decided. This one's for bragging rights. You don't have to save anything. This is the last race of the season for us. Everybody can let it hang out. Whoa, Steve Kelly, he's going to end it on a sour note as he has lost fire in his Dodge and parked it.
Walker Evans has got a right front flat tire, Marty.
Yep, you can see it shaking. Good eyes, Ivan. And that's why he is now no longer in the lead. So, boy, can you imagine if that would have happened in the Class 8 race?
Boy, it's a good thing.
More smoke coming from Jack Flannery's motor. Remember, he had problems in the Class 4 championship. Right now, Flannery has gotten past Walker Evans. Walker barely going to make it around. He's got a long way to go to pit lane.
He's going to be down the wheel by the time he gets there. A lot of people don't realize that there's some big rocks out here. I mean, there's some nasty ones.
Nasty enough that if you ever get hit by one of them, it could just literally knock you cold. I mean, there are some huge ones. And boy, Walker's got a handful because he's still a good, probably another 3/4 of a mile until he gets back to pit lane.
He is. It's going to be a long drive for him. Long day right now.
So he's nursing his way around the racetrack. Jack Flannery there going by. Let's see who else has gotten by. That's Kurt Ledoux in third. Then fourth looks like Jeff Dorr. And fifth looks like it's Scott Taylor. As Scott is right behind Jeff Dorr. Boy, this is a great shot as those three are diving for that last corner.
Hear the engine RPM come up, Marty, as they just crest the top of that hill. The truck leaves the ground a little bit, but it's not enough to come off the throttle. Hear the engine come up and then go back down again as it gets a good bite with those tires.
Kevin Probst out in front. Got a good-sized lead over second place Jack Flannery. Then here is third place. Dorr has gotten around Ledoux and Taylor. So there is third, fourth, and fifth. Don't go anywhere. You won't miss a thing, we promise. It's the Chevrolet World Championships, the final race of the year. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson back with you, and we've got a new leader. Jack Flannery has taken over. I know we promised you wouldn't miss anything. Well, you haven't. That's what happened. Kevin Probst just slowed down and has pulled over and is out of this race. So another sad ending for his season. Everybody wants to do well in that last race because it does. It carries over momentum.
It really does. And he's had so much trouble. He just, they get the car working good, and he has a little problem. Keeps putting him out.
Jeff Dorr is now second. Kurt Ledoux is third. Scott Taylor fourth. And you just saw Scott Douglas flying by. And
Smoking, by the way. Did you notice?
No, I didn't. Good eyes. This is on board with Scott Taylor. Whoa, coming across the bow. That's Kurt Ledoux.
See, these guys have all got different lines. This is down the long straightaway runoff area here. The guys have all got different areas they like to be in.
So Taylor looks like he has gotten around Ledoux for third place. And yes, he has. So you get the view from outside, and you can see exactly what Scott Taylor knows already transpired. He is in third. Kurt Ledoux is in fourth. And then Scott Douglas is in fifth.
Interesting note, Marty, that the Class 8 or the two-wheel drive trucks are obviously going to be a little bit lighter. And the Class 4's got to carry a transfer case. They're going to be heavier. Uh-oh, we got big problems here.
I can see the smoke now.
We got major problems.
I'm afraid Scott Douglas. Oh, and Greg Gerlach has got, that looks like a brake that is locked up.
It really does.
And literally is just melting. Now this is the battle for sixth. That's Jimmy Crowder and Jamie Flannery. So those two going after each other. And obviously a little contact somewhere for Jamie. He's lost a quarter panel.
The point I was going to make earlier, Marty, was the fact that the 8s are lighter. And they're a little more agile, where they got four-wheel drive pulling you, but they're heavier. So two different battles going here.
Sometimes it's an advantage to have the four-wheel drive, sometimes two. And right now, there is Jack Flannery as we're back up front. He's in first place now as he has taken over, as Kevin Probst has gone out with another problem. And on board again with Scott Taylor. Taylor currently in third, trying to close down on Jeff Dorr. And there is Dorr in his gun sights. And he's going to try that inside line.
Heading down the ground. Whoops. Jeff gets very wide, and it's going to cost him.
Dorr looks like he's lost front-wheel drive.
You think so? I didn't see that.
Oh, no, look out, Flannery. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, man.
Flannery.
Hit that pole hard.
The white flag would have been coming out on this lap. You see what Jack Flannery sees. Let's go through this again. What happened?
Well, it looks like the throttle stuck or something. It's hard to say, Marty. I can't tell if he just got out of control, the throttle stuck, or what. Got up on two wheels. That's the problem. He tries to correct it. Didn't come out of the throttle. Corrects it, saves the rollover, but hits the pole.
Oh, my. And that is a brand new finish line that they just put up this year. I think they're going to have to replace it, but it did its job. It gave way.
Boy, I hope he's all right, I'll tell you.
Let's take another look on board with Jack Flannery. Hold on.
I don't think the throttle's good. No, you hear the throttle up on two wheels. It's
And then you roll over, and you get a mouthful of dirt, and luckily you get out, and you're okay.
He's moving around.
That's the best news. Yes, there he is. So, gosh, this is probably the worst year Jack Flannery's ever had at Crandon. Look at him shaking his head. He's just wondering, my goodness.
Hometown race, and he smacks the pole right from the start-finish line.
While things end on a down note for Jack Flannery, they're going to end on an uptick for Scott Taylor, as he has got one turn to negotiate, and he will squarely look at the checkered flag. And I guarantee you he isn't going to go around that corner too fast, as he sees the end result of Jack Flannery's accident, and he wins the Manufacturers Challenge here at Crandon, Wisconsin at the Chevrolet World Championship. Stay with us. We'll talk through our winner and close out the '94 season after this. Today's ESPN Speed World event has been brought to you by True Value Hardware. See your True Value Hardware store. Help is just around the corner. And by Toshiba, FST Perfect, as good as television gets. Well, there you see the end result of the collision between Jack Flannery and the finish line pole. The upright is bent, and so is the finish line banner across the top. That is the damage on Jack's truck, as it also rolled over, and they're inspecting that. Here are the final results in the Manufacturers Challenge. Scott Taylor, Kurt Ledoux in second. He got around Jeff Dorr, who was having problems there at the end. Jamie Flannery in fourth, and there is the rundown through the top 10. Let's check in with a very happy Scott Taylor.
Well, you know what? I could feel the truck after a lap working 3 times better than yesterday, and I was catching traffic and passing traffic, and the truck was working good, and I wasn't feeling any problems, any glitches, and I just kept it as fast as I could run it. And I started picking cars off, and I noticed my radio guys radioed to me, I'm moving up. They said I was in third. I passed Dorr, I was in second, and then Flannery was in front of me, and then all of a sudden Flannery wasn't there. It was kind of a gimme from him, but the toughest survived. The best wins.
Well, congratulations to all our winners today. Scott Taylor in the Manufacturers Challenge, our champions, Greg Gerlach, John Greaves, and Walker Evans, as we get ready to close out the 1994 season. Accommodations for the ESPN crew provided by Cheney's Country Club and Motel in Leona, Wisconsin. Mobile facilities for the ESPN crew provided by Van Boxtel RV. They're located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So, Ivan, it brings us to a close of another off-road season.
Well, I tell you what, Marty, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate you using me. I love doing this and can't wait till next year.
Well, thank you, and thanks to Rick Johnson as well down pitside. Thank you to everyone at S.O.D.A, the promoters, the racers. We've had a great time. For all of us here at ESPN, we hope you've enjoyed it as well. We've enjoyed bringing it to you, and we look forward to bringing it to you again next year right here on ESPN Speed World. This is Marty Reed. So long, everybody.